let's take care of some housekeeping. If you're hearing me as the first voice on the show, you can know one very simple thing. Alex Gold is once again gone. He left the show sick on Wednesday in the middle of the show. He was sick Tuesday, left the show sick in the middle of the show Wednesday.
I'm aware because I had to switch off to it.
It is now Monday, and Alex Gold is, breaking news, still sick. Jay Binkley, who will be filling in for 4 hours with us today.
And I was in for both of you guys on Thursday.
Yeah,
It derailed me from leaving Fesco in the morning for a day. I had to take a little detour.
In fairness...
You know what? I gave me more sleep, though. So we're good.
Yeah, that's fine. You didn't have to get up at like 4 in the morning. And I wasn't sick that day. I already had a planned day off. So, Binkley, thank you for filling in once again for Alex, who apparently cannot recover from illness inside of 5 days. I thought he was a healthy 32-year-old man.
I mean, we get Kling back from being detained in Germany, and then Alex gone today. Just you can't keep track of everybody.
No, it's a mystery. It's a mystery, but at least you're here. You know, Drew's back. He made it. He's successfully.
I made it.
Are you okay? I just want to make sure.
No, I'm good.
I got to be honest. The fact that Alex is still sick now makes it even more reasonable that we were telling him to leave on Wednesday. Like, it's fine, man. We'll be cool.
You made the right call, man.
I'm petrified he's going to get me sick.
Yeah,
he's been sick for 5 days.
I feel like we jinxed him too, because didn't we say, like, I don't know if it was last week, earlier in the week, but we had said, he's finally past some of the sickness and everything like that he had been dealing with previously. He was good to go and fully healthy, and then like a week later,
I guess
he gets hit with the bug on Wednesday.
I'm declaring it. It is official. The most sick person in Cody and Gold show history, Alex Gold. He gets more sick than the rest of us combined. Every
he didn't miss
producer,
many days, though.
Me, no, but he gets more sick. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. I'm just saying he is the most sickly.
He's a walking germ.
I don't know. Does he not wash his hands or something? I don't know where the problem is. Someone said, is Alex dying? I was like, I don't think so. He now has
Hopefully
a diagnosis,
not.
which he can share tomorrow if he wants to. But he seems to be okay. Someone's like, good thing Gold got that flu shot. It didn't seem like it.
Yeah.
That saved him. Oh, man. I don't know. Either way, Alex is gone. We'll be fine. He'll likely be back tomorrow. He's hoping to be back tomorrow. I've told him to take as many days as he needs. It's okay to be sick. It's okay to miss work if you're sick. I would prefer that you are 100% healthy. This is a selfish, I'll be honest, it's a selfish thing. It's not about like, I hope that you feel, this is I don't want to be sick.
I can understand
with whatever
it.
you have.
I understand it, though, from your point of view as well. I get it.
So we'll see where Alex is tomorrow. But let's talk about the bye week. Normally, when we come in here on a Monday and we say Victory Monday for the Chiefs, Bink, we are talking about them getting a win against the Chargers again or whatever. But instead, this, in my opinion, still qualifies as a Victory Monday because the Chiefs won without even having to play. Ravens, lost. Bengals, lost. Jags, lost. Chargers, lost. Everybody you needed to lose lost yesterday. Addition by subtraction. You didn't even have to do anything, Bink. It was a near perfect bye week for you. To get the loss column edge on the Ravens, for the Bengals to once again get down to 5-4 and put themselves at risk, all of these things are perfect. They now have a 3-game lead in the division. The closest team to them in the division is the Raiders. And nobody takes that team seriously. I don't care if they got the win against the Jets last night.
It was the perfect mix, Cody. And it was one of those you couldn't dream it up any better for the Chiefs. Because a lot of them probably just sitting back on the couch, having a good time. Hey, you got the week off. Chiefs fans were finding themselves trying to figure out what they're going to do on the bye week because it does suck. I hate bye weeks. I hate just stalling. And I get it. They need the rest and all that. But a lot of guys do honey-do stuff, man. It's like put the Christmas tree up and stuff like this for a lot of people. I know Bob was putting his Christmas tree up yesterday. He's ready to get back to game week.
I'm saving it for Thanksgiving, but the bye week does help with that. I don't blame you for going that route.
And next week's kind of that way too, because you get the whole weekend off to sit there and watch other NFL games. It's like a dream for Kansas City fans. But yes, when you're sitting there watching the fun stuff of the Chargers coming down to the end and finding a way to lose that game, when the Bills and the Bengals at the playoffs ended today aren't in the playoffs, never did I think we'd be a week before Thanksgiving and you could say the Bengals and Bills are out of the playoffs. Like that, when that happened, I'm like sitting here just thinking about what's going on, what I'm watching here.
It's a dream scenario.
Yes, it was a total dream scenario.
Because if right now, and I know the playoffs don't start in week 10, people get so bent out of shape about if you said if the playoffs started. Well, they don't. I am aware, my sentence stated, if they started today. I am aware that they do not start
Which is a
today.
true statement.
But we are 10 games into the NFL season. Are you telling me some parts of this are going to be true? I can tell you one thing as a fact. Someone in that trio of teams we're mentioning won't be in the playoffs. Someone in the Bills, Bengals, Chargers trio won't make it. Just face the reality. Somebody in the Steelers, Browns, Texans contingent will. And if it ends up being 2 out of 3, and God forbid all 3 of the teams we mentioned in the Texans, Browns, and Steelers make it, that is the dream scenario for the Chiefs. Because you know what that is? That's what you call a free pass to the AFC Championship game once again. Because of that Ravens loss and your advantage in the loss column, you could still lose to the Steelers this weekend, or lose to the Eagles on Monday, and it wouldn't even change anything. You'd still be in the same shape. And oh, by the way, the Ravens don't have an easy game. They play on short rest this Thursday night against Drew's Cincinnati Bengals. They have to take each other on, so someone else is getting knocked down a peg. Either Cincy's getting further from the playoff hunt, or the Ravens are getting further from the 1 seed.
Well, this is a perfect weekend. It's something I've been advocating for on the postgame show when everybody's coming right at the Chiefs from all different directions. Look, oh, my God, I can't believe they beat the Broncos at Arrowhead Stadium. The score was that. Well, they still covered double-digit spread. Coming down on Chiefs. And I always say, watch other teams. Watch other teams and see other teams struggle. The points are coming down. The offenses are struggling in the NFL for the most part. Historically struggling as far as that's concerned. But watch these other teams. Watch the other games, which gave them plenty of opportunity. Chiefs are off. Let's watch other teams in the NFL. Oh, my. The Ravens lose. The Bengals lose. The Bills lose. Again, people watch the Chiefs under a microscope. But in the grand scheme of things, this league is really struggling.
And once you watch other people, you realize how much
lucky
other
you
teams
got
are
it.
struggling.
How lucky you got it. But what's going on here with what you're seeing, the league has so much inconsistency. So much. And I know the Eagles coming in here with 1 loss. To be honest with you, that Eagles team last year was better than this one.
This Eagles team is ranked like in the bottom third of defense.
Yeah, they've got problems.
They've almost lost several games.
They have. And again, I think last year's Eagles team was better than this one. But again, the NFC's terrible. Like, who's the best quarterback? It's Jalen Hurts, right? Who's number 2? Dak? Matt Stafford, Jared Goff? I mean, who's the second best quarterback? I mean, there's a quarterback issue pretty much in the NFL when a third of the starters are rookies, which surely brings it down. But the rest of this team is struggling mightily. The rest of this league is struggling mightily.
Yeah, this weekend was a really good, like, if you had been kind of down on the Chiefs because you're watching these ugly games and you're like, ugh. Especially if after that Broncos loss, you're like, ugh. You should have felt pretty good after they beat Miami anyway, right? Because that was a 6-2 team, just like you. That was a big win on a neutral site. I know it felt more like a home game, but you had to fly all the way to Germany. You know, it's effort. You should have felt good then. But if you didn't feel all the way back sold on the Chiefs are fine for the most part based on this year's league. I'm not saying this year's Chiefs team will go out and get it done 2 years ago. 2 years ago in the league, there were probably more top-end talent. That Bills team was tougher. That Cincy team was tougher. There were some other teams who were riding a more consistently high level of performance. This is not that year. For half a second this year, at any one point, you would have thought, that Jags team is really good. They got their asses kicked yesterday. They got the teeth kicked in by the 49ers. The Ravens look like the best team in the league for the last month. They blew a 14-point lead to Cleveland, a team that can't score in the fourth quarter. Miami got pretty well handled by Kansas City in their game. I know that game got close in the fourth quarter, but the Chiefs had complete control of that thing. Like, it's just a weird year. Like, I think you can probably just understand, Bink, that the AFC is just kind of messy right now. I'm fine with it.
No, it is. It's inconsistent. Because this is the time where you go. This is the time where teams, string together 5 wins in a row, 6 wins in a row. Do you know the Cowboys won 12 straight home games? I mean, it's insane.
No, I would not have realized that.
But you string things together. The Bengals, I'm really shocked at. To be honest with you, but no score surprised me more than that 49ers Jaguars. It looks like the Jags had finally turned things around. We start thinking, okay, this is one of the powers in the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
The Chiefs went down there and beat them. That's good.
49ers are playing bad football at the time.
They've lost 3 straight. Brock Purdy lost to an XFL quarterback 3 weeks ago. With the Browns loss, it's making Cleveland look good there too, by the way, as far as Cleveland. But Jacksonville.
That defense is good.
We're Jacksonville, a team that won a playoff game last year. This team taking steps. Trevor Lawrence is looking good. You know, he's finally maybe passing Justin Herbert in the hierarchy of AFC quarterbacks. And then Frisco just completely embarrasses them at home. At home. Because I saw when the spreads came out, you know, Jacksonville's a 3-point underdog at home.
Yeah, and
against a team that's lost 3 games in a row.
I bet and lost money on that.
I did too.
I was like, oh, this is silly. I can get a field goal for the home team? Come on. Jags are playing pretty good.
But Jacksonville is a perfect example of the AFC's so inconsistent. I'll tell you this much. The Chiefs don't lose games 34-3. Like, that would not happen. And you know what? It hasn't happened. But when you see 34-3, you're like, whoa. Like, that does not happen to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. I mean, that is a good – I get the Broncos game got a little out of hand at the end, and there's been 3 other games in his career where they've lost by more than 1 score. But that stuff doesn't happen.
No. And again, for the very few times Patrick Mahomes has actually lost by double digits and oopsie, you know, like against the Broncos, it's so rare. You should never take it as gospel. And they never.
Only 4 times now in his career.
And they never, except for the one Super Bowl in which he had not a single offensive lineman, they never get beat the way like the Jags just did. It's never just like 38-7. It's never like
Tom
that.
Brady, New England lost games like that. I remember a few. Like back
the Chiefs on Monday Night Football, and they lost like 45-10.
And then they lost to Detroit like 31-0 or something like that in the second game of the season, which, by the way, everybody called Tom Brady done. Talked about this last week. Remember that on the Cincinnati? That was Kansas City?
Oh, yeah.
You know, since that night when everybody said he was done?
Yeah.
He went to 5 Super Bowls after that night and won 4 of them.
I remember.
After the night, people said he was done.
I'll tell you this. I mean, I don't
know if that's before or after Josh McDaniels stole his jockstrap, but...
Yeah, I got to get into that story at some point. I just read that piece from a former player who was coached under Josh McDaniels, and that story got weird. Mm-hmm. Really, really weird.
AFC West,
like,
baby.
Super quick. Not surprising, because Josh McDaniels is a really weird guy, but got weird in a hurry. It is important that this show addresses one thing, though. Specifically this show, more than any other on this station or in this city. Over the weekend, in addition to all of the losses that took place for the Chiefs that was perfect, the thing that absolutely capped off the perfect Chiefs weekend is they got a shout-out, Bink. In the middle of a sold-out Taylor Swift concert, she changed a lyric with Travis Kelce in attendance to Chiefs.
Mama is the guy on the Chiefs.
So if you can't hear that, that is Karma is a guy on the Chiefs coming straight home to me. Incredible lyric change. The video of Travis Kelce like blushing over it, standing next to Taylor's dad.
Right.
Incredible.
That was Taylor's dad.
Yeah, that was Taylor's dad.
He had like a Chiefs thing around him. That's why I was confused because he was wearing.
He's supporting Travis.
Okay.
It's a very supportive group.
So that was Taylor's dad.
That was Taylor Swift's dad.
Oh, yeah.
By now, Bink, like I can't imagine you ever thought during your sports radio career you'd be talking about kisses between Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. Have you seen the kiss?
I just figured I was going down that path.
Yeah. Have you seen the kiss?
I saw the kiss.
Okay.
Straight off the stage, right to Travis.
It was hard to miss it because like Ian Rappaport, like my NFL like Twitter followers were all gushing about it.
Yes, of course.
Like people I was following for NFL news, they had a picture of Travis and Taylor. I think the news, I mean, it was Sports Center everywhere.
You borderline couldn't avoid it. What's important to note in this show, and I think I'd like a little credit. Yeah, that's right. I'm going to pat myself on the back. When this relationship started to catch wind and we finally saw them at there, this show thought it was right to honor their relationship with a song of Taylor Swift's, singing to Travis Kelce. And just real quick, Drew, does Taylor Swift have a pretty deep catalog? Could I have chosen from a number of hits of hers?
Tons of albums, tons of hits, yes.
Turns out, could have chosen one of 100 hits of hers.
Isn't she like redoing all her stuff because she didn't have the rights to it before?
Yeah, she did. Yeah,
but she's basically taking everything. Someone explained this to me. See, she was releasing stuff, and I was like, well, this already. I mean, what's she doing?
No, she's re-releasing it, so she owns the rights. Somebody bought her music rights for the original ones.
So somebody has the rights to it, and she's now getting the rights.
Correct. She has the rights to these versions. I could have chosen any song, and I chose this. Because Kelce is my boyfriend. Kelce is a god. Kelce and me hold hands on the weekend. Could have gone anyway, and I chose Karma. Come on. That's prognostication.
Yes, it is.
Any song. I knew it was going to be Karma. I'm not even kidding. I seriously thought about which Taylor Swift song I was going to do. Maybe for 30 minutes, 45 minutes at home. I went through different songs that I thought were appropriate lyrically to go with it. And I chose Karma, and it made me feel good that was the song she rewrote for Travis. Also, they're having a blast of a time together, clearly.
Oh, yeah.
This relationship's going nowhere.
I think it was a prelude with a Propos, which is an Argentinian restaurant, to get ready for this.
Oh, do you think that's what happened?
I don't know, man.
God, why didn't I think about that through? We mentioned the Argentina bye week thing for a while.
Do you think that she heard your version of that song and she's like, you know what? That's the song I'm gonna change the lyrics to. If somehow she caught wind of your version of Kelsey, Cody's version, and
it's not
said, you know what? That's where I'm gonna put the Chiefs bar in.
It's not crazy. It's not crazy. Think about it. Kelsey, like a guy on the Chiefs coming straight home. To me, the lyrics just work. So it's one of two things. Either Taylor Swift heard my version of that song, which I'm not ruling out.
I'm not either.
I think we can go ahead and roll that out.
You never know.
It's safe to say I think we could.
Either Taylor Swift heard that version of the song, heard my version of the Travis Kelce song, or Taylor Swift and I think a lot alike like songwriters, you know? It's one of those two things. There's no in between. It's one or the other, Bink. How can we argue at this point?
Yeah, hard to argue that.
She could have chosen any of her songs to write about Travis Kelce, and she wrote it about Karma.
That was a great premonition. I wish you could have had a nice premonition about that 49ers Jags game with the heads up. Wish you could have had that premonition.
Man.
Oh, hey, man, guess what? Jacksonville's going to get hammered by the Niners.
I'm convinced.
You obviously got this thing going for you.
How long do you think this thing goes for now? I guess that we've been in, what are we, 3 months into? Or no, we're like 5 months into their relationship, essentially. I think it's going to be definitely longer than just a year or a 2-year thing.
I think it's especially encouraging because some of the reporting this weekend is that clip from New Heights worked. And then after she saw that clip about him with the French replacement, it was her that made the move. So
yeah, not Travis.
I
mean,
it's the ultimate shoot your shot, Drew. It's the ultimate shoot your shot, and I think there's a lesson to be learned by it. I'm not kidding. If you could have your life, and he's a rich man. Obviously, he's probably underpaid as far as tight ends are concerned. To be honest with you,
he's massively underpaid as a wide receiver.
But he's making a lot of money with the ads and everything because he's in Kansas City and the cachet is you're doing these ads. Now. You're hosting Saturday Night Live. You're doing all this. Which I will say this, and I brought this up last week. I'm tired of the graphic on TV. Travis with Taylor in attendance and without.
Okay.
Let's not forget this guy's a Hall of Famer before he even met Taylor Swift. He was hosting Saturday Night Live before he ever met Taylor Swift. He had 7 1,000-yard seasons before he did. The difference, Cody, is this, and why he's a lucky man. There's this difference, as we all know, Cody, between rich and wealthy.
Oh, yeah.
And you see it all the time with new ownership groups in the professional sports. Yeah, there's rich people out there, like Manning's a rich guy that retired, but there's the difference between that and having billions in wealthy. And she's could honestly probably buy him his own franchise.
Cody, from the text line, when I heard it, I immediately thought of your show and told my wife that she heard it. Come on.
She decided to honor this show by choosing Karma.
Do you think Travis should ask for if things work out, do you think he should ask for a franchise? Sports franchise or something?
I don't know, man.
It's not too much to ask, Killer, but I'd like a team.
I don't see any problem with it. Look, I'll tell you right now.
He's already investing in F1 teams and everything
They
else.
should just give him like 1% stake in the Chiefs. Has he not raised their net worth 1% with just this relationship? Do you know how many times that clip of her saying is on the Chiefs coming straight home to me from that concert? Millions, hundreds of millions of times.
From the A16, please, let's not jump this far. Imagine if Taylor Swift gets a ring before the Bengals and the Bills.
Oh, that would be good. That would be good. Hey,
that's really good.
Speaking of Chiefs, I had no idea that roof over in Germany and Munich,
where they tucks into the scoreboard?
I had no idea that was a possibility.
That's cool.
But that was pretty damn cool how that roof just all of a sudden, I was wondering about it because I knew it was kind of an outdoor stadium. I was like, well, why is this covered now? Because it was an outdoor stadium, but the roof just folds up and real quickly. And it has to be older technology. I guarantee this thing's been like that probably for 30 or 40 years. But it's like, why couldn't they do this? Because then it pops down and then the scoreboard goes back up. It's an incredible deal how this roof just folds right into the scoreboard. I mean, I don't know.
It's very
Didn't mean to derail, but I was stunned by that. Like, how in the hell does this happen? The Chiefs didn't get to play that game like that.
well,
It was raining and stuff like that.
It just got better. Yeah, that's it. It's cool. Makes
I
me
mean,
wonder
that
why
was a real treat having New England and the Colts for the Germans.
Boy,
Real treat after what they had the week before.
They got screwed. They got screwed after that one. We mentioned
Now they hate the NFL.
We'll talk more about this Taylor Swift stuff going in there. Someone says we need Gold back. He's the voice of reason. He'd put Cody in his place on this Taylor thing. I'll let him give an opinion tomorrow. Bigley said that she didn't hear it, so it's not like he didn't defend it. But we were talking about the AFC teams. Obviously, the most impressive win out of the ones that helped the Chiefs yesterday was the Texans. To the point that C.J. Stroud, I'll be honest, he scares me a little because I'm not so sure he isn't already above I don't know that I wouldn't take him over every AFC quarterback not named Mahomes or Burrow. Like, if you made me start a franchise from scratch right now and you gave me every AFC quarterback, I might take Stroud third. I'm dead serious, and I'm a believer in Herbert still. I think his problem is coaching. I think there's a huge issue there. Lawrence, to me, is still like QB made in a factory, but has never looked great enough for a long enough stretch to talk me into it, even though he's got talent. Stroud is making, nobody thought Noah Brown, Tank Dell, and Nico Collins were some elite trio of wide receivers. He leads the NFL in passing yardage, Bink.
Well,
They're scary. He's scary.
What's funny is how they've gotten it right, the last two quarterbacks. Deshaun Watson did not turn out how they wanted. But Deshaun Watson was very good when he was drafted by the Texans. Like, he was beating
but he's
Mahomes.
a bad quarterback now.
He's beating Mahomes.
He might be the 10th best quarterback in the AFC.
No, but when he was rolling in Houston, he was good.
Yeah,
I mean, he led the NFL in passing yardage before the massage gate. So he was good, and then they transitioned to this. Let things play out a little bit. I've seen quarterbacks, catch fire initially, then come back down to the pack a little bit. Josh Allen's, gone through the pains. Joe
Again,
Burrow,
I haven't watched C.J. Stroud fail, which
has.
is why maybe you'd have to take Josh Allen or something ahead, or Lamar Jackson.
I like Stroud coming out of the deal, and I'm not buying into the Ohio State thing. I'm like, eventually someone's going to work. Because the old thing was Big 12 quarterbacks couldn't win in the NFL.
Air raid quarterbacks. I asked Patrick Mahomes about that on Radio Row before he was drafted, and he did not seem fazed.
The Big 12 quarterbacks could never win in the playoffs in the NFL.
My hot take
Until Mahomes.
My hot take of him being a better quarterback than Andrew Luck is steadily looking a little bit better.
It doesn't seem outlandish. I mean,
he looks really, really good. And granted, yesterday in particular, I guess because I was watching the game and listening to it a little bit more on my way back here, he didn't really get pressured at all. No. Offensive line did really well, and we were even talking before the show. They got rid of a couple of offensive linemen before the season started, and they're still finding a way for him to put up productive numbers. I think it's the reason why I believe it a little bit more, I think, and why I'm in your camp of things, Cody, in terms of where he sits at in the AFC and just in the NFL overall, he's a top 10 quarterback for sure. Is the fact that they've it's not like it's one of those things that you have a couple games of tape, like you only have one game of tape on him and you don't know exactly what he's got. I mean, you've got a good 9 games of tape. You know what the Houston does. You know who they've got. You know who you need to watch for. They didn't have Nico Collins yesterday. And Noah Brown, of all people, his average catch yesterday, by the way, was 24 yards. He had 7 catches. They lit the Bengals defense up yesterday.
If there's any criticism at all, he did throw it 39 times. He had 23 completions. It's 59%. A couple weeks before that.
But every completion was like 50 yards.
Yeah, but
that was the problem.
A couple of weeks before that, he was at 48% completion when he was 13 of 27. I mean, you've got to look at the whole sum of the parts.
Well, when they stop threatening him, when they do the Mahomes treatment and every
when
other
you're throwing the ball 40 times, man, you're going to put up some yards.
I think, too, he also doesn't turn the ball over, which is the most remarkable thing. He only has 2 picks. I mean, it's remarkable.
I assume that'll regulate at some
point. He's
going
to be a good one. He's a good one. I liked him coming out of college, liked him playing in college. I think CJ, again, Texans, great pickup because the whole between Bryce Young and we got to look at Stroud and you look at all the combine numbers and testing and everything else. When they sat down, they get the right guy. It appears. Not saying Bryce Young may, be awesome at some point. It appears that the Texans won on this.
Especially when you consider what the Panthers traded for it.
And a good head coach, D'Amico Ryan's been perfect.
Yeah, I can't complain about that either. When we come back, there's one thing that I think's allowing Andy Reid's play calling to wane this year. I'll tell you what it is next.
Cody and Gold.
People always call us like a bleak show. The idea of you having to come on the air the next day and being like, Cody died in that blimp crash is hilarious to me. That's That's objectively funny.
Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
When those winter storms start rolling in, and I know that I'm already dealing with the leaves, you start looking at your roof and deciding, oh man, is it time? Which roofing company can I trust? Who do I go to? Let me steer you in the right direction. Go to female-owned Century Roofing right here in Kansas City. Trust the pillars of strength and allow Century Roofing to take a look at this project for you. They offer free roof replacement and repairs on certain things. Once they can get this, they want to work with your insurance company to try to do these things. They have a responsive department to help you identify those leaks, fix them. You just got to find out what you need, and they can help you do it. They're running a free material upgrade right now promotion on all roof replacement jobs. Get a Class 3 or 4 impact-resistant shingle from Tamco for the price of 30 or 50-year premium shingles. They are a unique roofing company. They offer stock in their own materials. They keep it all there. You don't have to wait. That's what you're looking for in a roofing company. If you're looking for that free estimate to try to figure out what they can do for you, don't look any further than Century Roofing. Trust the pillars of strength, centuryroofingkc.com, and tell them they heard you right here at Cody from 610 Sports Radio.
Hey guys, Beat Up here from Fesco in the morning. You know I'm struggling with my weight. Slim for Life is making it so easy. Now down 82 pounds with the customized plan that they have put together for me. Success is a great motivation, and I wanted to share Holly's journey. Holly, how much weight did you lose on Slim for Life?
With Slim for Life, I lost 60 pounds and went from a size 10 to a size 2.
What would you say to someone thinking about starting Slim for Life?
Don't wait. Go to Slim for Life now. Call, run. You will not regret it.
Take a tip from Holly and myself. It's time to make yourself the priority. Feel better, get healthier, be slim for life. And when you tell them that you heard it from Beat Up and 610 Sports Radio, you could start today and lose up to 20 pounds for only $20. With the option to add semaglutide medications to your plan for only $99 the first 4 weeks. When you schedule that free consultation, you could win tickets to see our defending Super Bowl champions. Play on November 20th. Call 833-SLIM today. That's 833-754-6863. Or you can hit them online at slim4life.com. All services included, exclusive of products. So what are you waiting for? Make the call. Be slim for life. Tell them Beat Up sent you.
We're talking with Dr. David Bach, board-certified urologist at Kansas City Urology Care. What's the most important thing men should know about prostate cancer?
I would strongly recommend PSA testing. It's a simple blood test. It's inexpensive, and basically every male over 50 should be having this PSA once a year. Prostate cancer is the second leading cancer killer of men.
And why should they go to KCUC?
We not only treat more prostate cancer than anyone else in this part of the country, we also start with cutting-edge diagnostics to offer the most precise diagnoses of prostate cancer using ultrasounds and MRI. We can offer surgical, medical, and radiation types of treatments. And even for men who require additional therapies, we're able to offer all that at a single site.
Get your PSA level tested by the experts. Kansas City Urology Care. At KCUC, you see the best in KC. To make an appointment, visit appointments.kcurology.com.
Happy 62nd birthday, Granddad.
Thanks, sweetheart.
I got you this.
A mug. What does it say? Beware. If you are 60 or older, you may be at increased risk of serious consequences from RSV, respiratory syncytial virus, compared to adults younger than 60.
Not all dangers come with warning labels. Talk to your pharmacist or doctor about getting vaccinated against RSV today. RSV vaccines, including Pfizer's, are available. Learn more at bewareofrsv.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger. Because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Honey,
Can you swing by the post office and grab some stamps?
Done.
And drop off these packages?
Sure thing, honey.
Ooh, and get the tracking info.
Got it.
But you haven't moved.
I know. How great is that?
This holiday season, the Postal Service is closer than ever with convenient ship-from-home services like label printing, free package pickup, and delivery notifications. You can send more holiday joy from the comfort of home. The United States Postal Service, delivering for America. Ship from home at USPS.com/holidayjoy. Meet Bruce.
Hey there.
He's a busy soccer dad who's trying hard to learn the game.
Go for the end zone.
Whoops. Luckily, other things come easy, like banking with Chase. On a tip from his banker, he set up autosave in the Chase mobile app. So what are you saving for, Bruce?
Father-daughter soccer camp.
Smart bankers, convenient tools. One bank with the power of both. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Autosave requires a Chase checking and savings account. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hey, this is Richard Deitch, the host of the Sports Media Podcast. If you're interested in what's happening with all the places where you consume sports, the Sports Media Podcast has you covered. Here's longtime NFL and NBA announcer, Ian Eagle.
Would I find this entertaining if I was sitting on the couch watching the game, or would this be a nuisance? Would this get in the way? Does it enhance the enjoyment for the viewer, or at some point are you becoming an annoyance?
Listen on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
The 610 Sports Radio phone line is brought to you by Onder Law Injury Lawyers. Visit getjim.com.
Chiefs coverage on 610 Sports Radio is brought to you by Comfort Systems Heating and Cooling in Belton.
Score these hot winter deals from Comfort Systems. Receive up to $1,500 in rebates on a new Lennox Ultimate Comfort System, or no payments, no interest for 6 months when financing a new Lennox system.
Comfort people is what we do. Comfort System is right for you.
Coming up today at 12:30, the only place to hear Andy Reid live and exclusive is on your broadcast partner, the Kansas City Chiefs. 610 Sports Radio. Normally he speaks at noon on a Monday, but he'll speak at 12:30 today, coming off of the bye week, as they've got an extra day, not an extra day of bye, too, before they take on the Eagles. So do the Eagles. Funny timing that they both had their byes at the same time, even though one of those teams was not overseas before. But both think we'll have plenty of rest going into that game, which, obviously do it. And then coming up here in 10 minutes, we'll talk about college football with our guy Bink. All 3 locals. Plenty of action this weekend to talk about. Big things to talk about with Missouri and K-State. And Kansas, unfortunately, down to their 3rd quarterback in that game against Texas Tech before things fell apart for them in that one.
Sunflower Showdown this weekend.
And a massive Sunflower Showdown this weekend between Kansas and Kansas State, just as long as Bean or Daniels can play, I guess.
Hey, by the way, your nugget for the day is, because they just gave it to you and Drew,
Yeah.
the leading passer right now in the National Football League, who has more yards than any quarterback in the NFL. And this is something they say at the water cooler.
Okay.
Just tell your buddies. Guess which quarterback.
I would have guessed C.J. Stroud, because I think at some point he was.
Sam Howell has more passing yards than anybody in the National Football League. Yes, he's played 10 games now because of the bye. He's also tied for 3rd in touchdown passes. Sam Howell.
So, can we get Eric Bieniemy a job? What's up?
He's definitely put a number for Sam.
If he's leading the league in passing yardage and he's 3rd in touchdowns and he's Sam Howell, I feel like maybe EB deserves a little bit of juice here.
I'm saying it's pretty. That's a good resume builder right there.
Yeah, I would think so. Honestly, they need to fire Rivera now, give Eric Bieniemy the job for the last half of the season, and then they should find out if they want Eric Bieniemy to be their head coach or if they want to go somewhere else. Like, for all we know, the Raiders are just going to end up with Pierce because he's 2-0 and he'll Romeo Crennel his way into a job because he'll finish the season strong. Fine. At least you're giving yourself a chance with a guy who's maybe then at least at that point earned the job. We'll see.
I just think it's cool that Sam Howell can go around, stick that chest out a little bit, saying, I'm the leading passer in the NFL. And people go, who are you? Because I guarantee you 10 people probably couldn't pick him out, his picture.
No.
I'm not sure. Area probably, but around the country, there's I'm pretty sure it'd be safe.
If we're amongst other quarterbacks, I could. But if you just found 9 generic white guy like people who look like white guy quarterbacks and put them next to each other in 10 photos, I'm not totally confident I could pick Sam Howell out. Are you?
Oh, yeah, I could pick Sam.
You can, Bink. Drew, could you pick out Sam Howell?
I think I could, yes.
Let me look at my phone.
But if you had like a picture of like Howell, Burrow, Mahomes, Allen,
I wouldn't have
and then you put Sam Howell, it's like
you could have just convinced me this was
it's
Taylor
like
Heineke,
apple,
and I would've-
orange, banana, Volkswagen.
He looks nothing like Taylor Heineke. That's funny. Taylor Heineke, I think I would have a little bit more trouble with, to be honest with you, than Sam Howell.
Yeah, it'd be a little bit. Yeah, I mean, Taylor Heineke's not easy either.
No, he's
lost. He might have lost his starting job right back to Desmond Ridder because he played well at the end of one football game. It doesn't make any sense. There's one thing that stands out to me about this Chiefs team. As I was thinking about during the bye week, I think the Chiefs defense is hurting the Chiefs in one way. You're going to be like, how? They've played like the best defense in the NFL. Hold on, hear me out. They're not hurting them in their performance. They're great. I think as good as the Chiefs defense has hurt Andy Reid's play calling, his aggressiveness, and portions of their offense because he knows how much he can trust that unit. I saw this in the original Alex Smith days. In the Alex Smith days, when they had a top, and people never believe me when you say this, they had a top 5 defense 3 out of 4 years under Bob Sutton.
Especially
top 5 scoring defense. Right? They were bend but don't break, but they had several All-Pros. They had a great scoring defense. And in those years, Andy Reid's aggressiveness in the floor, in the gutter. Andy Reid's weirdo play calling and what would be normal play calling situations through the roof. I think you're seeing that this year because he's like searching for answers in the middle of the season where he knows the defense can still win him a game. But the aggressiveness when it comes down to like it's 4th and 2 and they're on the 5-yard line sinks because he knows any points help him win the game. So he's not aggressive in in-game decision making because he's like, screw it, I can just take the 3 points. But then in the moments when he's like looking for answers offensively, he tries more weird stuff he shouldn't be trying because he's looking for the clues to unlock the offense, and he knows he can, Bink, because of the defense.
I think you're right. I think he does that, and I think it's pretty clear that that's what he's doing. But I think it's also the reliance on, or the non-existent reliance on your wide receivers, too. I think that hurts it as far as being aggressive going downfield. Because you're not going downfield. The Chiefs are not going downfield as much, clearly, because of the way the defense
they don't go downfield at
are
all,
playing.
really.
But yes, I think he feels more comfortable doing some things. Maybe just, change the playbook a little bit because, it's okay if we give the ball to defense. Because there was a time and day, you sure the hell didn't want to give the game to the defense. Like Mahomes' first year starting when they scored 50 and lost. They scored 40 and lost.
Yeah.
You honestly had to contemplate, should you go for 2 or not? Should you keep Mahomes on and go for 2 or put your defense back out there? You had to really manufacture, and they got better time management and clock management because of it. Because it was the only way they could win.
They understood.
Times, you had to milk the clock to a certain point, have Mahomes out there, get some points, and not give the other team any time whatsoever. But, yeah, I think it's afforded him to, tinker with a few things because of knowing the defense. Hey, we throw them back out there, we're going to be good. We're going to get the ball back.
I guess the hope is that by the end of the season, all this tinkering, Bink, all this, here's the weirdo stuff we're doing in short yardage, is the test for what works, what doesn't work, and by the end of the year, we'll figure it out. Because I do think it's objectively changing the way they play offense right now. Andy has always been the kind of coach who will happily, I think, grind out an ugly win if he thinks he can just get the win. Like, he's like, screw it. If I can just get the win this way, I'll just get the win this way. And that's where the conservative stuff comes in. But Mahomes isn't that kind of quarterback, and so they're kind of like contrary odds or these things, and it's just, it feels like it's throwing off their system a little bit. From the 913, by the way, just tuned in. Is Gold still sick? Yes.
Unfortunately,
despite the fact he was sick last Tuesday, left sick last Wednesday, Alex Gold is still sick. Tough. Binkley, you're not sick. You're never sick.
I'm not, or are you sure he's sick?
Someone said they saw him at Hollywood Casino this weekend. I guess we'll have to follow up with him.
What if he went heavy on the Jags?
That would be
what if he went heavy on the Jags and made him sick to his stomach?
Oh, he's just like he's mentally sick after like losing out on like a 12-leg parlay because the Jags lost.
I mean, that can't happen.
Not good.
It would be tough.
It was this show though where I was where you were gone. I think when I went to the hospital because of you were gone. Gold was here and I actually had to call in sick. And I felt so guilty doing it. I've never done it.
Oh, wow.
I've never
I was
done
going to say,
it.
I've never seen you call in sick.
Well, I couldn't. I was having a lot of trouble that morning. I like passed out 3 times.
Well, that's a pretty good reason to call in sick, Pink.
But I couldn't do it. And like for me to call in sick is like what happened. You know what's going on here?
Like it's borderline ambulance time.
Well, especially it was like a Super Bowl week too, as the Bengals and Rams. I was like, no, get me in there. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, yeah, I just can't do it, man. Gold. This is my first time doing this, but I'm out.
In Alex's defense, I don't want to get sick, so he can just stay home. It's cool.
I do think with this, with Andy Reid, I mean, it's worked so far, but I think it's a little bit risky behavior if you're relying on the defense to always come through for you. Because the text line thinks he's sandbagging the offense and holding back Jared McKinnon. I don't know we've had that conversation, but
I think a little. But at this point, they're looking for any answers on offense. I don't know if they're holding anyone.
They've woke you up a little bit lately.
Yeah, I don't know if they've helped you win games so far and they've covered your back so far. But if you're Andy, just I don't know if you take less risks. But also at the same time, there have been times where, and we've said it, like even last week after the game, there's moments on 4th down where Andy is more conservative and relying on the offense or on the defense rather than going for it. And you'd rather see him go for it, I think, in certain moments, but also the fact that he has the good defense that's as good as it's ever been since Patrick Mahomes has been here. Do you think that it's just something that he's adjusted in the coaching style more than it is actually the defense hurting his play calling?
No, I don't think so. I think it's making it more complete. And I think one thing about Reid is he's always looked at his talent and he looks at the ebb and flow of how the game is and he makes adjustments. Like a couple years ago, people thought they slowed down the Chiefs, right? And he found a new way to attack it. Like Steve Young made a great comparison. He's talking about the West Coast offense, how people figured out how to slow it down and they just regrouped it. Andy Reid has an ability to change things up on what they do to kind of fit in and figure out a way to
That's
get
why
that
this
piece.
bye week is so huge offensively.
Well, another guy that's done it, and I know he's taking a lot of heat right now, is Belichick. Because when he went with Brady, it wasn't all about the offense with that team.
No, it was
they
defensive.
barely beat the Rams his last Super Bowl that he won. But it was about defense. And early on in Brady's career, it was about defense. So you learn how to win. And all of a sudden, Randy Moss came, and Wes Welker, and all this, although he did not win a title with Randy Moss or Wes Welker. And the Broncos, the 2015 Denver Broncos, that Osweiler's starting quite a bit. Their offense was 19th in the NFL, 17th in scoring offense. They were a bad offense. They won because of their defense. Yeah. So it was a team that said, okay, our defense, because Manning wasn't great that year. He's had good years in Denver, but not 2015 was not one of them. Those for $141 the Super Bowl. They won with their defense, and we look at that team and say, this is an offensive team. Peyton Manning's in the Hall of Fame. No, the 2015 Broncos won because of their defense. And we look at the Ravens that way. Their last Super Bowl. Everybody always thinks defense, defense, defense. It was actually Joe Flacco in the postseason who had through like 381 game and 300. You remember that? Like Joe Flacco had like a good postseason.
Yeah, I remember.
The one time in his life where it's like, wow, Joe Flacco actually went out there and won games. But how do you view it, Drew, when you look at the Chiefs and you've got a far different view than you've ever had of this team now that you're in Kansas City? You've looked at them from afar and you've looked at them as a team you're hunting. How do you look at it now that you're here and what Andy Reid's doing? Has it changed your mind at all on just how consistent he keeps going, regardless of what's going on in the NFL? Because at times his team doesn't look good, but at the end of the day, they just keep winning.
Yeah, I think I've always thought that Andy's one of the best coaches. I mean, there was a point where he just didn't have the Super Bowl, and now that he does, it's his. He's one of, if not the best coach. I would say he's probably the best coach right now in the NFL, just because of that same reason. And him, even though the offense is still, and that's why I think, to Cody's point, the bye week's so important for them.
Yeah, they got to figure some stuff out.
What can Andy do, given that he's so creative and he's such a genius on the offensive side of the ball? What can he do along with Matt Nagy to help create more opportunities, a scheme Rashee Rice open in a different way than than they've done so far to this point? How does he involve Sky Moore? Does he keep the reduced snaps down? Or does he keep the snaps down and find ways to get him in there? What does Kadarius Toney do? Finding ways to get the guys open. That's what I'm more excited, I think, from this standpoint of seeing Andy's creativity and what it can be going forward, because the offense has been so lackadaisical, where they've got the great defense. Andy's the genius. He can figure it out. What is it going to look like? You have the quarterback, obviously, and Patrick Mahomes as well.
What would Andy Reid do? What would Andy Reid do with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins? I mean, what would he do with the Justin Jefferson?
I think he'd love to have those guys.
What would he do with these elite receivers? Well, we saw it with Tyreek Hill, but imagine.
And we also saw it with T.O. at one point. I mean,
imagine having two of them.
Not afraid.
T.O. and Deshaun Jackson.
Not afraid to throw it to him. Okay, I know that from at least this perspective. That's part of the reason the offense has gotten conservative too. The wide receivers have not been nearly good enough. Coming up in about 10 minutes, there's a part of this Chiefs dynasty run, which they're trying to complete this year with a Super Bowl title, that we will talk about coming up in about 10 minutes. But look, college football this weekend was big for the locals. Let's get Kansas out of the way real quick because they ended up having the least eventful weekend overall. They lost their game, but they were down to their third quarterback. I got to be honest. I kind of give Lance Leipold a hell of a lot of credit for even giving themselves a chance in that game, Bink.
Which is funny because
against Tech because they were down to their third-string quarterback. And, yeah, they ran a trick play that didn't work that maybe cost them the game at the end. But they had no business probably being in that game. They're down to their third quarterback.
Well, I'm just looking at the other schools and thinking, all right, if they're down to your third quarterback, how good would you be? Now, backup quarterbacks, I mean, Avery Johnson will win some games at Kansas State. Clearly not as many as Will Howard is because they still trust Will Howard the most. And they'll put Avery in when it's kind of garbage time at this point. And without Brady Cook in Missouri, you know how good's that team playing. But with Jason Bean making, 5 starts now for Kansas and getting this team to where they're at, getting them bowl eligible, going to Ames, Iowa, and winning a game against an Iowa State team that had won 3 previous ones to that game last week when they went up. That was the most impressive win locally last week when Kansas went up there. I don't know what happened against Tech. Maybe it's because Mahomes is on the sideline for Tech. I don't know if there's bad juju you're going against when you're playing Patrick Mahomes over there sitting. But it was tough, and Lance Leipold and what he's doing is insane. I know his name keeps getting mentioned whenever there's a coaching job that's open. It should be mentioned.
Yeah, it just got mentioned because Mississippi State's going to open. It's like, will Lance Leipold be in the mix?
I think Lance he's one of these guys that's just different. He's wired different. He's okay where he's at. And he's always been that way. It took him 6 national titles before leaving Wisconsin Whitewater. And tell me he wasn't a hot commodity, at least for schools in the Sun Belt or MAC at that point. And he stayed. So he's one of these guys, I think this is a destination job for him. But for Kansas, they've been relying on that running game with Highshaw and Devin Neal. This week it just kind of came to fold. And when Jason Bean went out of the game and you're going with the true freshman in Ballard, son of Chris Ballard, former GM of the Chiefs.
Yeah.
You can't always win when you're throwing that third-string quarterback in there, especially with the true freshman.
No, not unless you're Georgia and your third-string quarterback is Archie Manning or Texas, right? Your third-string quarterback's Archie Manning, maybe, but not when it's Cole Ballard. That's a little bit different situation.
But what they're doing there at Kansas under Lance Leipold, he was the right hire. Said it at the time, like, give this guy a shot. I've been doing this for, last 2 coaches they've hired, saying it should be Lance Leipold. Been beating that drum for a long time, and I'm not even a Kansas fan. I'm just saying this guy was the right guy. And the next guy that's the right guy to go get is another guy sitting in the MAC at 44 years old that continues to win. The head coach of Toledo sitting there with 1 loss, Jason Candle, who's the next Matt Campbell, in my opinion. That is the guy that deserves to be running a program. But Kansas doesn't need him.
Meanwhile, Missouri...
Oh, by the way, Kleiman's been mentioned in a lot of these places, too.
Yeah, he has. But meanwhile, Missouri, credit to them... Look, they hung with Georgia. We came on this show and said they hung with Georgia. That's all you can ask to do when you're going to Athens in an SEC game. They blew the doors off of Tennessee. Cody Schrader had a tremendous game. He leads the entire SEC in rushing, Bink, which is a hell of an accomplishment in its own right. But Missouri, that is as impressed as I've been with Missouri all year because they could have let it snowball a little bit even though they're at home against a really good Tennessee team. And instead, they kicked their ass. Let's just face the reality. They beat them pretty handily.
And the funny thing is they had some motivation for what Tennessee did to them at the end of last year's game when they continued to score. And they scored a touchdown, which really ticked Missouri off at the time that they did it. But he also, Cody Schrader, a SEC record. No running back in that conference as ever. Ran for 200 yards and had 100 yards receiving in a game. Never. You think about all the great running backs. 20 first-round running backs they've had since 2000? And not a one of them had ever had 200 yards rushing and 100 yards receiving in a game. Which brings me back to Clyde Edwards-Helaire, by the way, is the only one they have over 50 receptions on 1,000 yards in the SEC, and he did. But that was the Cody Schrader game, man.
It was.
Just consistent, giving the football, running
Cody
tough.
to Cody, I respect Cody's
Was
work.
that you that said Austin Eckler? I couldn't remember on Twitter. Somebody,
no, it wasn't me. Somebody else
here
said that.
did. It reminds me of Austin Eckler. That was a very Austin Eckler-ish game that Cody Schrader had. And, people look at him like, where'd this guy come with? He's Division II that played last year. He had never had 100 yards rushing last year. Never had over 100 yards.
His story's really cool, yeah.
Yeah, and this year he's just all over it. And like you said, him and Ray Davis leading the conference, and he leads the conference in rushing. But just consistent play with Brady Cook at quarterback and then Cody Schrader in the backfield. Now you have Brett McMurphy thinking Missouri in the Cotton Bowl against Texas.
They have Florida and Arkansas as the next two games. So your Missouri Tigers, Cody, could be sitting on double-digit wins here.
Double-digit win. And had to go to Georgia. That's a hell of a year. Although, God, it feels like that LSU game is going to haunt them because they absolutely should have. Like, forget it. Georgia was the better team. They lost to Georgia. They should have beaten LSU.
They were up 22-7. No, they should have won because they were up 22-7. They were up 22-7 against LSU. And at that point, LSU played no defense, and they're still struggling with playing defense. But they were up 22-7. That's a game they should have put away.
We would have never guessed before the season started, Cody, I don't think, that
Missouri is the 10-win team?
The Missouri of the three is the best.
No.
I don't think there's any way that we
got to
would
go
guess
over,
that.
man. The over-under is right there in front of you.
I'm just talking about the fact that, if there was a 10-win team, it was going to be probably K-State, I think, would have been the guess.
Would they have already hit the over? What was the over on Missouri?
It was like 6.5.
Oh, yeah, already done?
Yeah,
Cashed.
They're way over. Yep.
I was about to say, already cashed. K-State?
They're all over, aren't they? I think they're all over.
Yeah, I think so.
How many does K-State K-State's over-under was 7.5. So they're not quite there yet.
Okay, they still got.
They'll all hit it though.
K-State also had a good weekend, by the way. They could same thing applies. They could let things snowball. They were playing some inconsistent football there for a little bit, and then they won handily. Will Howard, I can't decide with him. It's so funny. He can look so good at times, Bink, but I still find myself a lot of times curious what Avery Johnson looks like. I'm not gonna lie. Aren't you at least a little bit curious what that looks
Every
like?
time he touches the ball, you're thinking, okay, this could be a touchdown. He's just got that cachet with him. Every time he runs the football, you're like, that's a touchdown. But it's kind of funny how they're using him and the trust they have in Will Howard. The guy that's gone and won a Big 12 title, and they like it both. Both these quarterbacks like each other and everything, but the trust factor that's going in with Will Howard over Avery. And Avery did play, but again, it's when the game was kind of conceded at that point. 2 for 5, 33 yards passing in that game. But it's a Will Howard show. And just a couple weeks ago, Chris Kleiman, in the middle of the K-State winning 2 straight games by a combined score of 82-3, thought that Will Howard had played his best game ever at Kansas State. Kleiman said that just, 2 weeks ago.
Of all places, by the way, Fox is in College Park for Michigan, Maryland. Like, really?
Ugh.
Out of all the games to go to, you think the Sunflower Showdown would be the game to go
Controversy
to?
over Michigan
With
right
all
now.
that, with all that drama at Michigan, man, because Jim Harbaugh, is he going to show up on the sidelines or not? And
He's not,
the court hearing is Friday, so it's going to be interesting.
Harbaugh will not coach, and Michigan will blow the doors off of Maryland, like 31-7, and the game will stink.
Just sit out the game. Honestly, he got off fairly easy. He should just take the Big Ten's punishment. Hope that they win the rest of their regular season games and start showing up for the college football
I was ready for him to be on a helicopter at the kickoff.
I was too, but just don't do that. Don't
so
Hugh
ready
freeze
for
this. You'll
Jim
be in a
Harbaugh.
hospital bed in the
awesome.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Take a break. When we come back here on Cody and Gold, me, Jay Binkley, Alex is out. We'll talk a little bit about a comparison that Binkley and I were thinking about when it came to the Patriots, but in a slightly different way than we discussed last week. I'll tell you what it is next.
Chiefs fans, it's Jawan Taylor. Don't miss Cody and Gold weekdays starting at 10 on 610 Sports Radio.
Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
Some of you have probably noticed we started video streaming our show as well on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter. You name it. And one of the things we make sure looks good is the lighting. And one of those things that we have to be cognizant of is that we don't have the lights reflecting through Cody's glasses and showing up on camera. Fortunately, it's not something we got to worry about with mine because I don't wear glasses anymore. I don't wear contacts anymore. I've told you guys about the great staff at Dury Vision. Went in for SBK Advanced LASIK. I had a free consultation. 2 days later, I had my procedure that just took minutes. And then the next day I was driving into work, and now I see without contacts, without glasses. It is simply incredible. It's been the best decision I've ever made. And right now, don't forget, it's a great time to take advantage of open enrollment season. LASIK is an eligible expense under most of your flex spending and health savings accounts. So give Dury Vision a call at 913-491-3330, or just go online to duryvision.com. Again, 913-491-3330. And tell them Gold from 610 sent you.
You're always better with a roof from JR.
Well, on the first day of fall, the only thing that was falling was hail, and a lot of it. Don't wait for some hungry, storm-chasing roofer from out of town to tell you your roof's a mess. There's an easier and safer way to know for sure. Online, from locally owned JR & Company. Just visit jrhailcheck.com. Plug in your address, and we'll pull a hail report. If there's nothing there, you have hassle-free peace of mind. And if it looks like you got hit, we'll come out and do a free inspection and help with any insurance claim. Veteran-owned JR & Company will never try to sell you a roof you don't need. But if you do need a new roof, remember, a roof from JR comes with a lifetime workmanship warranty. Just visit jrhailcheck.com.
Always better with a roof from JR.
Visit jrhailcheck.com.
As football weather creeps in, the offers for the NFL continue to stay hot with FanDuel. And right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any $5 winning moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining America's #1 sportsbook app, and there's no better time to get in on the action than with FanDuel. The app is super easy to use, and there's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. You can even take some future bets like NFL MVP and also who's going to make the playoffs. All you need to do is visit FanDuel.com/CNOT to kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, an official partner of the NFL and also 610 Sports Radio. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 pregame moneyline wager required. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus specs that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering. Canada's under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Can you help us your best bet? Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
When people have a craving to explore new and traditional Asian cuisines, they head to P.F. Chang's, where scratch-made dishes come from the 2,000-year-old tradition of wok cooking. P.F. Chang's wanted to explore new possibilities for their website. They turned to AmericanEagle.com. AmericanEagle.com re-architected P.F. Chang's website, integrating multiple third-party systems to create a unified digital experience. The results? Improved page speed and performance, personalized content based on users' location, intuitive online ordering, an increase in organic search visibility, and a 40% increase in new users. For scratch-made Asian cuisine, visit your local P.F. Chang's or go to pfchangs.com for website design, development, digital marketing, and hosting that produce efficiency, revenue, and results. Visit AmericanEagle.com. P.F. Chang's and AmericanEagle.com. Another example of the best businesses in the world. Turning to the best in the business for websites, go to AmericanEagle.com or call 877-WEB-NOW1. That's 877-WEB-NOW1.
Football is back. Save time with Old Shawnee Pizza and get the Monday Special, a single topping medium pizza for only $10.99. Call or go to ShawneePizza.com today. Old Shawnee Pizza, Shawnee, Lenexa, and now Crossroads for carryout. Now 3 locations.
Happy 62nd birthday, Granddad.
Thanks, sweetheart.
I got you this.
A mug. What does it say? Beware. If you are 60 or older, you may be at increased risk of serious consequences from RSV, respiratory syncytial virus, compared to adults younger than 60.
Not all dangers come with warning labels. Talk to your pharmacist or doctor about getting vaccinated against RSV today. RSV vaccines, including Pfizer's, are available. Learn more at bewareofrsv.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
With Black Friday savings all month long at the Home Depot, you get all the jingle bells and whistles you could wish for with LG appliances. With America's most reliable line of appliances per independent consumer study, you can take holiday doing to holiday done and always be ready to handle last-minute holiday guests. Save up to $900 on select laundry sets with Black Friday savings, including top brands like LG at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Save on stuff you really need and stuff you bought for fun. Stuff you've always really wanted this holiday at Amazon. Stuff that is discounted if you're naughty or you're nice. Stuff to buy your grandma who drinks her Chardonnay with ice. Stuff to make you big and strong. Stuff we can't name in this song. Stuff for lawns and decking halls. Save big on stuff at Amazon. Stuff.
You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Max Motor Studios.
Hey, this is Trent McDuffie, and you're listening to the official broadcast partner of the Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
KCSP Kansas City, WDAF HD2 Liberty, always live on the free Odyssey app.
It's finally starting to cool down a little bit in the studio. It was so hot in here to start the show. Did you notice, Pink?
Oh, I did. It's been hot outside, been hot in here.
I cranked this thing all the way down.
Very unseasonable.
As far down as it was go.
It feels better in here, in my side of things, too. It was toasty in
Well,
here.
maybe this is helping. I don't know why the morning show had it cranked all the way up still. They were in jackets. I turned it all the way down. It was way too hot in here. I'm not kidding. So our wall here in the studio, you guys wouldn't see it unless you're watching the video stream, in which case you can see where I'm pointing. This wall next to us is our studio mates over at KMBZ. You know, Dana and Parks, Grayson and Jamie, right? John Grayson, who hosts the midday show, same time as us, right? He walked into their studio this morning, Pink. He was like, what's going on here? Like, walked in. He was in there for like 30 seconds. He's like, this is ridiculously hot. Like, it was so uncomfortable. It was just so unbearable. We walked in. He's like, this is insane. He's like, I could get home in enough time to host this show. And then I thought maybe he was just being, like, facetious. And then, no kidding, like, 3 minutes later, he's like, see you guys later. Walked out the door
So funny.
and went to his house to host instead. He said, dude, this studio's too hot. I'm going home. So, Mick, if you just decide you need to leave to host the rest of this show from your house today, I guess Grayson has set the precedent.
It's been like that a lot, especially on weekends. Hot.
We gotta figure out this temperature thing. Like it's second it turns like 63 degrees like in November, it's like 97 inside of this studio. It's insane. It's just no way to live. I'd much rather be cold in here than hot. Like people would be like, "Oh, Cody's always wearing like the same like 5 jackets." I'm like, "Yeah, they just like rotate. I wash them, then I bring them back in because you need a jacket every time you're in here during the summer. It's cold. During the winter, you will start to see the T-shirts come back out, apparently, because it's just going to be miserably hot.
You shut down the air conditioner, you don't pop it back on.
Isn't that the way it always was, though, like in school, too? I mean, I remember like going back to...
You put those coats or sweaters on, you just be dying.
Yeah, you get in, you got to take it off right away because it's cold outside, it's hot inside.
I guess. It's some version of that. Basically, we were talking a little bit before the show about the Chiefs and the Patriots way. And last week, I was talking about the Patriots way being a fraud. I think it's been proven that it was really kind of a fraudulent thing, and the thing that made it work was Tom Brady was great, and Bill Belichick was a great defensive coach. And then somebody asked me, like, well, do you think, and I saw an article up from our good friend John Dixon over at Arrowhead Pride that said, people will remember the Chiefs way for years. And I respect John a lot, but I'm going to disagree. Or if they are, they're wrong. Maybe they will remember the Chiefs way. But tell me real quick, the Chiefs are great. They're great at what they do. But tell me outside of this is a great quarterback and this is a Hall of Fame coach is repeatable. What do you want to tell teams? Find a bunch of talented players in the 4th through 7th round? That's not as easy as just like putting it to paper. The only thing I could think of that like lasted over time is never sign anyone over 30 that can all kick rocks and just go young. That was, or have a Hall of Fame tight end that you can pay half as much as an elite level wide receiver. Again, not sustainable. I don't think anything about what the Chiefs do and makes them good is repeatable other than don't sign a player over 30.
Yeah, there's nothing there. I mean, it comes down to Mahomes and Reed. So every year when people look at it, they'll say at least a 10-win team and more because of that. It's why you look at the Bengals and you say, all right, they're good because Joe Burrow. We'd like to look at the Chargers, say they're going to win because of Justin Herbert, but you put the right head coach there, and all of a sudden it becomes viable. All right, every year you put them near the top because of what they're doing. But yes, it's like the Patriots having Tom Brady, Mr. Consistent, not making mistakes, not hurting your team. You're always going to win double-digit games. Is because of the reliance. The only team I've seen not have something in place and continue to win has been the Steelers. That's the team
their
where
plan is be elite on the defensive line and care about literally nothing else about your football team,
still
right?
with Kenny Pickett in there and still win.
They got to. This is the same thing that happened with Zach Wilson. Is there not some part of their brain that says if they just traded for a quarterback, they could like win the Super Bowl? Like, is there something that was like holding them back from that process right now? Because if I were the Steelers, I'd be thinking the only thing that's stopping us from winning this division, being the 3 seed in the playoffs and all that is one even semi-functional quarterback, right?
Everybody thinks they have the guy. I'm telling you, though, this draft here, all these teams that are have the question, do we have the right guy or not, can get that question answered because you keep taking chances on quarterbacks and hoping one of them is right. You just keep taking, just like when Washington, they drafted RG3 in the same draft they drafted Kirk Cousins. All right, one of these guys is going to work out. Well, Kirk Cousins ended up working out, not working out in Washington. But the bottom line is you keep throwing darts at getting quarterbacks, bringing them in, because it can change your whole franchise.
To me, that's the so this whole like Patriots way, Chiefs way, all these conversations we've had about it boils down to one thing.
Quarterback.
Throw a quarterback until you get a top 5 one. Never let your roster get too old unless you are just Rams selling. Like if your quarterback gets older, sell all the way out.
I mean, this is a
if
good
your
team with
quarterback
Alex
is under
Smith,
the age of 30, if your quarterback's under the age of 30, go young, superstar wide receiver, move on with your day. If your quarterback's above 32, sell the hell out. Forget picks, throw caution to the wind, use free agency dollars and try. That's the only thing. It doesn't feel like it's one way versus the other because if I try to compare them side by side, let's just call this Chiefs won a dynasty or like let's compare it to the first dynasty is kind of hard with the Patriots because that first dynasty was about having the league's single best defense and a young Tom Brady who was figuring it out but turned out to be like the most clutch quarterback.
Who didn't kill your team.
Yeah. But the second run is kind of what the Chiefs are experiencing now, where they were clearly one of the best teams in the league every year, AFC Championship game every year. The only thing that's in common is that they were willing to let go of players. That's it. That's the only commonality, is that Chris Jones is not more important than the team. Tyreek Hill is not more important than the team. If we've got Andy and Pat, we can figure out some of this. The problem is Bill Belichick thought this entire time that he could figure it out without a quarterback, and he was wrong. He got Mac Jones, and then he found out how quickly you can't just let whatever players go. And then he tried to bring all their guys back, and they were too old and expensive.
Well, the Colts' philosophy was just pay a handful of guys. You know, it's Peyton Manning and Reggie Wayne, Marvin Harrison, Dallas Clark got his. But not running backs. Edgerrin James, one of the best running backs in the history of that organization, they let him walk. And they draft Joseph Adai. He comes in and wins the title. So even one of their core players they let walk in Edgerrin James and still won because they had their quarterback. Had to have that guy. And they did. With Peyton Manning.
By the way, just since we're talking about this, do you even think, like now, like the Joe Flacco, Brad Johnson, Trent Dilfer ones, that was in a different era of football, right? You can't do that anymore, can you? Like in the next 15 years, do you think a team with a quarterback ranked outside of the top 10 in the NFL is winning a Super Bowl? Because I don't. I don't think. I think you give me 15 years, and if I said, "Hey, consensus agreement on who the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL," if you're not in that, you're not winning the Super Bowl.
Unless
I don't think
it's
Geno
elite,
Smith's getting the title.
Like the 99 Ravens defense or the 85 Bears. Your defense better be elite. And it better be a defense that can't score from time to time. But it can be done, but they've got to be better than average. Like an elite style defense to carry your football team. Like the 15 Broncos, it was an elite defense. And they carried it all the way to a title because they had a quarterback that, right, you throw him out there and not going to make mistakes.
But I just don't feel like it's going to be that way. What do you think the Chiefs' way is? If you try to boil down the 5 things, let's boil it down. What is the Chiefs' way?
Mahomes and Reed.
Okay, that's 1 and 2. I totally agree with that.
That's Chiefs' way.
Elite quarterback, elite. Oh, you got 3 more things? Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Again, I would
defense once in a while, maybe you can't really say that.
No. No. I mean, I get it. I'm
Tight
not
end.
saying that's the case, but I'm still curious by it. Binkley, you're in. I like when you're in because it means I can lean on you to talk a little college football because sometimes I see stuff from the outside of college football. And as a casual college football observer, I'm like, are you for real? Someone walk me back the decision-making by a university to pay a man $76 million over the next 7 years to not work for you, which is what's happening with Jimbo Fisher as he was let go this weekend by Texas A&M. $76 million they still owe the man over the next 7 years. And his contract doesn't even prevent him from working.
No, he can go work somewhere and he's double dip.
He can not work at all. He can immediately take another job that pays him millions of dollars, and A&M still has to pay him.
Go to ESPN and get both.
How is this even possible? You know what this is for me? This is why I think if you ever sat in a court of law and someone was like, hey, we think that we need to cap NIL, I'd be like, get the hell out of my courtroom.
Well, the whole thing about it is...
Are you kidding me? You pay this guy $76 million to not work.
It's the ultimate catch-22 that you see in college football a lot. Like you see the college quarterback or the coach extensions. Because you have to do that. Because you can't go into a recruiting situation, go in the recruit's house and say, well, he's only got another year. Or he's got 2 years. So you see guys jump ahead and get contract extensions for the future. But the money's so big, A&M had just raised a ton of money with their 12th Man Foundation. It's now going to be used at the in coaching circles. And I give them credit because they're getting ahead of the game. And to be already, looking for a coach before everybody else at this point, well, now Mississippi State's in the same category. But you get ahead of the curve. You can kind of get the coaches that you want. You put yourself in line. So they're doing the right thing by doing this. Jimbo coming after a win. But it's the catch-22. If you give your coach some stability, which, he came in as a hot name, guy won a national title at Florida State, guy learned everything under Bobby Bowden. Hell, he was at LSU with Nick Saban. The guy had a good pedigree. And all of a sudden, you got to pay him because you don't want other coaches saying, well, he's only got 2 more years. Oh, he's only got a year. So they give him the contract, pay him, and then walk out of it. But the money is insane. You're seeing the same situation go on in the pro level with Vegas, the money that they're paying the former GM and Josh McDaniel just to go away.
I mean, look, it's easier in college. This is what's kind of gross about the college. Like in the NFL, that's a really hard decision. If you're Mark Davis, by firing him, you personally have to pay them $80 million to leave your presence. You yourself are responsible for that financial burden. In college, you don't even care. That's what makes it so insane. The AD or the board of directors who fire them, it does not change their pay, their compensation. It doesn't change any of it. They just go and ask donors for more money. The thing I don't understand, and I get it. I went to UMKC, then I have a football program. I have not currently donated to the athletic program, although I'm still waiting to hear back on my NIL.
You waiting for football?
You're still waiting?
Well, hold on. I've applied for NIL sponsorship from UMKC.
Still haven't heard anything yet?
Just tell me you're waiting on football.
Waiting on football. I'm going to start sponsoring like soccer or volleyball. But so...
See, I'd be in, but I'm waiting on football.
But like, how do these... Like, I know that there's an amount of money where like money just doesn't matter to you. But like when that they have to go to these people and be like, hey, we're going to end up asking you for more money. Are you cool if we just give Jimbo Fisher $76 million to just kick rocks? And they're like, yeah, that sounds good. You're like, what?
I think the problem is that...
How are you okay with this?
Well, part of the problem with college football is that they let the boosters they end up making decisions for the athletic department because they're the ones who are helping fund the athletic department. So it's almost like you're having alumni decide who's going to be the head coach and who's not, rather than the AD or the board of directors actually make it. Like they end up making the decision, but it's because...
The pressure put on by the boosters.
Yes, exactly.
They're not firing him unless the boosters are like, get him out of here. We don't care about.
Well, there's been a lot of debate on that, where boosters have a say so. But I've always thought that they need to at least have ears when you have the meetings. Like this is who we're looking for coaching searches and whatnot.
You mean years of experience?
Don't let them make choices, but always advise them what's going on. Because a lot of times they'll say, "Well, I don't know what's going on." And here's the thing: and you think, all right, on some respects. Why should X booster know who they're looking at to be coach? Well, the problem is you go to these people and ask for money.
Yeah, exactly.
You want
so
them
they make the decisions
to give you money to get rid of a coach, and you want money to hire a coach. Like you need these people. That's why. No, you don't want them making decisions, but you want to include them.
Can you imagine?
You
Cody?
want to include them.
Can you imagine, Cody? The Chiefs are 7-2 right now. If you let all the season ticket holders make decisions.
That's a horrible idea.
Yeah, that's kind
no
of...
No offense to all of you kind people.
That's
horrible idea.
Kind of college football. A little bit. Which is why they go through coaches so quickly. And you know what? You know what A&M is going to do? They're going to look at Mike Norvell. They're going to look at Dan Lanning. They might look at Dion, and they're going to do the exact same thing they did to Jimbo. They're going to throw a ton of money his way.
Dude, is Dion going to leave?
If Dion gets offered... If they offer Dion a lifetime contract at A&M, he is gone.
Lifetime contract? They're going to go that route?
They're not going Kirk Ferentz on this deal.
Texas A&M's got the oil money. I mean, like, if they offered him, I don't know what he's making at Colorado, but if they made him the highest paid college football coach in the country, and you're in the SEC, I think Dion, if Shedeur left, he would leave.
I did appreciate the crude oil jokes.
They didn't even have the money to pay Dion. Remember when they first signed him?
Yeah.
They were hoping to recruit, which they have it now.
Oh, they're good
They also have law. Dion did lose the top recruit that he had.
He's got a 5-year, $29.5 million contract to Colorado.
A&M's going to offer him
double that.
Four times that amount of money.
Yeah, but Colorado can just offer him more now.
Can they?
Dion is the 32nd highest paid coach in college football. That's going to be top 10 at A&M.
I'm just saying, the alumni base at A&M, plus there's more money in Texas. The recruiting is easier in Texas. You're in the SEC. If Shedeur left, it's like, hey, you know what? You don't got to worry about it. Or Shedeur could come with you and play at A&M. You're playing in front of the most capacity of a stadium in college football. I mean, that's...
I got to get
I think he might leave.
Drew, right now, if 610 said you don't have to work, like they said, look, you can still work somewhere else, but right now they're going to fire you and they'll give you 7 years salary. Yeah? Be honest. It's all right. Look, Binkley, come on. Wouldn't I have to be?
I feel like you
If
would...
610 offered me 7 years salary and said...
To leave.
Go away.
You just go bake.
We're going to pay you this entire time, and you can work wherever you want. What choice do I have? I have to. Who wouldn't leave their job? We'd all leave our job. There's no option in this. We'd all have to ditch.
That's where college football is a little bit skewed sometimes.
It's basically hitting the lottery every time a coach puts pen to paper.
Yeah.
But it's hitting the lottery.
No,
because what they're saying
Especially
is it
in
doesn't matter
college.
if you lose. It does not matter if you suck. You're going to be a rich man.
And if you're the program, you're just hoping that they can end up like Nick Saban. You're just crossing your fingers and hoping that they stay there for 10 years of success. You're hoping that it lasts that long.
It's one of the best things ever because it doesn't. I can't think of anything better in sports than having the guaranteed money because if you suck, you're still okay.
Yeah.
Like there's no pressure. You go back to your office, you got 4 or 5 losses. You're like, okay, who cares?
And Jimbo will just
go
end
ahead
up
and fire me. I need to chill out anyway. Just go ahead and fire me if you want. Just make sure you pay me, and then we're good. Especially this deal where you can go work at ESPN or wherever, Fox or wherever, and still make the money.
Just go head coach Michigan State for all he wants. It doesn't matter. It's so silly. It's such a
Jimbo
weird
could have
sport.
his own podcast.
Yeah.
Just be Jimbo's cast and make money on that.
That's
and
what would
this.
happen if 610 was like, I'm going to pay you 7 years salary to leave. I'd be like, all right, and I can still work anywhere? Like, yes. Like, I guess the Cody Tap podcast is starting up in like 6 months. I'll probably take a few months
You would bake and podcast.
I'm not going to start it tomorrow.
Easy. I might take a few weeks off, before we get there. It was the weekend, though, and Drew is back. So let's get to What's Bugging Drew.
What's bugging Drew?
If this is allowed to go on, this is not a society. This is anarchy!
So I was having a little bit of trouble actually coming up with one, but Vegas. I'm not really bugged by Vegas. I'm bugged by, I guess F1 is trying to really screw around with the city. There are residents, Cody. Residents of Vegas are wanting the city to go bankrupt because of the race that is happening this weekend. Yeah, F1 is going to be in Vegas. Vegas residents enraged ahead of the F1 weekend saying, quote, I hope it bankrupts them. They spoke to 15 people, this publication, who visited, live in, or work in Vegas. And there's a lot of money being spent. The city, of course, is being adjusted for it. And you're almost shutting down the city because when you have the Super Bowl at certain places, I feel like it doesn't necessarily shut down the city as much.
Or the draft, it did shut down a little bit.
You've got Super Bowl Village and all that stuff. Some things are blocked off. But when you have a race through the strip, nobody can go anywhere around there. If you want to get in, you have to pay an absorbent amount of money, Cody, because the way that racing goes, it's a rich man's sport.
Yeah, sure.
And if you want to get into the building, the ticket prices were insane. They've since dropped to get-in prices now, reportedly $1,900 which is still
I mean, it's a lot of money, but
still
at least
hefty compared to
I've seen around 1,000.
compared to what it was.
So-
I mean, get-in price with no seat was originally like $4,000, $3,500, or like $3,500, where you just get into the building, when you get into the facility. So I don't know. I think it's a little bit of a disaster.
$1,050, Drew, to get in for 3 days.
I'm not going. I'm not spending that money.
Come on.
The thing about F1 though
It's
is
Jimbo Fisher type money,
is
man.
like Cody. I feel like you would enjoy it or Gold would enjoy it, and the reason why I say that is because you guys aren't really racing fans. F1 isn't necessarily for the racing fan as much as it is an event for celebrities.
Yeah, it's a social
and
event.
It is a social event. The race could suck, but you could have a great time.
I guess I can't get over, like, every story about this is they did so little research before building like $1 billion racetrack in the middle of the
It's going to be cold as well.
And they reportedly didn't know that. No, Bink, this is going to be the coldest race in F1
I get
history.
that.
And the report said that, and their tires aren't really designed for it. The report said they never even thought Vegas could be cold in November. So no one even, like, looked it up.
Well,
Like, no one ever thought, oh, desert, winter, does it get cold?
It's going to be
it'll probably be
70 degrees Saturday, 73 Sunday. So
Well,
I guess in the grand scheme of things, it's cold.
It's a night race though, so it's not during the day.
It's not.
So we're about 63, 4.
It's cold for F1 races.
It's chilly for F1 races. Normally, NASCAR has run in the cold before previously when you get to the latter part of the season. But yeah, F1 is used to traveling around wherever it's warm. Saudi Arabia, Australia, Bahrain, they bounce around everywhere. So
God, it's colder than Kansas City there.
It'll be really interesting to see how that weekend goes, though. I would not be spending the money. I don't know how you could spend that much money on it unless you just have $1,000 sitting around.
It started off $2,000 to get in last year.
You have that Jimbo Fisher money.
$1,000.
That's right. That's right. Is Jimbo Fisher going to be in Vegas this weekend? I don't know. They do have the Sphere with the whole thing. Apparently, though, they've lost a lot of money in terms of
$98 million the Sphere lost last month.
90. So the Sphere lost money, but Vegas has lost money as well because they were anticipating people spending the money to go. Now they've dropped prices so much just to try to get people in.
And
to
hotel
go to the
prices
race.
have gone.
Hotel price. It is
Way too
really.
late. The race is this.
It has really screwed over the city because as
I
a
could
city,
stay at home and watch Max Verstappen win.
yeah. I don't even have to watch the race, Bink, and I know that Max Verstappen's going to win. I don't even have to. Let me just check
win
my
every time.
17 of 20 races.
Cody, it is
17 of 20
Cody,
races.
If he doesn't win, it's because he either got a DNF
Or it's too cold.
or the pit crew screwed around or something. It's always a problem. If he's racing and his car is good, he is winning the race. It makes it not that.
He's like Burrow, Mahomes, and
fun to
Josh
watch.
Allen combined.
So this
Yes.
is like Tiger's run.
It's
during
Tiger
the stretch
Woods
when
in
he was
a-
like winning
yes.
It's Tiger
8
Woods
out of
in a
every
car.
golf tournaments he played.
Tiger
I
Woods
liked
in a
what
car.
Tiger was doing. It was kind of fun.
I don't give Max Verstappen as much credit though as Tiger because Tiger is doing it where Max has. You have the
Just has a car.
You have the car. Like Max is great, but you also have the car. I just feel like F1 does this though. It bothers me a little bit. It's like when the Super Bowl or the World Cup goes to certain cities that can't handle hosting
like Qatar.
That sort of an event, yes, and they lose a boatload of money. That's what Vegas is going through now. Austin, Texas, it's been a success. Miami, it's been a little bit more of a success, even though the race hasn't been good. But Vegas, you're losing all this money. It really hurts the city because people can't travel there just to hang out on the strip because there's a race going on.
In Austin, it was a little bit different because the track's already there. Like it's on the
Yes,
side,
yes.
the track's
It
there, but
is-
you're using a lot of the strip.
You're in the middle of
Miami,
nowhere.
they use it in front
A
of the
little bit.
stadium. For the
It was
upper
cool.
one.
It looked cool in Miami.
But it's mostly they use part of a track that's not even there during the regular times because it's part of the parking lot for the Dolphins.
If you had $1,000, Cody, would you go to an F1 race,
Yeah, I think so.
or would you use it to do anything else?
No, I think F1 race would be one of those, like, at this point, that's got to be like a bucket list sporting event thing. It's like going to the Masters or anything else.
I'd rather go to the Masters of Kentucky.
I do really think that you and Gold would like going to an F1 race.
I've been to the Masters now, only practice round, but at least been there.
Let me put my Max
Yeah.
stuff off and I'll go.
That totally counts.
Max Verstappen. He's got to let me drive the car, though, I guess. Don't forget, coming up this Saturday, the Sunflower Showdown between KU and K-State. And your spot to watch the game is Jefferson's voted favorite wings in KC by the Kansas City Star. Both their Lenexa and North Kansas City locations will be open for it. And if you walk through the door during the game, you have a chance to be entered to win free wings for a year during the game Saturday during that time, and $2 off all pitchers during the Sunflower Showdown. We come back here on Cody and Gold. Binkley's very excited about what one position in the draft could mean for the Chiefs. We'll tell you about it next.
Chiefs fans, it's Scott Moore. Don't miss Cody and Gold weekdays starting at 10 on 610 Sports Radio.
Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
Is your payment too much or your interest rate too high? I'm Jeff Davis, owner of Volkswagen Lease Summit, and it's time to switch and save.
Switch and save your way at Volkswagen Lease Summit. Get a low sign then drive lease and pay $0 down and $0 next month. Or switch your rate and get as low as 3.9% for 72 months. Or save by getting $1,000 more for your trade.
Don't miss out. Switch and save at Volkswagen Lease Summit. Visit VWLeaseSummit.com.
Financing through VCI OAC.
Introducing Spectrum One Stream. Get 300 megabit internet for $49.99 a month, including advanced Wi-Fi, and one unlimited mobile line free for 12 months. And when you add Spectrum TV, get a Xumo Stream Box, also free for 12 months. Plus, get a $100 Visa Rewards card. Spectrum One Stream. It's streaming simplified. Visit Spectrum.com for full details. Offer subject to change. Valid for qualified residential customers only. Service not available in all areas. Restrictions apply.
Get the home field advantage every time with Fairfield by Marriott, official hotel partner of the NCAA. Whether you're a student athlete working toward your championship dreams or your team's biggest fan, Fairfield by Marriott has everything you need to get ready for game day. From comfortable guest rooms to complimentary hot breakfast. Fairfield is part of the Marriott Bonvoy portfolio of hotels and official hotel partner of the NCAA. Visit fairfield.marriott.com to book your next game day stay.
Hi, this is Scott Trout of Cordell & Cordell. If you're a dad who is facing divorce, there are extra layers of stress that may include stereotypes and assumptions. No two situations are the same. Our legal experience and dedication prepare us for whatever legal challenges we face together. You need a partner you can count on. For more than 30 years, Cordell & Cordell has represented men in divorce.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Missouri or Kansas attorneys. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. CordellCordell.com.
Hey guys, today I want to talk to you about Dan Dan the Wedding Man. Why rent a suit or tux when you could buy one from Dan Dan? Only $250 gets you a custom tailored suit or tux. And as always, Dan Dan has free alterations for life. It's the day your partner will remember for a lifetime, and it's a suit you can use for a lifetime. Best day, best look with Dan Dan the Wedding Man at 97th and Quivira. Online at dandantheweddingman.com or call 541-1192.
I'm Mitch Holtish, voice of the Chiefs. Everyone develops cataracts naturally as they get older. When your vision is affected by cataracts, you should see my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein at Silverstein Eye Centers. Dr. Silverstein is a world-renowned cataract surgeon who performs life-changing laser-assisted cataract surgery with premium lens implants to correct your vision up close and far away. Trust my eye doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein, Silverstein Eye Centers, 816-358-3600 to schedule an appointment.
Join Yingling and Johnny's Tavern this November to support Loggers for Heroes. Join Johnny's Tavern to give back to local KC vets and register to win a Yingling prize pack, including a tailgate couch, large wooden Yingling bar sign, tickets to the Chiefs Christmas game, and so much more. Yingling, America's oldest brewery, is proud and thankful for Kansas City's servicemen and women. Visit any of your local Johnny's Taverns in the KC Metro to enter to win. This contest is powered by our friends at Yingling and 610 Sports.
Gates Barbecue's unforgettable flavor will make your holiday parties unforgettable. Spice up your holiday eating with Gates sauces and seasonings made with fresh, savory ingredients, and it's gluten-free. Prepare your meats, potatoes, and vegetables with Gates sauces and seasonings while watching the game or relaxing. Sprinkle Gates seasonings on your favorite snack like a bowl of popcorn. Your taste buds will thank you. Buy Gates, available at your local grocer or online at gatesbbq.com. Gates, 75 years serving Kansas City.
Imagine a home service partner who understands family and friends are important to you. That partner is just a click away. Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. For a limited time, get a free garbage disposal with the purchase of a water heater. Schedule online at anthonyphce.com.
Shop Black Friday every day and get the best new deals all month long, only at Lowe's. Right now, shop the lowest prices of the year on select major appliances and save an extra $100 for every $800 you spend on select major appliances. And get up to 45% off select tools and accessories. Because Lowe's knows deals. Valid through 11/15 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. Appliance savings vary based on purchase amount. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com for details.
Dell's Black Friday event is their biggest sale of the year. Shop limited time deals on laptops like the stylish, innovative XPS 13, engineered to do it all on the Intel Evo platform. Plus, save big on ultra-sharp monitors and top brand accessories. It's the perfect time to upgrade any home, business, or gaming setup powered by Intel Core processors. Shop now at Dell.com/deals to take advantage of huge savings and free shipping. Again, that's Dell.com/deals.
I'm a Vietnam veteran.
I always knew that I was going to join the military.
My grandfather pulled out his own military uniform and actually let me put it on.
The greatest thing you could ever do in your life is to change and impact the world around you.
Anybody that has ever served in the military has that sense of serving others.
I wanted to keep the people of the United States safe.
Being a veteran comes with a responsibility.
My role is being a protector.
We're born a proud country. We need to keep it that way. Boot Barn.
The Gillette Intimate Trimmer gives you a gentle, easy way to trim your pubic region. Or you could try waxing. Nope. From America's #1 trusted men's grooming brand. The best a man can get, down there. Buy Gillette Intimate at a retailer near you.
Mostly sunny and pleasant with a high today of 68.
Weather brought to you by Total Wine & More. With so many bottles to choose from, it's easy to find your favorite and new ones. With the lowest prices for over 30 years, always find what you love and love what you find only at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly. B21.
The 610 Sports Radio phone line is brought to you by Onder Law Injury Lawyers. Visit getjim.com.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Max Motors. 9 major vehicle brands to choose from. MaxMotors.com. It's trade-up days at Max Motors dealerships.
Worth the drive from anywhere.
Get up to 130% off book value for your trade. Plus, huge savings on all new and pre-owned vehicles in stock. No payments for 90 days and finance options for everyone. Over 1,700 vehicles in stock.
Shop 24/7 at MaxMotors.com.
Chiefs Kingdom. This is Mitch Holtis, and welcome into the Chiefs Red Half Hour on Cody and Gold. Every day at 11:30 on your official broadcast partner of the Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
Coming up in 30 minutes, I'm going to give you a chance to win a prize pack from our friends over at Yingling. Dead serious. I drank Yingling at my brother's house yesterday. He had some Outbink for, he always supplies alcohol at children's birthday parties, which I believe should be the case. I was at my nephew's birthday party.
100%.
Not only did they have alcohol, they had like the normal thing, right? Like seltzers and beers in a cooler together. They had like a mixed cocktail they had created. But because it was a kid's birthday party that was Ninja Turtle themed, they had like little Jell-O cups with the, the gummy worms for kids, right? Oh, green Jell-O like the ooze. They also had Jell-O shots of that same color available for any adults who were interested. So
you guys remember when
I could have gotten hammered, I guess, if I wanted to at this kid's birthday party. I chose to have 2 drinks and then go home.
Remember when you and Gold went in Arkansas to Northwest Arkansas for the game, and I told you guys to bring me some Yingling?
Yeah.
Because that's before they had it here.
And Bink, I think Gold did.
He
I
did.
think he went through a drive-through liquor store just to get it for you.
Gold brought some Yingling.
You can get it now, so you don't have to worry about it. But I'll give you a chance to win a prize pack from Yingling from our friends over at Johnny's Tavern. That'll be coming up at the end of this segment. Binkley, you told me you're watching some college football this weekend, and you are very excited about what this might mean for the Chiefs in the draft.
You know what? I am, and I'm looking forward to hopefully if I don't know if we're going to get 6 quarterbacks and kind of rival that 83 draft with quarterbacks. But the bottom line is when you look at the amount of probably left tackles and quarterbacks in this year's draft, drafting 31st or 22nd, you're essentially drafting 24th or 25th. No, forget about Marvin Harrison Jr. That would be just a win-win. If the Chiefs were able to get him, they're not going to be able to go up and grab him. And now a lot of mocks have him as the number 1 overall pick. Malik Neighbors, probably not going to stand a chance to get that. But the size of these receivers, the speed of these receivers, the playmaking ability.
You're excited.
Washington's got 3. In Rome Odunze, it'll probably be a first-rounder. Jalen McMillan was going to be that guy, and Jalen Polk is getting his way into the first round. But 6'3", 6'2", 6'4", wide receiver. Xavier Worthy's been mocked a lot to the Chiefs. He's 6'1" at Texas, returns punts as well. So he's a returner and a great receiver. A.D. Mitchell at Texas, been another guy that's been mocked to the Chiefs. Keon Coleman down at Florida State. Johnny Wilson, who's 6'7". Regardless, big physical wide receiver. Everybody was worried last year about wide receivers, and I said, just let things calm down. And everybody, Quentin Johnson sucks, blah, blah, blah. He got a touchdown yesterday, so I think he's on the right path. But, like Jackson Smith-Njigba started slowly. Jordan Addison, I really liked. But that was some guesswork in last year's receivers, whether they're going to work or not. This wide receiver draft class is ridiculous. And this is perfect. I don't know if the Chiefs are going to go this direction, but they've been hammering defense the last 2 years in the draft, where the only skill positions last year were Wanye Morris and Rashee Rice. This is the year for skill positions.
So you're saying, so who's the guy? You know what I want to know out of you? If you're that excited about it, look, I am too. The Chiefs have managed the best record, second best record in the AFC, second best record in the NFL, halfway through the season without a single wide receiver. But I'll be honest, the plea I've been making here lately is not, if it's this good, I don't really want them sitting around at 32 waiting for the fifth guy to come off the board and just hoping to get it right. I want them to move and take the guy they know is great. So I know they can't get Marvin Harrison Jr.
I don't know if they have to move, though. That's the good news. I don't know if they have to.
Who can they move up and get to at 11? Who's their Julio Jones?
All right. If they move up to that area, that should be Brock Bowers, the tight end of Texas.
Oh, just
if there's
Travis?
every person that I thought was a good fit for the Chiefs, there's no better fit that I've seen that I've been doing this.
Is that injury going to make Brock Bowers go to like 15?
He's already back.
No, it's crazy.
He missed 2 games, high ankle sprain, had some tightrope surgery. He's already back. He ain't even had a touchdown.
How about Keon Coleman from FSU?
I love Keon Coleman. I like Johnny Wilson too, because Johnny Wilson's sitting there at 6'7".
6'7"?
6'7" wide receiver.
Is that too tall? Let's be honest here. I think that's too tall for a wide receiver.
It's worked out in college football. He's been really good.
Name me one successful wide receiver at 6'7".
The thing about Johnny Wilson is
wide receiver
he's almost 240
at that height. That's like Brock Osweiler. That's freakish height. That's like you're too tall for the job.
It's tweener between tight end, wide receiver. Guy you can do a lot of things with.
Keon Coleman's like 6'4", isn't he too? He's a big dude.
Keon Coleman is 6'4".
Okay.
Again, these receivers are tall. They're big. I don't know.
You're already thinking.
I don't know if you have to move a lot in the first round. I don't know if you have to move a lot because of the depth of the receivers.
It is almost
Xavier Leggett's in there.
We're halfway through November. The Chiefs are 7-2, and you're out here daydreaming about wide receivers in the draft next year?
Yes. College football is about these guys, man. They're playmakers. They're exciting. The receivers are insane.
How many of these guys are going to actually be in the draft? Are some of these guys just going to wait so they can be the number one wide receiver the next year?
All of them are coming out.
They're all juniors, too, except for Luther Burden, and he's got one more year. And next year, he's going to be the number one receiver coming out.
Bink, if you had to pick between Keon Coleman, Rome Odunze, and I guess let's throw in Luther Burden in there.
Troy Franklin. Oh, Luther?
Who are you taking? Or Troy Franklin, too, from Oregon.
Did you throw Marvin in there or don't?
No, I know.
That's not possible.
They're not going to move up that high to get him.
I would rather take Luther than those guys.
Really?
Yeah. There's very, very few. Like Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors.
Even with the injury up and down.
Well, that scares me when you see some consistency where you don't have these, but the talent is there. But
Keon Coleman is so good.
I have never felt
he's been hurt.
Out of my element than this. You guys have legitimately named maybe 7 people. I don't even know who they are.
Well,
and this is not meant as an insult. This is like,
just think of Washington.
I don't even know who half of these players are.
And the problem is, a lot of these guys are on the same team, which makes it even tougher because you have to figure out if they're actually good or they're good because they don't get great
Washington
attention.
wide receivers and FSU wide receivers.
Washington's got
Justin
3.
Jefferson and Jamar Chase are both good, even though they were on the same unit together.
Yeah. He's got 2. Amika Buka is the first rounder, and Marvin Harrison Jr., but I think Harrison's just fine. Even if he has like 20 yards receiving, it's 2 He's had 2 touchdowns in 3 of his last 4 games. It's insane how good he is. But Brock Bowers is the one I want.
I really think Keon Coleman is as good as Marvin Harrison Jr.
Do you know what he would do to the Bengals?
Who?
Brock Bowers. You ought to be in the same boat I am on Bowers.
Well, they're out here looking up Irv Smith.
I would love for the Bengals to get. I'd love for the Bengals to get Brock Bowers. That's not going to happen, though.
Oh, the Bills think Dalton Kincaid's the guy. No, Bowers much better than Kincaid. Not even close.
I'm happy to see you happy, Bink. And honestly, you're probably
these receivers are good. This is.
You're probably. I mean, this is probably peak bye week stuff, but I imagine Chiefs fans are right there with you because they are so sick of watching this group of wide receivers.
Give me any of them. Give me
I
any
gotta
of
be
them.
honest.
We do a weekly podcast because of this.
Can we
and we
also-
still carry it. Character concerns every week, and most of it's about these receivers.
Can we still work on getting players? Like, the thing that drives me nuts about this draft class for the Chiefs is, I'm not going to bury it yet. It's 1 year. But they took a bunch of players who don't matter to this team. And last year they won the Super Bowl because of all the players in their rookie year that mattered to the team. It is 2. It is Rashee Rice and Shamari Connor, and there's not a single other draft pick from this previous one that matters to this year's team. So either you got them wrong,
Shamari's my favorite pick,
or they're just not getting on the field like Felix and Udike Uzama, and you're banking on him being a Dana replacement or some of these other guys in the defensive line who could possibly be gone, and we're having a different conversation. But I just feel like we're stuck. And look, I'm happy. The Chiefs are in a great spot. Yesterday went.
This is about house money, this last draft.
Yeah, I think you're probably right, but I don't know that you should ever treat any draft that way if it makes sense. They are so deep that they can't be stopped. Their depth is part of the reason that they are the best team in the AFC.
Like they
I'm
needed
convinced.
the draft last year
did.
when they won the Super Bowl. They needed it because they had 5 rookie defensive backs playing.
And they got it
in
right.
that game.
They got it so right they won the Super Bowl.
And they had 61 starts by rookies.
But part of me is just
the top 2 teams picked 1 and 2 in the draft. Number 3 won the Super Bowl.
But right now, had they not taken, like, let's say they didn't take a developmental defensive end in the first round, and instead they took a more surefire, well-known wide receiver, or like they traded up, right? Like, I mean, if they had gotten Zay Flowers, we're not even having a conversation about them winning the Super Bowl this year. And he's not like, not Zay Flowers. Yeah, that's who it is. The kid from Boston
Even
College,
like a
right?
Jordan Addison. I mean,
Yeah. If they had moved up and gotten it right, Bink, it's done. It's a lock. We don't have to talk about whether Anudike Uzama is going to work out next year.
I don't think they're
felt
going
like
to have
the
to move
depth
a
made
lot
them-
unless they
no,
want Bowers.
probably not. Probably
if they want Bowers, they're going to move.
Were you guys doing what I was doing on Sunday?
I don't think it's going to
Sitting
happen.
back, arms up, realizing that this was a perfect, flawless weekend for the Chiefs and a weekend they didn't even play, Bink. Oh,
Everybody
what
loses.
a treat.
Andy Reid sitting back, chilling on the couch. Everybody's losing in front of you.
Look, the Chiefs are
This
getting a shout out from
division's
Taylor
imploding.
Swift. You got a 3-game lead on the division after week 10.
And the Raiders are the second best team in this division.
They're not, but they are by the
No.
record, yeah.
I mean, honestly, who's better?
The Chargers are still better than them,
I don't
aren't
know.
they?
I don't know.
Raiders are awful.
The Chargers have a better quarterback, and they have a lot more talent. But I don't know if that team is as good.
Are we starting to see separation in the AFC? Or is this just, to me, I take this as the simple thing that everyone should take this as. This is a perfect weekend, right? Chargers lose, Ravens lose, Bengals lose.
And right now, the Bengals and the Bills are out of the playoffs. The Texans are in.
Yeah, because the Texans just beat them. Now have as good of a record as them, and we're ahead.
This league is drunk.
But that's the way I take it, Bink. I think there are people who want to just be like, here's the separation now. It's the Chiefs and everyone else. But I'm like, no. I've watched the Chiefs a lot this year. They have had games just like the ones I saw these teams lose. The Chiefs lost by double digits to the Broncos 2 weeks ago. That's a worse loss than the Bengals to the Texans. It is.
Joe Burrow didn't have the flu.
It's a worse loss, but yeah. No,
I
Joe
think
Burrow-
that actually played
Probably.
a big part in this game.
It probably did.
And I think it was more than just one.
But the way I look at the way this weekend went, when everybody you needed to lose, the Ravens who had the same number of losses as you, the Jags who had the same number of losses as you, these teams who could be tied at the top of the conference with you, the Jaguars are now essentially 2 games back of you, right? So they're out. Miami essentially 2 games back of you. There's only 8 games to play. That's a huge gap to make up for a team who might not lose 2 games the rest of the way. And if they do, it's probably 2, maybe 3, which means
your
have
tiebreaker
to.
lost the Broncos. Doesn't matter. The Lions one doesn't matter.
So you kind of eliminate the 2 teams. Like you eliminate Miami by beating them from beating you for the 1 seed. And I know that it's only a game right now, but it's essentially a 2-game lead because of the tiebreaker. Baltimore falls back. The Browns, Texans, those teams being in the playoffs, this is all great. If the Bills lose this weekend, then it is a, without question, perfect. But I look at the way you do. If you think the Chiefs are flawed, you are right. What I'm here to tell you is no matter how good any team has looked at any particular stage of this NFL season, they are also very flawed. The Ravens are almost an identical team to the Chiefs. They are flawed. The Jags. Trevor Lawrence can't put together a month straight. You saw with Miami. Like, it's just so easy to see all of these. It's not like it used to be where it was the Chiefs, Bills, and Bengals were clearly the three best teams in the AFC, and we had no questions. And it was just like who out of those three was going to emerge. There's a lot of deeply flawed teams, and I'm not sure which team's going to be playing against the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. I know the Chiefs will be in it because they're always in it.
Well, who gets hot? Who gets hot in December? Someone's going to. It's like Jet McKinnon last year. Had all 9 of his touchdowns after December. He was just reliable. Who's going to be that guy for these teams? In the Bills and the Bengals, yeah, that'd be a great game because the Chiefs have that control in front of them because they play both those teams. I don't know if it's going to matter. I don't know that playing the Bills and the Bengals at that point in the season, what the losses will look like in Cincinnati or Buffalo, I don't know if those games will matter. The team that I was most excited about losing was the Ravens because the Chiefs did not play that team. Like, that is one you have to look at the outside, look at it, and they still have the tiebreaker for them because it's a better conference record. But that team, because you don't have a chance to give them a nil. So you keep hoping they keep building those losses.
I mean, I looked at yesterday.
That was the big one, was Baltimore losing.
I think I know the Chargers are a flawed team and that Brandon Staley is the reason why they're flawed. I mean, I get it. I still wouldn't want to face them in the playoffs because of how, Herbert played yesterday, right? I know that someone's going to tie their shoestrings together and they're going to fall on their face. But on the off chance that for the 1 week, they snap it together, I don't think I really want to face that quarterback in the postseason. And Cincinnati losing every loss of theirs because of the way their season started. And they were 5-4 last year and still made it to the AFC title game.
Tough schedule.
But every loss, they got the Ravens on Thursday on the road.
It's a tough schedule, man.
They could slip behind Buffalo, the Colts, based on their AFC record. If they lose, they will be behind. If they lose this Thursday and the Bills win tonight, they will then slip behind in the standings. Buffalo, the Raiders, and the Colts. So they're going to have to jump, in the final 8 weeks, they're going to jump 4 teams. They would be 0-4 in the AFC or 0-5 in the AFC.
Somebody's going to go on a roll. Somebody's going to go on a roll. Out of that group, someone's going to start putting things together.
Are you
and they're
sure?
Gonna be tough
I don't
to
feel
beat.
like that's this year. I feel like
I don't
everyone's
know,
just going to finish 10-7 or 11-12-5.
It always happens. Someone goes on a roll.
Let me ask you
They figure
this.
things out and they go on a roll. Maybe it's Cincinnati, maybe it's Buffalo. Somebody will.
For both of you guys, if you knew, say the Eagles if you knew the Eagles were beating the Chiefs on Monday night, who would you rather win on Thursday, the Ravens or the Bengals?
Bengals.
I'd say Cincinnati just because the Chiefs play them.
Yeah, and you want the edge on the 1 seed.
Because KC gets a shot at them. They have no control over the Ravens.
You'd still be two losses up in the column from Cincinnati.
Right.
And you will get them so you can take care of your own business and you maintain the edge against the Ravens. You would have to be.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs would be more fired up to play Cincinnati than Baltimore.
If the Chiefs, now this is obviously we're working backwards because in this case, we'll know what happened on the Thursday game.
Right.
Before the Monday game. Because if it's if you guaranteed me the Chiefs won,
then
of course. I don't care who wins on Thursday.
Exactly.
It's good for the Chiefs either way.
Right.
Either Cincinnati is 1 loss closer to the 1, and I'd probably still choose Cincinnati because the 1 seed is that valuable. But it's it wouldn't matter because it'd be either the Bengals or serious risk of missing the postseason, the team they've had to face in each of the last AFC championship games. So great to get them off the board. Or the Ravens lose, and now you got a 2-game edge on the loss column on that team too.
That was why I asked you, because I know that we've talked about how the 1 seed is so important, but also, you and Gold have said Cincinnati scares me the most out of almost any of the AFC teams because of what they've been able to do previously and their track record against the Chiefs to this point. Would you rather?
Matchup.
Yeah.
Coming up in about 5 minutes, we're going to play a little sounder in the break. We'll give you a chance to win a prize pack thanks to our friends over at Yingling and Johnny's Tavern. But I did want to address something real quick. Drew, somebody was mentioning that, again, Alex is gone today. So I'm late to the party. Did Cody get some of Cody's Cipino? No, I had nothing to do with this. Alex has been sick since last Monday or Tuesday. He started finally missing part of work on Wednesday. He has not yet resurfaced at work. Alex is sick. He will explain himself, I don't know, at some point when he returns to work. But you told me, so you were gone on Friday.
I was.
Just me and Q on Friday. You were, to my understanding, driving up to Wisconsin to catch a Wisconsin basketball and football game.
Yeah, I was going to double dip.
It's a long drive.
Did you not make it?
No, I made it. I did not make it to the football game, though.
What the hell?
How?
That's why they lost.
See?
They're 11-point favorites, weren't they? 11.5-point favorites? You didn't make it?
So you drove all the way to Wisconsin and missed the football game?
I thought on Twitter you put a picture of being there.
I was there at the basketball game. That was at the Kohl Center.
Drew? What happened?
So we went to the basketball game. It was great. Went to a bar afterwards, and my sister thinks it was food poisoning. I don't know exactly what it was, but I was sick that night and basically all day Saturday.
Alex Gold.
So wait, you were sick. So what do you think? Do you think it was the alcohol?
Alex
Do you think you
Gold.
drank a little too much?
I think it was
I
Alex
don't think
Gold.
it was necessarily too much. It was what I consumed in a series of events that kind of led to it.
Walk us through the drink
So,
order here.
on-
That's going to help us, right, Pink?
So at
It's going to make you sound bad no matter what.
Yeah, no,
if
I
it's
know.
more than 6 or 7 drinks, it's going
It is not more than 6 or 7.
Okay.
I had 2 vodka seltzers at the game, orange flavored. Go to the bar after the game. I have a cranberry vodka Sprite. Then right after, I switched to 2 ciders, and I'm drinking. And I drink within probably 35 minutes. I drank the cranberry vodka Sprite and 2 ciders, and I'm drunk, but I didn't think that I was like this drunk.
Someone's saying it's called a hangover. I can't believe you didn't just battle through.
Well,
were you puking in the toilet in the morning? Because otherwise, I feel like you just got to go to the game sick.
No, yes.
Did
I
everybody
was
else go?
throwing up all day.
Did
on
everybody else
Saturday.
go in the group?
My sister and I were going to go. My mom happened to be there. Just a random occurrence. She was visiting my uncle who lives there, and I told my mom, I said, hey, you and Abby go to the game. They did. Froze their butts off. Wisconsin got killed. So I'm not glad that I missed it, but I also am like, you know what? The better of the 2 games was the basketball game, and I went to that one. So, but yeah, I felt terrible, absolutely terrible on Saturday. And I don't, because my sister was like, I don't think it's a hangover because I was legitimately sick for like 24 hours. Like
That doesn't sound like I've never had. I mean, I've had some bad hangovers.
Like the basketball game got done at 10:30. I got back and I was sick like immediately. Like when we got back, I was sick.
You know the difference between food poisoning and a hangover.
Do you think Alex Gold had anything to do with the sickness?
I don't think
You
Gold
got
had
something?
anything.
You sure? We could blame him. He could have ruined your trip by staying too long on Wednesday.
We could blame. We could blame him, but
I don't know if
I
he
don't.
was ever thrown up.
Yeah, I don't think he was either. And I don't know if I ate anything that was bad because we ate as a group and nobody else got sick. So I think maybe my body just couldn't hang the
but Alex
drink to this to that, and it was too much sweet.
I'll say this: Alex and I, when we were in Phoenix for the Super Bowl, we ate at the same restaurant, and he definitively got food poisoning. We think.
Really?
And we all ate at the same place.
But
and
did you eat the same like
No,
a
we had
similar
different
thing?
dishes.
Okay.
He got like a chicken sandwich, and the rest of us went something else. I don't remember what.
That's what happened.
Matter of fact, 2 of us shared some nachos and a different thing, and we're fine. And he was sick for 2 days. I don't know if you're gonna get sick that night unless you are really getting after it.
See
you know if you were drunk, sick, puking so bad.
Well, part
in
of
the
the
same
reason
night.
part of the reason I think it's food poisoning is that I've had more than 5 drinks in a period of time, and I've been fine. But it's been the same drink.
It's like a Tuesday for me.
I didn't go back and forth with cider and vodka, and then cider, and then I didn't do that. I was one drink.
He drove all the way up to Wisconsin and still missed the football game. Have you ever been to a Wisconsin football game?
No.
Did you enjoy cheese at least?
So my brother and I have yet to go to a Wisconsin football game, which maybe we'll wait until they actually get better because they are not good this year, and then we can go. The basketball game was incredible, sold out crowd, as good as it could be. That was great. I'm glad that I got to make that. Of all the games that I made it to, I would have rather been to the basketball game than the football game anyways.
To finally get to see the team you cheered for your entire
But yeah,
youth,
that
and then
was
you still missed the game.
That is that wasn't how I was expecting to spend the week. I'm glad though that I felt it was a 24-hour thing because I woke up yesterday having to drive 7.5 hours back here and I felt okay. So thankfully, I'm good to go.
Sounds like food poisoning takes 48 hours to take effect. They said you just drank too much.
Sounds like a hangover, yeah.
I mean, maybe
Alex Gold gave
Drew,
you
you
a
could
buck.
hang in Madtown, man.
Could hang in a college town anymore.
Yeah,
You're on your upper
man.
20s now. Those times have come and gone. They get us all, Bink. Eventually,
It was real. It was tough. It was tough. But overall, good experience and all that stuff. And I wouldn't say that I wouldn't redo it. I think it was great. First time I've ever thrown up before after drinking though in my life. So that was not fun.
That'd not be a first time for me. Next up, we'll talk about Andy Reid and his play calling and what might be affecting you. But if you listen during this break for a sounder, Drew's got a little bell for you. You can win a prize pack from Yingling. Join Yingling and Johnny's Tavern this November to support Loggers for Heroes. Join Johnny Tavern to give back to local KC vets. Yingling, America's oldest brewery, is proud and thankful for Kansas City service men and women. Go to 610sports.com to learn more. So just listen for that sound on the break. Get a chance to get your prize pack courtesy of Yingling and Johnny's Tavern. When we come back, Andy Reid's been doing some of the play calling, and I know why.
There's Kelsey to the end zone.
Cody and Gold brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com. Don't miss the Chiefs Red Half Hour every day at 11:30 on your official broadcast partner of the Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
As the weather gets colder, the NFL offers stay hot on FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action than now. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options that include the spreads, player props, over-under, and so much more. So visit FanDuel.com/610Bob and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL and 610 Sports Radio. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 pregame moneyline wager required. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Get ready, Kansas City. It's Medicare annual enrollment period. So why not make enrolling easier with United Healthcare? Whether you choose our online tools or over-the-phone support, United Healthcare will help you compare options so you can choose a plan with confidence. This is Medicare made for Kansas City. Trusted everywhere. Explore our wide range of plans by calling United Healthcare today at 1-855-MEET-UHC. That's 1-855-MEET-UHC. Annual enrollment begins October 15th and ends December 7th, so call today.
Get the home field advantage every time with Fairfield by Marriott, official hotel partner of the NCAA. Whether you're a student athlete working toward your championship dreams or your team's biggest fan, Fairfield by Marriott has everything you need to get ready for game day. From comfortable guest rooms to complimentary hot breakfast. Fairfield is part of the Marriott Bonvoy portfolio of hotels and official hotel partner of the NCAA. Visit fairfield.marriott.com to book your next game day stay.
Hi, this is Scott Trout of Cordell and Cordell. If you're a dad who is facing divorce, there are extra layers of stress that may include stereotypes and assumptions. No two situations are the same. Our legal experience and dedication prepare us for whatever legal challenges we face together. You need a partner you can count on. For more than 30 years, Cordell & Cordell has represented men in divorce.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Missouri or Kansas attorneys. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision. It should not be based solely upon advertisements. CordellCordell.com.
It's touchdown Kansas City when you sell your home to RexBuysKC.com. I am Mitch Holtis, voice of the Chiefs, and no company pays more than Rex, with instant cash offers and your money in as little as 7 days.
That's right, Mitch. I'm Rex, owner of RexBuysKC.com, your locally owned home buyer. We'll buy any house regardless of condition. Distressed or damaged homes, it doesn't matter. Call us now at 816-330-6000 for the best offer and instant cash.
Score a touchdown, Kansas City with Rex, and get a fair, honest deal. Facing divorce, bankruptcy, thousands in repair bills, needing to move fast, being foreclosed, or just wanting cash fast? Then contact Rex now to get your money in as little as 7 days.
We help homeowners solve their problems with options on how they can sell their home. We have no fees, no closing costs, no commissions, no open houses. We buy your house as is.
Sell your home today, worry and hassle-free, no matter what the condition, and get your money in as little as 7 days.
Call us right now at 816-330-6000 or go online to rexbuyskc.com and let us buy your home today.
Tailgate season is turkey season. Score a touchdown with U.S. soy-fed turkey. Versatile, tasty, and truly different. Turkey can be used for succulent sliders, killer kebabs, championship chili, or even brilliant burn-ins. Explore all the recipes at tailgatewithturkey.com. And while you're there, register for the ultimate game day tailgate pack with premium prizes like local tabletop griddle, Yeti cooler, portable keg, and more valued at nearly $2,000. You'll be the pride of the parking lot. Turn up your tailgate, KC, at tailgatewithturkey.com.
Before Keller. After Keller.
May I have your attention for an important announcement?
In industrial plants and processing plants, worker safety requires clear communication. Keller Fire and Safety installs and maintains state-of-the-art industrial mass notification systems to cut through the noise without blaring. So when an important announcement or emergency alert is made, employees hear every word clearly. Better call Keller.
Keller Fire and Safety.
KellerFire.com.
We're the Hellsberg Wedding Band, and whoa, look at that ring. Boy, is she fancy dancing with that ring. Everybody checking her dancing with that ring. Disco ball on her finger, dancing with that ring. Honestly, nobody's dancing because they're just staring at that ring. This holiday season, save up to 50% off select engagement rings and wedding bands of the highest quality. Visit a Hellsberg near you or Hellsberg.com and she'll be dancing with that ring.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Max Motors Studios.
Hey, it's Jawan Taylor, and you're listening to the official broadcast partner of the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
KCSP Kansas City, WDAF HD2 Liberty. Always live on the free Odyssey app. What's trending?
All right, let's check in on the hot topics trending.
Number one on what's trending were the upsets this Sunday in the NFL. Another chance for one tonight as the Buffalo Bills take on the Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos have played, I'll give them credit, Bink, they're playing a little bit better football lately. And certainly, I mean, it's not like Buffalo's played perfect football at any stage of the season. They're still just a better team. I have a hard time imagining right now that it isn't eventually a Buffalo Bills win, but we'll see. At least on that end overall, is they've got a chance to do it. But yeah, Cincinnati lost, Ravens lost, Jags lost. Just a perfect weekend for the Chiefs.
It makes sense the Bills lose, too.
It would kind
and
of.
I don't even care if the Broncos beat them, because I don't expect anything from the Broncos.
What can I get on just a Broncos money line? What's the Broncos money line?
I'm actually okay with the Broncos winning that game. I don't know how you feel, but not threatened by them all. The Chiefs are 1-1 against them. That team's not going anywhere, but just get Buffalo out of the picture. And tonight's a good way to do it for the Buffalo Bills, is just have the Broncos finish them off.
The Broncos at plus 275 on the money line. By the way, still 7-point underdogs.
I mean, the Broncos are 3-5, so
Gold has got in our office, if you will, spread bet thing. He's got Denver plus 7 tonight to cover.
Denver plus 7.
Wow.
Okay.
So Gold thinks it'll be a tight one.
I actually went with the Jags.
There's a little bit of controversy in the picks thing because we have a firm rule at this station. In our in-house picks contest, you have to have the picks to Steven Spector before he leaves the office on Friday. Carrington Harrison texted the group chat on Saturday.
And he was off Friday.
Trying to get his pick in. And nobody would let him. And he's like, I don't understand. It's the same difference. So, no deal. Carrington did not get his pick in. He took the loss. It's one rule. We have literally one rule.
It helps us all out because Kling missed his pick as well. It helps us out.
I don't care.
Also, what's trending, Mississippi State has fired head coach Zach Arnett.
He just got that job.
Yeah, he did.
But I mean, under terrible
for Mike Leach. He was the defensive coordinator there. He's been at a couple years before he's at San Diego. He's only been two places, San Diego State and Mississippi State. But what bad luck for that game with A&M and Mississippi State, because both coaches are run.
There's at least one report that says, obviously, they'll probably reach out to Lance Leipold, is Mississippi State. I know we didn't talk about this last week.
You're going to hear that name, Klieman as well. You're going to hear it everywhere.
And eventually, you'll probably start hearing Drinkowitz depending on what he does at Missouri if they continue to have success. But that's just the way that it goes. Also, this is not anything against Leipold or anything like that. Just never believe a college coach who says they're never leaving their job. They've all said that. They've all said that before they left their job, okay? They all say that before they eventually leave the job. That's just the way it works. Next up on What's Trending, all eyes on Cincinnati, as we've yet to get an updated total, or an update on the...
We do.
Oh, okay, I apologize.
Ian Rappaport said Trey Hendrickson hyperextended his knee.
Oh, that's a massive injury for them.
It was a freak play at the very end.
Look, if you didn't for some reason see the Cincinnati game, no big deal. Right at the end, the Texans player just loses his footing. He, for no reason, inexplainably, falls
deal.
Slightly, and then he trips into his knee, hyperextends it, of course. That is a massive injury, by the way, for Trey Hendrickson and for Cincinnati, who had a pretty good defensive run there for a while because he is a superstar. It's a much bigger deal when he's not on their defense, Drew. You saw it yesterday against the Texans.
Easily the sack leader. He is
8.5 this year?
Not a season ender, but he is going to miss some time, a few weeks, could be. Plus, they didn't have Sam Hubbard yesterday either.
What's better than ACL?
Yeah, given the circumstances, though, I would take, obviously, you don't want him to get hurt at all because they're in must-win games now, and they're without their best pass rusher. It makes it really difficult for them going forward. Yeah, the Bengals, Cody, they could be without Trey Hendrickson, Sam Hubbard, 2 leading pass rushers, and T. Higgins maybe on Thursday, too.
They said they're still hoping it's a short-term thing, but they're awaiting MRI results to determine the length of time Trey Hendrickson will be out.
Not good whatsoever. Oh, we have a Jason Bean update. Lance Leipold says he's optimistic he can play Saturday, which Daniel's just out of the
He tried to come back in on Saturday,
but
it was pretty clear he
did.
right.
It was a head injury. Tried to get back in. They need him. Would this be start number 6 for Jason? This is his team at this point. Might as well look at it like that. But Lance Leipold says he's optimistic he can play, and that's going to be a fun game, KU and K-State. He needs to play because this game has a lot of storylines. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, this is the best these two teams have been at the same time in a while, which means the same thing. We're always rooting for at least one of their 2 good quarterbacks to play for Kansas. Lastly, on What's Trending, Adam Schefter earlier today said at the trade deadline, because now the Broncos are obviously playing quite a bit better, there were 3 made offers to the Denver Broncos for Patrick Surtain II. Denver never consorted dealing him, according to team sources. The organization believes he might be one of the most talented quarterbacks they've ever been around. But I'm not surprised. One report over the weekend was that the 49ers are one of the teams trying really hard for both the kid from Chicago and for Patrick Surtain.
They've tried to get everybody because the defense has not been as good as last year. They're bringing every Randy Gregory, Chase Young.
Yeah,
you have that Ohio State connection and Bosa and Young.
Yeah, what teams do you think reached out?
San Francisco was one. I think Philadelphia was probably on the list because of their need for corner. And I would assume Buffalo. Yeah. I would assume Buffalo would have made at least some kind of offer at that time. That's what's trending here on Cody and Gold. Speaking of the picks thing from the 913, they're claiming, what's funny is Carrington was making fun of Barber for not getting his pick on time, a different time. We have one rule for the in-house picks contest. That's all you need to know about, is that you have to get your pick in by Friday. That's it.
It's not complicated.
I looked at the board on Friday, and I was like, oh, I should check, because we're like, you look out for your brethren.
Yeah.
I saw the board. I was like, oh, I better make sure Alex got his pick in, because he wasn't supposed to be in Friday, but he was sick on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
He was supposed to be on Thursday, but was sick. I could see how the pick would get missed.
Yeah.
So I thought, I better, because Alex isn't feeling good, I should make sure. Saw he had a pick on the board. Alex, who hasn't been at work since like a half day on Wednesday, got his pick in. He's like he's been sick, physically ill the entire time managed.
I was hoping that Rob didn't say anything to Carrington and Bob didn't say anything to Kling, because they were both 7-2 leading the group, and it would have been convenient for all of us to not have picks from him, and we got just that, so it helps us out.
Yeah, I'm not complaining.
We'll take it.
Everybody, if you play in a Survivor League and all those things, some Survivor Leagues have the rule that you have to get it in before the Thursday night game, Bink. Some Survivor Leagues allow you to make that pick on Sunday if you want. Hell, if you got a Monday game left, you could still pick it then. The rules are clearly set in stone.
And I've almost forgot, so rules are rules, though.
Yeah, if I forget, I'm not going to care.
Set a reminder.
Kling took the L like a gentleman. In the group chat, he said, look, man, you got to take the L. That's what I'm doing.
Fantastic.
This is
good for Kling.
He just accepted. He was in Germany, didn't think about it, having a good time, took his L. Carrington had both picks he tried to make in the group chat, won, by the way, which makes it a little funnier. He's like, I want the Cardinals plus the points. And then someone's like, no, you can't do it. You're too late. He's like, I'll do a different bet if you don't want me to take that one. And he's like, I'll take the Raiders plus 1. I would have won too. He's wrong on both. Well, that's it, man. Simple rules. That's all we request across the board. Get your picks in. Don't you worry about our in-office thing. Right now, Carrington's still in the lead. He'll be fine. I'm like 4-5-1. I've done terrible. There's one thing that stands out to me.
I've had some really bad luck.
I've just been bad. There's one thing that stands out to me about the way they're currently playing, and I think the defense has offered Andy Reid a crutch that he hasn't had in a while. I think the conservative play calling, the ones that really drive me nuts. For an offense that isn't scoring, Andy will still punt when he's got the ball on the plus side of the field in a short yardage situation. Andy will be inside the 5 with a yard to go and will kick a field goal. All the conservative nature of this, and I think it's been made worse for Andy this year because of the defense. I think he knows he can trust the defense, and Andy genuinely loves it. This is why he likes handing the job off. He allows the defensive coordinator, when they're doing a good job, to be the defensive head coach. He won't even get in your way. He'll stay out of your way, but it affects the way he calls the games on offense. I think there's been more conservative play calling. They don't go down the field, Bink. They try to go 12 yards of play. I know some of this is wide receiver, but I think there's been conservative play calling this year, and I think it's because of the defense.
Yeah, and it doesn't really bother you when you miss those 3rd and 1s. They don't quite sting just as bad because you put Tommy Townsend out there and you try to pin the team back and you play the field position game.
The special teams thing hurts him too. He knows it's a guaranteed 3 if he lets Butker kick it.
But I'm with you because it seems like, all right, when you're pressing things and it's 4th and 3 and you still got Mahomes back there, quarterback, you go ahead and go for it. I just hope this bye week provides a little more than that. I mean, I'd like to see him get that
creative juice flowing again.
You know what? Because if you miss it, you still get your defense out there to try to stop them, in better field position to do it. So you might as well go ahead and do it. Your best.
But they're 7-2. He knows he can win this way. They're scoring 23 points or less in 80% of their games, and they're still. I think until it costs them a game.
Yeah.
Like the defense doesn't show one because the defense hasn't had a no-show yet. That's the other thing. There's some really good defenses in the NFL. Ravens are a really good defense. There's some really good defenses in the NFL. The Chiefs is the only one.
He sees one every day.
The Chiefs is the only one who hasn't no-showed. It's the only one who just hasn't had a week where you're like, what the hell happened? Not once.
It's a good combination between Mahomes and the defense. It's a perfect combo. I hope that he's used this bye week and you think 3rd and 1. Like that's one area you really like to see the Chiefs clean up the second half of the season. 100%. Keep the drives moving, keep them going because they were number 1 on 3rd down. Then they slipped about 3rd, but they were number 1 on 3rd down. But when we break it down and it's 3rd and 1, no. 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, yes. But as a whole, 3rd down, they were number 1. But figure out something on 3rd and 1. Figure out a way to pick up that 1st down. And I have no problem being more aggressive on play calls because of the defense still coming out there. But you just got to eliminate some stuff. There was a play that happened in Germany. It drives me nuts. Still to this day.
Is it the 2nd and 10 LaMichael Pirine run? Because I'm still thinking about that one.
It was
I can't believe it's the same play. No, I hated that call.
No, it was.
So
it drove me nuts. You know why?
What are you doing?
That was a fumble waiting to happen.
It was also
because he was coming in cold. He ended up getting 4 snaps that game, but
it was a surrender play, dude. It was just it was the most give up on this drive play ever.
But he was so cold. 10 runs you put him in there and he's cold.
I hated it.
Oh, I was going nuts because I saw fumble in the future of that one.
I hated that call. I can't believe you could have named so many calls over the last 2 weeks. That some stupid 2nd and 10 run with Pirine is the one that
because it was a crucial drive, and all of a sudden you had Pirine coming in there cold.
Look, I think the truth,
it was unexpected.
What's weird is what I want to tell Andy. Like, if he just let me sit in a room and explain my philosophy behind this, and I'm never trying to claim I'm a better football mind than Andy or any of these things. But let's admit that they can screw it up. Did you hear the Penn State coach? That dumb over the week and try to make it seem like we're the idiots because he went for 2, down 9, with 4 minutes left to go in a game.
Way too much time.
You can't. You had not enough time left in the game. That if you miss that, the game's over. If you just kick the field goal, kick the extra point, you're still alive.
And he went firing everybody after that.
He got so mad at the reporter. The reporter was out here trying to call him out on it. I wish maybe. Did you
see all the firings he did after that?
Yes.
OC gone.
Yeah.
It was his fault. He was the reason why they're here. Here's James Franklin.
I'm a little bit surprised to fire your coordinator.
On the decision to go for it here, which just doesn't make any sense.
I don't understand the logic there. You're making an 8-point game. You keep your team alive. Okay, you don't agree with it. I'm just telling you that's the decision.
I didn't think the answer had anything to do with the second one. The first one I understand.
Yeah, we're trying to get back. We're trying to get points. We felt like points were going to be hard to come by. We wanted to get it back.
Well, there's 2.5 minutes left in the
All right,
game.
Dave, Audrey.
Dave, I've answered your question.
I don't think you did.
Idiot. Football players can make bad decisions. He's a much better football mind than me. Idiotic decision. Did not understand how the points work. He got confused by 9 versus 8 and got confused and made a bad decision. I think what happens, what's frustrating about the Chiefs, I'm dead serious, is that if Andy would hear me out, you actually should be more aggressive than you've ever been because of the defense. You're doing it the opposite way. Your defense can save your ass so much. You should and your offense is struggling. You should put your foot to the damn pedal for points. Because for the times you get it right, as good as your defense is, it's over. The game's over. You win it, it's done. And if you screw up, your defense can save you still. Just like they're saving you when you're just settling for these 3-point plays or punts when you could go for it. Trust your defense and be the opposite. Be aggressive instead.
Just build the lead of 2 touchdowns, which is tough to do because Chiefs have 1. You're like,
yeah, like Miami.
Here they're going down here. They're going to go up by 2 scores. And you keep waiting for that. You just keep waiting.
Yeah,
or they get the ball first in the second half. You're like, all right, just put a touchdown. But you can't think that way because they don't do it. So you wait. Good defense. You're up by 2 scores and run the football. Fine. And they're struggling running the football.
They are.
And they shouldn't be because you're never seeing an Amy in front. Ever.
No, but everyone is inside of 20 yards. Or, well, I guess not because I don't.
But they've had a ton of long, methodical drives.
I like the way Pacheco runs. I still think that there's a run game there to be had.
Well, you know what? He went
nobody respects it.
He went into this weekend as the 8th leading rusher in the NFL. That's one of those like Sam Hell type, whoa.
Yeah, I know.
Look at it things. But he was the 8th leading rusher going in this weekend.
So what you want, Cody, is just once for there to be a 35-14 victory for the Chiefs where they just go and the offense the game's not close at all. They go and they handle it on defense and they destroy the opponent as much as they can. Mahomes throws for 350 or whatever, and it looks great.
I think the way that they're calling, the way they're calling these games, he's not calling it like that's even plausible. He'll just take the 24-17.
He's calling it conservative,
and he's winning. So it's hard for him to be like, oh, I should probably reverse engineer that. And you're like, you have and teams aren't aggressive against you anymore. Like for years and years and years. Teams were hyper-aggressive against Kansas City, right? They kept pushing the envelope because they knew they were going to have to get to 35. You can flip that on them because you can put them so far back on their heels if you get it right. And I still believe in Andy's a play caller and all these things that it would make sense to do that. And I feel like because he knows the defense is good, he's taking it the way I wouldn't.
As long as they come out hot and they get ahead, then everything's fine.
He knows he can just ride it out.
Yeah.
He can look. I don't trust this team down 10 right now, which is weird because I would have trusted this team more than any team in NFL history down 10.
Which to me makes
for the last 5
scarier
years.
Once they're down.
Yeah,
makes them 100% scarier.
For the longest time, it did.
They've been so good on the scripted plays and everything, but if they're down and they come back, they feel that need to come back and press the playbook and not rest on our laurels so much like we've seen them do. They build up 7-point lead or 10-point lead, and then all of a sudden it starts to evaporate because the foot is not on the gas. And that's one of the things that's coming on is the foot is off the gas. You want to see them revert to that regressive side once again.
There's another play that we could be talking about because both in college football that you noticed, Bink, and I in the NFL, I'm once again calling for a request to implement the quarterback sneak. Yeah, I know. You can just be like, come on, man, let it go. Let it die. But I saw something in the Cardinals game that made me feel like we should re-engineer it again. Clayton Tune, Kyler Murray's backup quarterback, came in on a 3rd and goal bank from the half-inch yard line to run a QB sneak, which again makes me wonder, why aren't we just doing fine?
I don't know why.
I'll give up on Mahomes.
I don't know why Blake Bell can't do it. He's the belldozer from Oklahoma. This is what he does.
But can't he just be a backup quarterback? He's 6'5", 230 pounds.
But this is what he does. It's definitely not doing it on 4th and 2 with Winchester in front blocking instead of Creed Humphrey. Mahomes in camp.
Probably because my kneecap was on the side of my leg. I think we were doing pretty good until that. We were good. We were really good at it until last year. I mean, last year we didn't do very well at it, so we didn't get the one in that first one the preseason. So we've went back and kind of evaluated it, and hopefully by the time season comes around, we can get back to converting those.
Any discussion with Andy about putting that quarterback sneak back in the?
I always want to, because I always say that I haven't got stopped yet, but because even the one that my knee I got hurt on, I still got the first down. But I'm pretty sure he's not going to let me do it unless it's like for the Super Bowl, so I might have to call my own number in the Super Bowl if we get there.
Go ahead and do it,
please. In the playoffs, fine.
I always thought Bell would be perfect at these.
Are you sure it didn't?
He's the Belldozer, man.
I know.
This is what he does. This is what he does.
Gabbert's 6'5". Look, he's listed at 6'5", 235.
But then you're here's the thing, though. Here's the way to look at it. You're conceding that you're doing that, but you're kind of conceding you're doing that when you're in the tush-push lineup. Everybody knows. Like the Eagles, when they do that, we know what they're doing.
But with Gabbert, yes, for the first 9 times in a row,
you know what they're doing.
He runs forward for the yard, and there's still nothing you can do about it if you're playing Gabbert. And then for the 10th time, you hard pitch. Guess who can probably throw a pitch? Blaine Gabbert. Okay? We can occasionally throw the audible in their face because Philly's going to start doing that more too. You said in the college game we're starting to see the tush pitch.
We saw last weekend, not this weekend, the weekend before, we saw 3 different instances where teams were like, all right, let's screw with people. Texas did it for a 54-yard touchdown against K-State. Yeah. C.J. Baxter, boom, 54 yards, unabated to the end zone. Rutgers did the old fumblerooski to try to be creative on 1 yard. Alabama lined up for the tush push, and instead of going right up the middle, Jalen Milroe just sneaks out to the outside and right into the end zone. But you have to be willing to show both. You have to show, like if Philadelphia came into it and Kansas City sells out, and everybody lines up in between the tackles to try to stop it, and then they pitch it out and score a touchdown. Now they have that in their arsenal, and that'd be very smart for them to do.
Do you still like the wing tee idea?
Yes. Yes, give me the wing tee.
No one wants a wing tee.
Last week, Big said he wants the wing tee or the Air Force triple option.
Maryland I
in the
wing
NFL.
tee. Hey, more and more college teams are even doing the wing tee. They're bringing things back for 3rd and 1.
Pass.
Maryland I.
I'm a pass.
Why would you try anything, though? I mean, as creative as the Chiefs are with the Rose Bowl parade
they don't have to. They could just
with the
run
ring
up the
around
middle.
the Rosie play. They're creative in what they do. Why not bring?
You're done with the trick plays.
I've made it very clear what I want. I want for 10 consecutive plays to be runs to the left or the right, up the middle. Not even off tackle, up the middle, just directly at the defensive line. That's what I want. 10 straight times. And if it's successful 7 times out of 10, then you just have to keep doing it.
Give me the Maryland I, quarterback, fullback, halfback, and let them guess which side you're going.
Oh, God. Well, I don't know. I mean, I'll try anything at short yard.
It's like a pro set, but you get everybody in an eye.
I'm not begging for it, but
you
I
have
can't
4
argue
guys
about
in a
it.
row. And you don't know who's going to take it.
When we come back, take a quick early break. That way we can get you Andy Reid. Only place you can hear Andy Reid is at your official broadcast part of the Kansas City Chiefs 610 Sports Radio. We'll hear from him next after their bye week.
Cody and Gold, brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com. Tune in to hear Andy Reid every Monday at noon, exclusively on your official broadcast partner of the Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue KC. Live healthy with Blue KC.
Butter is only $2.98 at Hy-Vee. That's not a sale price. That's the price with the Hy-Vee Perks membership. And $2.98 is not just the price today or this week. It's the Perks price every day. With the Hy-Vee Perks membership, you can save on hundreds of products store-wide every time you shop. And count on Perks prices to stay the same. So if you want to pay less for butter every day, sign up for Hy-Vee Perks. It's free and easy. Some restrictions apply.
Hey, it's Kling. If there's one thing we know about this time of the year is that we love to tailgate, whether it's in the parking lot or at home, your one-stop shop should be Hy-Vee for all your party needs. Huge selection of official Chiefs gear, paper goods, and party supplies. Don't forget those Chiefs-themed cookies from the bakery. Take and bake pizzas, buffalo wings, grill-ready favorites, appetizer and party trays, chips and homemade dips like the buffalo chicken with the red and gold tortilla chips. And the Hy-Vee Wine and Spirits Department has your game day beverages. Elevate your home gate at Hy-Vee, the official grocery sponsor of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at BlueKC.com.
Hey guys, Beat Up here from Fesco in the Morning. Back in June, I had to make a life-changing decision. My health was absolutely horrible. High blood pressure, on blood thinners, weighing 444 pounds. Made a life-changing call to Slim for Life. Hooked up with my girl Leanne at the 119th and Metcalf location. Her and her crew have put together a plan for me, and it is working to perfection. Now down over 82 pounds in just a couple months. That's right, 82 pounds. So if you got that extra weight that you need to take off, the diet and exercise just don't seem to be working, well, Slim for Life works. And when you tell them that you heard it from Beat Up and 610 Sports Radio, you could start today and lose up to 20 pounds for only $20. With the option to add semaglutide medications to your plan for only $99 the first 4 weeks. When you schedule that free consultation, you could win tickets to see our defending Super Bowl champions play on November 20th. Call 833-SLIM today. That's 833-754-6863. Or you can hit them online at slim4life.com. All services included, exclusive of products. So what are you waiting for? Make the call. Be Slim for Life. Tell them Beat Up sent you.
We have James and Josiah from American Topsoil. Guys, what month is best for planting new grass?
Any month that ends in R. Laying down fresh soil before seeding is the best way to get ahead of the game. Our rich topsoil is great for leveling yards, and our pulverized soil creates a perfect seed bed for new grass.
So how do I know how much soil I need?
Our Power Wheelbarrow service assures that our customers are getting the exact amount of soil they need, exactly where they need it, and that's all they'll pay for.
How can I set up my delivery with American Topsoil?
Visit AmericanTopsoil.com or give us a call at 913-888-SOIL.
American Topsoil, family owned and operated with more than 30 years, delivering great topsoil with their hassle-free Power Wheelbarrow service. Call 913-888-SOIL. That's 913-888-SOIL. Or online at AmericanTopsoil.com. Great topsoil, great service, American Topsoil.
Looking for an easy way to get more protein? Try delicious Ensure Max protein shakes. They have 30 grams of protein, 1 gram of sugar, and 150 calories. And they come in 7 flavors so tasty, you won't believe there are 30 grams of protein and 1 gram of sugar. No, really, it's true. These shakes have 30 grams of protein, 1 gram of sugar, and flavor that's that good. Get a $3 coupon at Ensure.com/instant coupon. Delicious Ensure Max protein, 30 grams of protein, 1 gram of sugar.
Inside the Huddle with Cody and Gold, each day from noon until 1 on 610 Sports Radio. Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue KC. Live healthy with Blue KC on the official radio partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. 610 Sports Radio.
It's easy to think all money managers are pretty much the same. But at Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
Different? How? You sell high commission investment products, right?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission-based investment products.
Well, you must earn commissions on trades.
Nope, never at Fisher. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in our client's best interest. It's the highest standard of care for a financial advisor.
How do you know what's in their best interest?
We get to know our clients and then tailor a portfolio based on their goals and needs.
But you probably sneak in some hidden and layered fees.
No, we have one transparent management fee, structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, you really do look out for your clients.
That's because our top priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. It might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investments and securities involve the risk of loss.
Oh, this cold.
Honey?
Honey?
Honey, you need DayQuil Severe Honey.
DayQuil Severe Honey gives you powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a honeylicious taste. Because life doesn't stop for a cold.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
Now I'm getting a cold.
Honey. Try DayQuil Severe Honey for powerful cold and flu relief. DayQuil Severe with honey flavor. The daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, honeylicious, power through your day medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call now for your free info kit. 800-961-5544. 800-961-5544.
The 610 Sports Radio phone line is brought to you by Onder Law Injury Lawyers. Visit GetJim.com.
Chiefs coverage on 610 Sports Radio is brought to you by Park and Go. Book parkandgo.com.
Tackle your airport parking needs at Park and Go. Always the best service and always the best price at bookparkandgo.com. Open 24/7 and all spots are covered. Reserve your spot today at bookparkandgo.com. Park and Go, family owned and operated.
My life be like, yeah. My life be like,
Back in here on Cody and Gold, 610 Sports Radio, 610sports.com. Awaiting going out to the press conference for Andy Reid coming off of the bye week.
Feels normal.
Get a sense of what he's going to say. What feels normal?
Normalcy.
You're
Reid
right?
talking.
Oh, you
The bye week was just the
bye week kills you, doesn't it, Bank?
It does.
It's just like you can't scratch that. Can't you just like fill your time with like high school football or college football?
Oak Park's still undefeated, by the way. I know you're a proud product of the North Kansas City School District.
Well, I
and
am
you'd
a proud
appreciate
product of the
that.
North Kansas. I went to Winnetonka. Their
I know.
program's no good. But my kids should go to Oak Park
Hey,
unless they
they're
redraw the
undefeated.
lines. So I guess I could have taken them
Let's go
to
Northman.
a future Oak Park
That's
football
right.
game.
Everybody's got their own football stadium now. It's
A friend
much
of
different.
hers, we missed out, but a friend of hers had like the Oak Park cheerleader camp thing where you're going to do a thing at halftime, and my kid wanted to do it, but I missed the sign up. Also, it's expensive. Having kids is how come no one told me how expensive kids would be?
Wait, just wait. You're only halfway through it.
What do you mean, just wait?
Well,
This has got to be the most they are expensive
They
ones.
got to have cars, insurance. At some point, someone's getting married. That costs
I don't have
money.
to pay for that. My parents didn't pay for my weddings.
If you have daughters, yes. I
They
mean,
didn't pay for all the daughters' weddings either. I mean, maybe they chipped in. I don't know. But, I mean, we didn't have that kind of dough.
well, what I'm saying is you're just beginning. I mean, get out of the diaper stage, get to public school, and we're good.
This is why I have to start a business. That's why I am an entrepreneur on this show.
Or just
I
gamble
realize
more.
I'm going,
Raise your parlays.
I realize at some point I'm going to have to be able to raise some more funds in this life. So that's why CNG Pizza, that's why I wanted this. I wanted that Amazon return pallet. For anybody who, by the way, needs an update on that, they talked me down to a box, Pink. I don't know if you heard this. I wanted to buy an entire Amazon return pallet for this show out of our funds, out of our money from the Taylor Swift shirts, in which we promised only 2 drops, but I don't know. I'm feeling like maybe a third with this whole.
Could be on the
Karma
way
is
soon,
a guy
yeah,
on
isn't
the
it?
Chiefs coming straight home to me. The t-shirt drop. Number 3 might be in the cards now, but they talked me down to a box because Gold said he was willing to take that level of risk. Box is currently scheduled to be delivered on Thursday. So Club 610, Amazon, Walmart return
It's the
box.
perfect time to open a box.
You have no
I
idea
guess.
what it
Happening.
is.
Of no idea. We spent $200 on this. We are going to resell it. We have no idea what's in the box. It is a true mystery box. I don't know what's in it. They promise like a certain value, or at least they claim a certain value. I'm sure they all do, but man, who knows? From the 816, if your daughter gets into cheerleading, Cody, you will go bankrupt.
It's like having a kid play Little League Baseball.
Is it that expensive?
Someone says I could just do OnlyFans like teachers do. Do you want like Missouri teachers do? Drew, do you want to know? We're an open, honest show while we're waiting for Andy Reid to talk. Would you like to know what I pay as a monthly payment for my daughter to do competition dance team?
$300
more.
Per month?
Per month.
$500.
It's a little less than $500.
$450.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
That does not always include
Drew,
cost.
kids are expensive, especially baseball.
It's a car payment.
Well, okay, so
You have the tournaments from Iowa and everything else.
Baseball didn't used to be when I played
is
baseball as a kid.
pricey.
It was not terribly expensive.
It's pricey.
I shared a bat with a friend. We didn't all have our own numbered bat bags. That was a rare team exception who actually had those things. We didn't have the money for it's just nuts.
I can only imagine how much my parents are paying because my brother,
of
sister,
money.
and I were all in school sports after school, obviously, and all that stuff. I can only imagine how much they were paying in total for.
Well, once they're in school, it's a lot cheaper.
Yeah, daycare. That's a whole nother thing. Do you know what I pay every month? And this is cheap, by the way. I'm getting off fairly easy. 5 days a week, my kid goes to preschool. He's there from 9:15 to 3. That costs me around $650 a month.
So you're looking at about $1,000 bucks.
By the way, Drew, that's cheap. I'm getting off fairly easy. it wouldn't be surprising to find out people are paying $1,000, $1,200, $1,400.
That makes me not want to have kids.
If you're going to have a kid in Little League Baseball,
it makes you not want to have it.
Forget season tickets, forget a lake house, forget playing golf on the weekend because you're traveling and you're spending gas, you're renting hotels, you're getting food on the road or whatever, and you're going to tournaments. That's your life. It becomes your life. It becomes your existence, Drew.
I didn't think we were getting into this in the time Andy Reid was going to talk, but it was an important thing, Drew.
He's running a bit behind.
Now you and Bree can sit at home tonight, have a conversation about this, and decide.
You thought snakes in your apartment were the problem. Wait till you start paying.
Just wait. Just wait till it gets there. Meantime, while we're waiting for Andy Reid, let's talk a little NFL football. Because, Bink, you asked me a question before the show, which was, do we have to pay attention to the Texans now that C.J. Stroud is playing well? Are we allowed to just kind of be like, oh, that's cute. I'm glad C.J. Stroud is good. I'll worry about you later, right? Can we postpone worrying about the Texans, or are you worried about them now?
Do you put them in the circle? Because you know
hold
what?
On, sorry. I asked that question, then immediately Andy Reid's at the podium. Let's go down and hear from Andy Reid after the bye.
Yep, we're ready whenever you are.
Okay. Well, today we didn't do much. We just went out and kind of got ourselves moving around a little bit. It's an extra day, so but it was good to get back out there, and everybody had a chance to work, and so that was a positive. So with that, time's yours.
Go first to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Hey, Coach. Welcome back. My question's on Kadarius Toney. It seemed like his usage sort of tapered off there, those last few games. Was that a maintenance game planning, and just generally, what's your outlook for Kadarius in the second half here?
Yeah, we'll just keep coming with him. I just want to remind everybody that he did have the knee surgery, so we're taking it easy with him up to this point, and so just making sure he can make it through the year and in good health.
Let's go next to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hello, Coach. I have two questions for you. The first is just what do you feel like has impressed you most defensively when it comes to Mike Dana and George Karlaftis? And Brad, I'll have a second.
Yeah, two young guys and that are really playing good, solid football. And they're one thing you're going to get with them, Nate, is 110% every snap. There's no plays off with those two, and that's and they're both smart kids, so they know the defense and what they can get away with and what they can't.
And then, secondly, Andy, when you look back at how the offensive line has played over the course of the first 9 games, I guess what is the most positive sign, and what is something that maybe you've pinpointed that the 5 guys can improve upon?
Yeah, so I think we're doing a pretty good job with the run game, and for the most part with the pass game. We've got to eliminate the penalties. I mean, that's the main thing. So we take care of that. We'll be fine.
Let's go next to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Andy. You're winning games. I know as long as you're winning games, you don't really care what those look like. But I was just wondering whether winning games in a different style has required an adjustment on your part or Pat's part or really anyone's part. And Brad, I'll have a second question as well.
Yeah, I would say you adjust every week you adjust, and you adjust every year. So there are certain things that we're still working through and learning, and that'll continue, I'm sure, throughout the year. These young guys are getting better every week, which is a plus. And we got to keep that rolling. We've had a couple of drops. We got to keep working through that and making sure that we stay strong through the ball. But other than that, we're third in the National Football League in throwing, so that's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. And I know it's only been a half season, but is there any gratification for you so far, maybe winning in a different way than what you've done in the past?
Well, we're probably between the run game and the pass game, maybe maybe more rounded, but I'm not sure about that either. Numbers are, about the same if you take percentages. from what we've been doing. But I like some of the things I'm seeing. But again, there's some things we need to work on. I would tell you the penalties are probably the biggest thing right now. We just got to take care of business with that.
Go next to Vahe. Go ahead, Vahe.
Hey, Andy. I realize this is a little bit far afield, but I wonder if when you guys went to the Super Bowl for the first time with the Chiefs, did you have any sense of the fact that you were largely a sentimental favorite? You personally, did you have any sense of that, or were you insulated from it? And I have a follow-up to that, Brad.
Yeah, listen, I'm insulated from it, but if that were the case, it's probably because I'm old, and hadn't won one, but or been on, been a head coach who won one.
Well, the reason I ask is sort of the flip side of that. By now, do you have any sense that even in the off season that there's a notion that, well, you've had your time, the Chiefs have gotten plenty, and people are ready to see a changing of the guard? Does that thought ever come to you through other people, or they wouldn't say that to you?
Yeah, listen, I'm in this office. I mean, you know how I do it. So, I mean, I'm in this office more than I am out of the office. So I'm not feeling a whole lot of that, of that either way. So, I mean, I'm kind of tunneled in on trying to make sure that we play well, against the Eagles right now. So.
Thanks.
Yep.
Let's go next to Seren Petro. Go ahead, Seren.
Brad, I'll have a follow-up as well, too, if I could. Coach, I'm just curious, when you see the, brotherly shove, the tush push, whatever you call it, what kind of time do you think they're spending? Obviously I know reps, it's been said, that's the most valuable thing you got in practice. You can't be an expert at everything. When you look at that as a coach, do you are you impressed? Do you look at it and say, my God, that must be 20, 30 minutes every practice? Is it, what's your reaction when you see how efficient they are with that?
Yeah, that's a tough one to practice, just because you almost have to do it live. So I don't think they're spending a ton of time on it. I just think they're good at it. I mean, they've their inside three do a pretty good job with it, and they've kind of made that. I think they've grown with it over time here, and that's what I see.
Okay. And then, listen, I'm sure, again, I know you just said you're isolated kind of in there in the room, but you hear the conversations that go on with Taylor Swift being a fan of your team and her relationship with Travis Kelce. People from other towns call us Kansas City fans and media. Do coaches call you? And is that a phenomenon? I know you talk with a lot of guys around there. Does that come up? And anybody asking you for, get them an autograph or some tickets or anything?
Yeah, no, nobody's really mentioned much on that. It is what it is, and I'm just glad he's found somebody he likes and she's found somebody she likes, and that's a good thing. So
let's go next to Matt Derrick. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Coach, in the past, you've said that the bye week is, the benefit is it gives you extra time to dig in and kind of see if there's things that you're missing. And, when you've said, rely on Mike Frazier to tell you a lot of things. I know you're not going to tell me what you learned this week, but how do you feel about what you kind of saw about your team and implementing maybe some things that you want to do differently going forward?
Yeah, so I think, Matt, that there's plenty of things we can work on. And, it's all great what the record is and that, but the main thing that we don't care about that. We care about improving on all three phases, and there's room to do that. And Frazier does a great job with keeping us abreast after every game, and then you have a little bit more time to kind of work on some things and look through them, maybe at a little slower pace, but I would tell you, yes, there's things that we can get better at. I tell you that every year, though, Matt. But we've got to keep cranking and working in that area, just getting better.
Looks like we got two more. We'll go Jesse and then Nick. Go ahead, Jesse.
Hey, Andy, I just wanted to follow up on Kadarius. You talked about having him for late in the season. What's the balance there between trying to get him on the field now and having a productive player, and then obviously having him for the most important games coming up?
Yeah, no, I think. Listen, he played 7 plays last week, and so we can play him more than that, and still be okay. I mean, and then we just keep an eye on his leg and make sure that we're repping that out the right way and let him keep progressing as we go here throughout the year. I mean, that's the important part.
We'll ask to Nick Jacobs. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, Andy, I know Germany's kind of in the rearview mirror, but what do you hope the team takes away from that performance and going against an offense of that caliber and defense to help them propel them in the second half?
Yeah, they're a good football team, and so you want to keep that part going. You want to win games. I mean, that's what you're trying to do. At the same time, you want to get better as you go. And so coming out of that game, we met right after we landed here, and there were things that we could work on. We were all able to look at the tape as coaches on the plane, right? So there are things there that we've got to get better at, and but yet at the same time, continue to play with that aggressiveness and that attitude.
Coach, we appreciate the time. Thanks for joining.
All right, that's head coach Andy Reid live from the podium here following the bye week. Again, the only place you can hear that live right here, 610 Sports Radio. Your broadcast partner, the Chiefs. Obviously, the most interesting thing out of that is Andy Reid pretty much straight up admitted that they have been limiting Kadarius Toney due to his offseason knee surgery in an attempt to keep him healthy for 17 games in a row. But then also said something you kind of want to hear, Bink, for a wide receiver group that's underperformed, which is we got him out there for 7 snaps last game. We can certainly use him more than that and be okay. Because I had asked Pete Sweeney earlier this year, and I credit him for asking a question because I'd asked him earlier this year. I said, hey, Pete, can you explain to me what happened from the way they were talking about Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore being like legit wide receivers to where they are now? And he said Toney's he could pretty much simply explain by the second he got hurt returning that punt in the offseason was the second his expectation in the Chiefs' eyes changed and the way they used him changed. Maybe there is still some hidden potential in the wide receiver group if Kadarius Toney can just simply get on the field more in the Chiefs' eyes.
I know they were counting on him to be the number one. I mean, when you start hearing some of those things, certainly I believe he's got the talent for that, but we haven't seen the production from Kadarius Toney on that. I will say this. He shows me 2 things. If you say the one, all right, when he does make the catch, and obviously the Lions game was not a good example, and he played like a guy that missed training camp.
Yeah.
In that you're playing against the Lions, one of the best teams in the NFC. It looked bad. But we know the talent's there because they'll sit here on the postgame show. And I remember last year, he would make these plays. Even though the production wasn't great, I mean, the numbers weren't that good, he would make plays, Cody, and I haven't seen that for the longest time. I kind of liken it to, Raul Mondesi.
Yeah.
He would make these spectacular plays.
Yeah, he
that you
just
don't see
looked like
guys
he's
make.
a better athlete than most of the people on the field.
But he's staying consistent being on the field. But he'd make these plays. It's like, whoa. And then we saw a couple weeks ago where guys are getting hit. The Chiefs were, feeding him the ball, and he was getting hit left and right, but still standing and not fumbling. It's like, all right, get that part over. But if you're sandbagging the situation, I don't believe he can have the effect that Jerick McKinnon had last year when he had the 9 touchdowns after December. Can he be more serviceable? I think so. I'm counting more on Rashee Rice the second half of the season than Kadarius Toney. But if he can sprinkle him in, and I think we have to give up on the fact that he'll never be a number 1 wide receiver, in my opinion, but serviceable player that can come in and give you what you need as long as you can prove that you can catch it. Because you got to convince your quarterback to trust Kadarius Toney. And I don't know, as a fan watching it, I get nervous when the ball's thrown to him. Like, hang on to it. Are you going to hang on to it? Are you going to make the first down? But more importantly, can you still hang on to the football? So there's a little bit of nervousness with Toney getting the ball.
I know, but like this, I'll be honest, it's one of the few complaints I've probably had over the years with Andy. I don't really like how they handle injuries because, and like this, look, this goes all the way back, man. This goes back to like Justin Houston and stuff. I mean, this is years worth of me being like, what are you talking about? Because if your fear was, if you're the Chiefs and you've let off the gas this entire season with Kadarius Toney because of your fear over the knee surgery and the recovering from it and making sure, I think as Andy said like a week or two ago, stack games and those conversations that come with it. Why? He's had no impact on your winning. Zero. Kadarius Toney is responsible probably for a single loss. He's definitely probably the reason you lost that Detroit game more than any other. But I can't think of a single game where it's like, oh, there's the reason we won. Kadarius Toney.
Super Bowl, maybe.
And so
it's obvious that's a good game to shine in.
Yeah. But I'm talking about this season. Just this season.
Yeah.
Specifically this season. Why wouldn't you have just put him on the IR, let him rest for 4 weeks, and get him right? Why have you been rolling him out there for 7 snaps? If you need him to be healthy for the end of the year in the postseason because you think he matters, then at some point earlier this year, you shouldn't have kept rolling him out there for his single target. He's had 1 target or less. He's had 1 target in each of the last 3 games combined, totaling, 35 yards. 3 targets for 35 yards.
I think, Cody, honestly...
At that point, Bink, then just sit him to get him healthy.
I get it, but I think a big part of it is just having him on the practice field. Just having him available for
just
games.
Getting him there, getting him through practice, letting him see the plays.
The what ifs to be out there, because it's much different than being on IR and sitting back and having to go with the 21-day window and all. But to be out there, start building the chemistry with your quarterback that you ultimately need, get the timing down between them two. Like, I can understand why they still have him out there doing that, because they still want something out of him, something down the stretch. If that happens in the postseason, so be it. Not going to rule it out that doesn't happen. But the Chiefs still, regardless of this, it's still quarterback. It's still, a wide receiver draft going in that direction for the Chiefs. I don't think he'll ever be the number 1 receiver in Kansas City. I think that dream's gone. But can he be a serviceable member of the team? Yeah.
Does this
sporadic?
Does this work? I guess from this perspective, does this make you think that maybe there's still some potential there?
I'm not going to go crazy on it though, because I'm going to see it. You know, I thought there when he came here to Kansas City, I wanted to see it because you know about the injuries going back to Florida. Prove it, because I want to see it because I've seen plenty of guys with a ton of talent, both baseball and football, that you keep waiting for, and at the moment just doesn't happen.
That's what it feels like with Sky. I feel like we're just waiting and waiting. Like, hey, you're picked 2nd round. They liked your speed. You are fast. Like, show us what you can really do. And you get a little bit every now and then, but there's more bad than there is good, it seems like.
And the other thing, too, is when the media kept asking Andy about how's it feel to win in a different way, I feel like Andy was bringing it back to running or passing. Truly, they should have corrected that question, because I do believe that question was defensively. Your defense is so good, but he kept bringing it back to runs and passes. And I don't think that was, I don't know, maybe the question was that, but what's it matter to them? It's not a good question. The good question is your defense is so good, you had to learn, like you said, and you call the game differently. But that's the crux of the matter. The Chiefs' defense and offense, because you're playing a different way, that has nothing to do with the pass ratio or the run ratio. It's about the defense. Is 100% what it means.
I was surprised it took this long for somebody to ask if Travis and Taylor Swift were going to be a distraction. I was a little surprised that it took this long.
What they ask if Andy had gotten any calls from coaches?
Yes. Yeah, the coaches.
I think.
Well, they're all calling him up saying, I don't know, man.
He's going to call him about that.
His response was,
I'm worried about this jet lag. I'm worried about this jet lag that's going on here. He's been in Germany and in Argentina. I'm worried about this.
Any of your friends get into a new relationship, Andy's exact answer, you could say word for word, which is the correct answer. Like, you're sitting in a group of friends and they're like, hey, Drew, dude, are you worried about Matt and this new chick? I don't know. Andy's response is the only response you should have in this situation until you know where this relationship is going. Quote, I'm just glad he's found somebody he likes, and she's found somebody that she likes. That's a good thing.
Yes.
Stay out of trouble. That is the most stay out of trouble. That is the perfect stay out of trouble answer if you're Andy Reid. Don't get in the middle of their relationship. There's no way it's a distraction.
Everybody handles things
No
differently.
players ever dated in the middle of the season? Yes. Theirs is more public than most. But just answering, I'm just glad he's found somebody he likes and she found somebody she liked. That's a good thing. That's the only answer to give.
Yeah, the only answer would be, she's a billionaire. Do whatever the hell he wants.
Also, Bink, somebody pointed out,
that Jimbo Fisher money's nothing compared to that.
Bink, Travis has said, and the text line's right from the 913, Travis says he doesn't get jet lag because he's a great sleeper on the plane.
No, I know that. But I'm surprised that those questions, who cares? Everybody's different. Like, everybody's different. Jet lag didn't bother her. She flies around and sings in other cities and does
all the time. She seemed to have pretty good energy for those
We talked about
shows.
that last week. Like, does she have like a medical professional, to get there to
probably
to get rid of that jet lag? Because she goes all these different countries.
Dude, I assume she gets like B12 shots and all kinds. I'm sure she gets IVs. Who knows?
I'm sure he's got the.
She's got like a nutritionist. I mean, she's not
got the
necessarily
elixir
like
for jet lag.
Dude, they got doctor stuff we've never even heard of. When we come back, let's talk a little bit. I asked you about the Texans. I want to ask you about that. Then maybe we can get a little back into the Kelsey and Taylor. What a weekend for the two very young couple.
Cody and Gold, brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com. Nate Taylor joins the guys in studio Tuesdays at 1 during the season, right here on 610 Sports Radio.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at BlueKC.com.
Honey, can you swing by the post office and grab some stamps? Done. And drop off these packages? Sure thing, honey. Ooh, and get the tracking info. Got it. But you haven't moved.
I know. How great is that?
This holiday season, the Postal Service is closer than ever with convenient ship-from-home services like label printing, free package pickup, and delivery notifications. You can send more holiday joy from the comfort of home. The United States Postal Service, delivering for America. Ship from home at USPS.com/holidayjoy.
Attention veterans and active military. Overhead Door Company of Kansas City is doubling their usual veterans discount on all products and services in November. This means veterans and active military get 10% off all month at Overhead Door Company of Kansas City. Choose a new garage door opener, or any service or repair and save 10%. Schedule a free in-home estimate for your new garage door, or schedule your annual garage door tune-up before winter really sets in. Schedule online at overheaddoorkc.com. or call 816-221-0072.
Midwest Marine Boat Company is celebrating their new location, now open in Grandview, Missouri. I was just out there a couple weeks ago, and one thing I noticed right away is the additional technicians they now have in their service department. I was talking to some folks there that say, hey, it's great. Some places will tell you, yeah, we can get some work done on your boat, but it's going to be a month. A month, the summertime is already here. You don't have a month to waste of your time on the lake, specifically if you've got that boat you've been waiting to take out for months and months. You know what's nice about Midwest Marine Boat Company? With those extra technicians that they have, they're turning boats around faster. Their service department is just simply more efficient to get you back out on the water. And if you're looking for a brand new boat, come check out the new huge, and I mean huge, indoor showroom at Midwest Marine Boat Company. They have the largest selection of pontoon boats in the area. Also, new lines of Bass Cat, Crown Line, Vexus, and Sea Arc. Midwest Marine Boat Company, the brand new location with a massive indoor showroom at 13800 South 71 Highway in Grandview, Missouri. We take pride in your fun.
Hey everybody, this is Andrew Filipponi here, bringing you the Parlay of the Day, brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Monday Night Football, the Broncos and Bills. Buffalo a big favorite. Get on the FanDuel Sportsbook app and put in a same-game parlay today. Great odds boosts and promotions are waiting for you. Let's make one together. Denver getting a touchdown in this game. They've already beaten Kansas City. They're coming off a bye, and frankly, Buffalo has not looked good their last couple of games. I'm going to take the points. Some props to add in. Russell Wilson, his passing yard number of 210.5. He'll go over that, and the receiver I think will connect with in this game is Jerry Jeudy over 51.5. This parlay pays out at 6-1. That's it for the Parlay of the Day, brought to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app today and make every moment more with America's #1 sportsbook.
21 plus in President, Kansas. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Score early this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use, there's a wide range of betting options, spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/win and kick off the NFL season. That's FanDuel.com/win. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
Must be 21 plus and present state where lawful to wager. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with
with Kansas Star Casino LLC. First online real money wager. Only $5 pregame money line wager required. First online real money wager. Only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG in Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Virginia. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342 in Arizona, 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana, 1-800-522-4700. Visit KSGamblingHelp.com in Kansas. 1-877-770-STOP in Louisiana. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net in West Virginia or call 1-800-522-4700 in Wyoming. Help is here. Visit gamblinghelpma.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. Of course I use Mr. Clean Magic Eraser to clean tough messes off my stovetop and bathtub. But then I discovered I can also use it to easily clean my patio furniture and even my shoes. I'm hooked.
And when wipes won't cut it, I use Magic Eraser Sheets. They're thin and flexible erasers, perfect for everyday messes, like gunk on my counters and sinks. They really are magical.
The reviews are in. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser and Sheets make cleaning look easy.
Inside the Huddle with Cody and Gold, each day from noon until 1 on 610 Sports Radio. Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue KC. Live healthy with Blue KC on the official radio partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. 610 Sports Radio.
Head over to Buffalo Wild Wings in Overland Park at 105th and Metcalf on Thursday, November 16th from 4 to 6 p.m. Enjoy music, $10 54-ounce Bud Light pitchers, and wings from Buffalo Wild Wings. Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Enjoy responsibly. 21 and older. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
On game day, there's nothing like tailgating, touchdowns, and Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Twisted Tea goes down smooth and tastes like real iced tea because it's made with real brewed tea. Cool, refreshing, and a 5% kick of alcohol. Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Look for the bright yellow cans wherever you buy beer. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
I think we're lost again.
Wait, what does that sign over there say?
Caution wildlife crossing?
No, next to it.
If you are 60 or older, you may be at increased risk of serious consequences from RSV, respiratory syncytial virus, compared to adults younger than 60. Ouch, I didn't know that.
Not all dangers come with warning labels. Talk to your pharmacist or doctor about getting vaccinated against RSV today. RSV vaccines, including Pfizer's, are available. Learn more at bewareofrsv.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue KC. Live healthy with Blue KC.
You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Max Motors Studios. Patrick Mahomes joins CDOT Mondays at 3:10. 610 Sports Radio. KCSP Kansas City, WDAF HD2 Liberty. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Final hour here of Cody and Gold. Jay Binkley filling in for Gold. Drew's back from his Wisconsin adventure. Still not hungover now, I hope. 2 days later.
No, I'm good.
He missed the football game on Saturday for a little too much Friday night fun, but he's back. Gold's still sick. Hey, man, can we have a quick chat about that? Sure. I'm not going to currently violate Alex Gold's HIPAA rights and give the exact diagnosis he's been given by a doctor. I will allow him to explain that when he comes back. Based on the diagnosis, he should probably be gone tomorrow too, right?
Yeah.
Bink, are you available tomorrow if Alex Gold is sick?
I am.
In all likelihood, I would say that his diagnosis isn't something that just gets over quickly. Most of at least in my experience.
I just say take one more day.
In my experience of having.
I know he misses it. He wants to be back. He wants to talk Chiefs Eagles. He wants to talk about Kadarius Toney's usage. It's cool. I get it.
Get an extra day though.
But maybe take a day. That's all I'm saying.
No, for you, it makes more sense. I mean, you're directly.
Or you can come back, but I'll take a day. You know, just to avoid the sickness.
You can come back, but I'm going to be gone.
I'll be fine, but I'll just take a day anyway.
I'm going to hear anyone. It's worked out great because I'm going to cut that podcast right after this. So
there you go.
I'd have to come up here for it, so it's already here. So Chris and I will do Character Concerns.
Check out the new episode of Character Concerns, which I assume will be posted
we'll be talking
tomorrow.
more wide receivers in the draft. Yes, every Tuesday.
Well, that makes sense. We talked about it a little in the show. You guys will really break it down for that. Oh, and the text line wants to know, Drew, did you bring back any new Glarus? Any Spotted Cow for Club 610? Oh, look on his face. He didn't bring it back.
I did not bring it back because I told my wife that I was on the way home and she was like, "You didn't get any of the stuff for the show, did you?" I was like, "No." I said that was the last thing I was thinking about on Saturday. Yes, the day that I would have gone to go get it, I was I was occupied.
I mean, that's good beer, and you probably should have brought some back because everybody does. It's kind of tradition when anybody goes to Wisconsin, they bring back New Glarus Spotted Cow. Like, not serious, Drew. Everybody kind of does.
It is. It's true.
Most of the time,
kinda
people
missed the
aren't
boat on
throwing
that.
up all the day before.
Well, that seems
also
like an
accurate.
excuse to me, Drew.
Yeah, that does feel like, I mean, you could have just stopped on the way out.
You got other people with you.
Can you buy alcohol in Wisconsin on Sundays?
It's Wisconsin. You can buy alcohol probably any day. of the
I
week.
did leave at.
You
Cheese
realize
and
you
liquor,
can buy,
man.
like in Missouri, I can buy a fifth of Jack at like 9 in the morning in Missouri.
Yeah, in Indiana, the liquor stores open at 9 on Sundays.
Yeah.
I left at 10. I look.
If you had somebody
You know
with you,
what?
Drew, you'd have an excuse.
If I'd have gotten a text message, no.
We should have reminded you. That's kind
No,
of
it's all right. It's all good.
We'll talk more about
The next time.
We'll talk about more about Kadarius Toney at 1:30. Andy all but kind of confirmed they were being careful with him. But I had asked you a question right before Andy came on, and I think it's fair. You would ask me if we have to take the Texans serious now, and the answer is no, not yet. Look, Stroud is scary. I'm not pretending like I don't love the amount of talent he has, and it's yet another quarterback in the AFC who could cause problems for the Chiefs down the
And
road.
untalked about quarterback when you
But
sit
it's-
here and say who's the good ones, who the bad ones.
But it's way too damn early. It's way too damn early. He'd have to leapfrog too many teams. They might make the postseason. Drew, did I or did I not last week predict the Texans to be the 7th seed in the postseason instead of Buffalo?
I will say this: 3 weeks ago, I also said Houston could win the division. I think you guys both scoffed at me when there is a legitimate possibility that they could, because I think they still have to play Jacksonville both times. I think as well. So who knows? Well, what can happen?
Actually, Jacksonville, they have to play once. They've already beat them.
Oh, they beat them already. Oh, there we go.
Jacksonville and Cincinnati, by far their best wins. They lost to
they beat
Carolina. They lost to Carolina.
That was a bad loss.
Which I lost money on that one. That really pisses me off. And they lost to Baltimore and Indy to start the season. They started the season and lost 3 of their first 5 and kind of, righted the ship a little bit. But that loss to Carolina.
They've got a nicer schedule too
again,
remaining. Houston does. I think you're right, Cody, about them making the postseason at this rate, the way they looked.
That's a microcosm of the NFL. The fact that this team that's playing so well lost to Carolina, this is how the NFL in a nutshell is this season.
Look, I think C.J. Stroud, like if you made me rank out, hey, give me your top 5 AFC quarterbacks, which is a lot harder than if we did the NFC, okay? It's not an easy conversation. We know Mahomes is 1. I think it's fairly obvious Joe Burrow's 2. Even though he lost to C.J. Stroud yesterday, I think it's fairly obvious he's been to a Super Bowl. He gets the edge. Look, I would, if you made me rank him, I'd probably still take Josh Allen ahead of him, right? I feel like I kind of have to, and I'd waffle about.
And that's fair. That's what I do.
I'd waffle about Herbert. I'd waffle about Lamar, but I could sit right here, right now, and make an argument for you that if they made you restart a franchise, I'm not so sure I wouldn't just choose Stroud. I know it's only been 10 games, but there are some quarterbacks that just have it. He stepped into the league. He throws for yards and touchdowns. He doesn't throw picks. He wins late. Like, he has fourth quarter comebacks. He just seems like he has it. It is hard not to believe it's there. It's just for this year I can't take him serious, Bink, because it's hard. There's just way too many damn good teams in the AFC for me to think that C.J. Stroud's going to, ferry all the way through that to matter against Mahomes. Because you're just asking me, can he get to an AFC title game? And sure, I guess if he gets there, he's a real threat. You got to the title game. I just don't think that's plausible.
I just think he's got to the point now you start adding his name when you start thinking about all these great quarterbacks.
They lost to the Panthers 2 weeks ago.
I mean, clearly I believe
have to get out of control.
Well, yeah, exactly. Losing to Bryce Young in the Panthers. And Trevor Lawrence, I thought, was at this point better than Justin Herbert. I thought once he beat him in the postseason, you can kind of pencil him ahead. And I love the quarterback-coach combination because Doug Peterson's doing such a great job there. He's won a Super Bowl in the past. I can't explain what's going on with Jacksonville right now. Yesterday was probably the biggest head-scratcher of a game to me this year. Was the opportunity. You were at home. And whether if you want to see their homes in London or Duval County in Jacksonville, Florida, I don't know. That game surprised me probably the most. But C.J. Stroud, I know, was a couple weeks removed from him losing to Carolina, which he had no business losing that game because that was a good litmus test between the two top
Otherwise,
two
they'd be
quarterbacks.
6-3 right now. We might be having a very different conversation. Someone says, give me Sam Howell long-term over C.J. Stroud. All right.
Well, I feel like Deshaun
Sam Howell's had a very good year, but let's relax.
I mean, Deshaun's, to me, the biggest question mark coming in the year. Like, which Deshaun Watson you get?
Deshaun's like the 11th best quarterback in the NFL. To be clear, right now,
I would missed a couple games. Yesterday was a very good game for him.
Teams I would take over Deshaun Watson's quarterback play: Dolphins, Bills, Ravens, Bengals, Jags, Texans. My God, would I take Chiefs, Chargers for sure. Then I start running into problems like, would I take Levis over Deshaun?
Nah. Would you take Kenny Pickett over?
Per cost, if we're including how much they're paid.
Oh,
yes,
it's everybody other than Russell Wilson.
If we're including how much he's paid, then it might be everyone in the damn AFC. I might take Mac Jones because at least I don't owe him anything. Mac Jones stinks. But if we're talking straight quarterback plays, around 10.
I think
around 10.
The one thing, and Bink, you pointed it out earlier with Stroud, the one thing that from here on out, I think you want to see a little bit better. He doesn't turn the ball over, but his completion percentage is a little bit shaky.
That's what I brought up last time. He was 59% last week. He was only 48% a couple weeks ago.
That's the only thing I think going forward that elevates him, I guess, further up the list. But if you look at the guys who have done well in the playoffs too, Justin Herbert hasn't won a playoff game. Josh Allen hasn't been to an AFC title game, if I am correct.
No, he has. He
made it to the AFC title game?
He played the Chiefs. Josh Allen played the Chiefs.
Was it like 2020?
AFC title game.
The year the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, the first one with Mahomes.
Yeah.
Not the first Super Bowl.
Okay.
The year before.
I do believe that was AFC title game with Buffalo.
It was.
Yep.
Okay.
They lost to him in the divisional round in the 13-second game the year after that.
Oh, yeah. And they're still thinking
That's
about
the one that I remember, obviously, so much more.
And it wasn't the title game, but that game, to be honest with Drew, should have never been at Arrowhead. Buffalo melted down. They lose 41-14 to the Colts at home. They lost to Urban Meyer in the Jags when they were pathetic, 9-6. But it's Chiefs, Ravens, Jags, Dolphins, Steelers, Browns, Texans. That's your top 7.
Currently.
Outside looking in,
No
Bengals,
Chargers,
Bills.
no Bills, no Bengals.
The Chargers are way down here because you go Bengals, Bills, Colts, Raiders, then Chargers, Jets, and then the Broncos, followed up by the Titans and the Patriots.
So
could be the Titans or the Patriots' next head coach, followed by the Patriots.
We know Alex's weekend sucked because he's still sick on Monday. We know Drew's weekend sucked because he had tickets to go see a team he's
partially
rooted for
sucked,
since a team he rooted for since childhood. His first Wisconsin football game didn't make it due to undisclosed illness. We think it might be a hangover or maybe food poisoning, but we're thinking maybe it's alcohol related.
Probably,
you know who had
yes.
an amazing weekend? Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. Andy getting asked if he's getting asked for tickets is funny to me at this point. But any notion, like those little comments would be like, "Oh, do you worry about a distraction?" Come on, you understand that rich people do things different than the rest of us, right? That like we were talking, like if Taylor Swift had a hangover, she's got like 19 medical doctors who could solve that thing in a second. They've got medical things you've never heard of.
Drew could have been on a private jet had that been the case.
But I got to be honest.
That would have been nice.
This relationship, which was already riding pretty high, new step this weekend. She's been traveling to his games. He flew to Argentina on his bye week. She changed a lyric in her show to the Chiefs while singing it directly at him. He was hanging out with Papa Swift. So now both people have met both parents. Whole new level.
And
we've seen a very public kiss next to a porta potty. This relationship went from it took a whole nother
the porta
step.
Potty made
whole nother step
that
forward.
made it. Porta potty made it.
Because that's love.
That was the story. Yeah, that was.
I would say I don't know. I never followed her. I still technically don't follow Taylor Swift like that. But in terms of her relationships and how much she enjoys it, at least as far as I'm concerned, I'm seeing a lot more of it. And I don't think that's because I'm just living in Kansas City. I think that she legitimately is in love with Travis Kelce more than maybe she was with anybody else. I don't know. That might.
And they're trying desperately at this point to keep it private. But unfortunately,
Travis was asked that in Germany, and he's like, "Look, I want to keep it as private as I can." Obviously, it's more difficult to do that when you're.
It's funny in the beginning because you're trying to get noticed and all that, but eventually he's like, "Man,
yeah,
you're in a different world when you're in that world." I mean, it's different than the NFL world.
You're saying this goes years?
Years,
Cody.
Years. This is a very serious relationship. What do you tell? I mean, look, to me.
Oh, I'm with you.
This was like they knew that they had to put this thing in the blender, right? They had to speed it up because he's going to be in the throes of an NFL playoff hunt and she's going to be in the middle of a massive international tour. They are not going to be able to see each other at the level that they have been able to see each other in the early stage of this relationship. So they had to find out if they like each other enough to keep doing that kind of game, right? That we can still see each other in the middle of this. They're out here doing running hugs and kisses, dude. They're in it. They're fully in this relationship. There's no way to look at it outside of that.
And your foresight was on point.
Oh, yeah. You know, I do deserve a little bit. Thank you, Binkley. Thank you for giving me the credit.
No, it was. You thought about this a long time ago.
She rewrote the lyrics to Karma. And I think that considering Taylor Swift has, 400 hits, I could have chosen any song to rewrite. As Taylor Swift singing to Travis Kelce, my very first song on this show when this relationship became public and they came to the game was Karma. Because Kelce is my boyfriend. Kelce is a god. Kelce and me hold hands on the weekend. Kelce has an amazing bod. Aren't you envious that for you it's not sweet like honey? Kelce is a catch. Coming to my show because he loves me. Making catches like an acrobat. Me and Travis vibe like that. Come on, I could have chosen any song.
She heard your song and decided, of all the songs to change, switch up the lyrics a little bit, she decided to do Karma.
Could have chosen any song, Bink.
I'm convinced.
That or I know Taylor Swift's catalog so well that I knew the perfect song to rewrite. What do you think really happened? What do you think's more likely? I knew the entire Taylor Swift catalog and happened to guess the right song, or she just happened to stumble across my song on TikTok or something. Could have been any social media platform.
It might not even have been her.
Or her lawyers. You don't want that.
Yeah, her lawyers.
You don't want that.
One friend or lawyer sends a text with that clip. She happens to catch it for half a second and be like, haha, that's funny. That's a great song to rewrite for Travis. I'll probably do it when he's in Argentina.
I would love to know. At some point, I feel like we have to try to get something out of her or Travis. Like, have you ever heard this song before? And then, like Pete can pull up the clip and play it.
This show has a history of asking those questions. In both of the times previous, they were local athletes and they had. Creed Humphrey, who we'd asked if he'd heard the song, had admitted that he did and then complimented it. And then Vinny Pasquantino, when I made a song about him, at first denied it. At first, he was asked, have you heard the song that was written about you? And it was his first day in the big leagues. And he had said, no, I'm not familiar with it. But then later admitted to us that, of course, he had heard it and was familiar with it. But he was trying to be a proper big leaguer. So in my two previous instances of make song for person, those have eventually found the ear of the person. So
Creed Humphrey's song was probably your best.
I mean, that one's going to be tough to top, but we also did like a
$3,000
music
You could have dropped the mic.
for it.
Well, I know. You could have dropped the mic.
No, I like to go out on the bottom, like every other performer in life. I don't know how to go out on top.
Somebody else
Very
is
difficult thing
remaking
to
one
do.
of those. The Rangers kind of stole your Creed away.
So did the Vikings. The Vikings started playing
Stole
Creed's
him
higher
right
with
away
Kirk
from you.
Cousins.
Stole him right from you. They're sitting there doing the cameo.
That's fine. Other people can enjoy stuff. We were just, we were on
the foresight before the Rangers and the Vikings.
We're on the forefront of this conversation. It's a little bit different, and I'm okay, and I can accept that. I'm okay with that. Hey, I heard you ask a question. You were filling in on Thursday. You had asked Drew this question. You said you wanted to ask me, which was, so we know what the defense currently is. It's great. Would I trade this defense being a top 10 defense if I could immediately have a number one wide receiver? That's what you want to know?
Because at the time I asked it, they're number 2 in scoring defense, number 2 in pass defense, number 2 in sacks. So just move that back to about 10.
Okay, so I need to know one question first. When you say number one wide receiver, what is the basement here? Like, are we talking like H.E. Brown, Tyreek Hill? Not like number one on any team. Like one of the 10 best wide receivers
like a
in the NFL?
Justin Jefferson, like a Jamar Chase. Just somebody like that? Or would you take the defense from 2 and move it back past 10 to 15? We'll just put it at 15.
I'd take the wide receiver.
Would you?
You would too?
Look, I know this is kind of screwed up because I know how good they are. I know they can win the Super Bowl with Patrick Mahomes and a number one wide receiver. I don't have any evidence yet that they can win with a top 2 defense. They probably can.
Well, you'd have more fun.
But dude, immediately putting Justin Jefferson into this offense. If you told me this defense is now where the offense ranks, right? They're 12th, 15th. They're winning the Super Bowl. If this defense is 12th and they have Justin Jefferson, that's a wrap, right? Who's going to stop him?
But it's been so tough, and I remember bringing this up.
Look, I would think about it harder than that because the defense is great, but I think I would take, if it's like Justin Jefferson, I'd probably just take that.
Everybody thought it was crazy because I brought up the notion,
trade.
could this be a top 10 defense back in May?
Yeah, you were right.
Could this be a top 10 defense? It's better
I
than
didn't
that.
think
It's
so.
better than that. Like, they have clearly rebuilt this defense in front of our eyes.
So what's weird about this, Bink, is that I think I'd take the wide receiver, but at the same time, and I've made this clear, I would not go back in the time machine to reverse the Tyreek trade. Because the Tyreek trade got them the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah,
that
that's
got
out
them
of
the Super
question.
Bowl. I'd never reverse it. But then if you said, hey, Cody, that Super Bowl still counts. Now Tyreek, after a year away, is back on the team. And you can just roll with the 12th best defense. I'd probably still take it. Like, I'm not going back in time because that helped them win a Super Bowl. But if you're giving me a one-off for 1 year to take the chance and money is not the problem, then I might just take it. Now, if we're factoring in money, we're having a different conversation. Because the reason they did the right thing, they traded away Tyreek Hill, they moved these numbers around, and they chose elite level defense over paying one player $30 million. The problem is, if they had kept Tyreek Hill, I'm not sure they could be a 12th ranked defense because of what they got in that. They might be 20th or 22nd. And then when you start getting to those ranges, I'm not willing to make the trade.
They're sitting right now at 15.9 points per game given up.
Second best in the NFL, right?
To 15.7. It's that close between him and the Ravens. 0.2 away from the Ravens. That is scary close. They're still number 2 in sacks in the NFL behind the Ravens, tied with the Chargers, believe it or not.
So basically what you're doing is you're trading a number 1 wide receiver for Trent McDuffie and Drew Tranquill, and then you also get Dan Sorensen on your roster again. That's what you're doing.
I didn't say anything about that. I said move from 2 to 15.
Yeah, but where were they when they were 15? Was Dan Sorensen on the roster and McDuffie wasn't? I feel like
he was at a time for their top 5.
I feel like that's what you get back.
They also won a Super Bowl with Dan Sorensen on the roster. Like I know it sounds crazy. Like
that's what it sounds like to me. At least that's the hypothetical trade. You get McDuffie's not there. Tranquill, you don't have him anymore. You don't have the linebacker depth, and you got one other.
You still
Dan
get Carl
Sorensen.
You're looking at this and say this is still an offensive team. You don't think, okay, this is an offensive team.
The main defensive guy is Chris Jones, and that's the only main guy, if you will. You would take a.
But you
would
just go
take
back and look
JJ
at the
over?
Chiefs as being the Chiefs. But it's a different style of Chiefs. It's fun to watch.
I still think I would take the
something
defense.
Used to.
You don't like defense, Bink? I'm surprised you're not a defense guy.
No, I am. I love defense. 100% love defense. But, man, I want Patrick Mahomes to have weapons, too.
I'm taking that defense.
I'm a big fan of him having weapons.
You know, it's like it's funny. We're just like talking through it, and
Because that's a rare quarter. That's a rare situation.
And then I'm thinking harder about it. But it's just like, to me, the argument for it is like they probably still can just win the Super Bowl. And if I can have both, the hard problem with this question in a vacuum is, there's a chance I could have both. I had the elite level wide receiver, they won a Super Bowl. I didn't have the elite level wide receiver, they won a Super Bowl. Now the Chiefs have an elite level defense. If they just get wide receiver right in the draft next year, I get both.
Yes,
I get
exactly.
I get elite level wide receiver, elite level defense. Done.
In terms of longevity, the defense is the much better call in my opinion, which is why I think I'm in favor of it. Because if you go back to the way the team was, you totally reverse what's happened the last 2 years in the draft. So Veach would have to remake the McDuffie pick, which is a home run of all home runs. He'd have to make the right signings, and then you have the number 1 wide receiver, where now you've got the defense that is so good, even if they do lose Chris Jones over the offseason, that money can be spent in another way to maybe create more depth on the line and not just be one superstar guy.
It's hard. You
can
can't
still
really
answer the questions.
If you don't go, if it's for a single year, if it's just about this year and then we can just like reverse engineer it, then it's different. But it really is, Bink. Like if I take it out of a vacuum, you kind of have to stick with the defense because I have a chance still at both. If I trade off, it's going to be hard to rebuild this defense.
Rebuild it.
And by the way, this defense is the youngest snap-adjusted defense in the NFL.
Youngest.
They're not just good now. They have the possibility of being good for
you got Trent McDuffie still on the 50-year option. You had pass rushers the last 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, you had 5 rookie defensive backs last year. You still get them for a couple more years of their contract. And as I mentioned, Duffy you have for an extra 3 years. But don't hit a home run at wide receiver.
They'll have to finally
because
get
I don't know
right.
if they have the money in free agency to grab that.
Well, and like you said, Bink,
like
that's
T. Higgins, I don't think they have that money.
It's convenient that the draft is so loaded in that wide receiver position now.
Perfect
that
for him.
Not that you can't miss, but it allows you less, or there's more room for error, if you will, I guess. If you don't get one guy, it's not like it's the end of the world and you got to wait till the second round to get a wide receiver.
No, but one of these times...
there'll be a bunch of that, though. Like, they get the right guy or not, because the right guy might be in the second round. Or, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
I mean, whoever they take will be scrutinized.
Do you
because
think
of
they take 2 wide receivers in the first 3 rounds?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
I think they come away with at least 2 receivers in this year's draft. Before it's been 1. Like, last year, your only weapon was Rasheed Rice. You lose Juju, you brought in Rasheed Rice. That was your weapon.
Yeah.
That's why I felt he had the pressure on him.
But MVS will be gone. Tony's maybe got a year left on that deal, so I guess you can still ride that out.
Sky Moore would probably still be here.
Yeah, I
don't think he's answered the questions you want to see.
No, but I mean, again, if you're just like an ancillary player, we don't really care. Travis back, right? So, I mean, it's too risky if I know both things are on the table. When we come back, there was a comparison that Binkley and I were talking about before the show for other dynasties. Let's see if you agree with it. That's when we come back next.
Cody and Gold.
Last and probably most important question. Are, in fact, all opinions like buttholes?
Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
Probably been up the last couple of weeks cleaning your gutters. I had to do that. Got multiple trees, cleaning the gutters. You take a look at that roof, right? Want to make sure that it's still in good shape. Who to trust in Kansas City? Well, how about a locally owned company that has been in business for 33 years in the city and was just voted best roofing company in Johnson County by readers of the Shawnee Mission Post for the 2 years in a row. That's Century Roofing. You can tell them that I, Cody, here at 610 sent you over their way, but Century Roofing is the company you can trust with these installs. Have done over 30,000 roofs in the greater Kansas City area since 1990, so you know they're familiar with it. They can do whichever version you want. You want composite asphalt, concrete, standing seam metal roofing. Whichever type or style you're looking for, they are comfortable and been working with it for years. They offer those free estimates so you can get a sense of where it's going to be and find out why a local company, and especially one with such great experience, is the one you should trust. Schedule your estimate today from KC-based and female-owned Century Roofing and trust the pillars of strength. Go to centuryroofingkc.com and tell them that Cody from 610 sent you.
Get ready, Kansas City! It's Medicare annual enrollment period. So why not make enrolling easier with United Healthcare? Whether you choose our online tools or over-the-phone support, United Healthcare will help you compare options so you can choose a plan with confidence. This is Medicare made for Kansas City. Trusted everywhere. Explore our wide range of plans by calling United Healthcare today at 1-855-MEET-UHC. That's 1-855-MEET-UHC. Annual enrollment begins October 15th and ends December 7th, so call today.
As football weather creeps in, the offers for the NFL continue to stay hot with FanDuel. And right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any $5 winning money line bet. That's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining America's #1 sportsbook app, then there's no better time to get in on the action than with FanDuel. The app is super easy to use, and there's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. You can even take some future bets like NFL MVP and also who's going to make the playoffs. All you need to do is visit FanDuel.com/CDOT to kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, an official partner of the NFL and also 610 Sports Radio. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 pregame money line wager required. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus specs that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Canada's under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Can you help with your best bet? Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Is your payment too much or your interest rate too high? I'm Jeff Davis, owner of Volkswagen Lease Summit, and it's time to switch and save.
Switch and save your way at Volkswagen Lease Summit. Get a low sign then drive lease and pay $0 down and $0 next month. Or switch your rate and get as low as 3.9% for 72 months. Or save by getting $1,000 more for your trade.
Don't miss out. Switch and save at Volkswagen Lease Summit. Visit VWLeaseSummit.com.
Financing through VCI OAC. Score early this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use, there's a wide range of betting options, spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/win and kick off the NFL season. That's FanDuel.com/win. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. Must be 21 plus and present in state
anywhere lawful to wager. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino LLC. First online real money wager only $5 pregame money line wager required. First online real money wager only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG in Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Virginia. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342 in Arizona, 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana, 1-800-522-4700 visit ksgamblinghelp.com in Kansas. 1-877-770-STOP in Louisiana. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net in West Virginia or call 1-800-522-4700 in Wyoming. Help is here. Visit gamblinghelpma.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.
Looking for an easy way to get more protein? Try delicious Ensure Max protein shakes. They have 30 grams of protein, 1 gram of sugar, and 150 calories. And they come in 7 flavors so tasty, you won't believe there are 30 grams of protein and 1 gram of sugar. No, really, it's true. These shakes have 30 grams of protein, 1 gram of sugar, and flavor that's that good. Get a $3 coupon at Ensure.com/instant coupon. Delicious Ensure Max Protein. 30 grams of protein, 1 gram of sugar.
Ad paid for by the Sentinel Group. Attention Marines, military personnel, families, and contractors who were stationed at Camp Lejeune. Were you present at Camp Lejeune between August 1953 and December of 1987? You may be entitled to significant compensation. For nearly 34 years, those in the Marine Corps' base Camp Lejeune were exposed to contaminated drinking water, resulting in devastating injuries, including several forms of cancer, adverse birth outcomes, Parkinson's disease, and more. North Carolina's procedural laws have prevented victims from getting the justice they deserve, but passage of the Camp Lejeune Justice Act of 2022 would allow you or a loved one to file lawsuits seeking compensation for illnesses and injuries linked to the toxic water. Call today for your free consultation. 800-439-4252. Let our experienced attorneys fight to get you the compensation you deserve, and you pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. Call 800-439-4252. That's 800-439-4252. Again, 800-439-4252.
When you wake up well-rested on a great mattress, everything becomes clear. My dog has more friends than I do. Things you missed when you were tired finally reveal themselves.
I should really give my dad a call.
Find your perfect mattress at the Black Friday sale at Mattress Firm. You can save up to $500 on Tempur-Pedic, plus get a $300 gift toward pillows and more, all with free and fast delivery. The right mattress matters. We'll find yours this Black Friday sale. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
If that sound gives you nightmares, there's a cheap and easy way to avoid engines not firing. Stable, America's #1 fuel stabilizer, ensures quick and easy starts after storage. Stable's proprietary formula keeps fuel fresh for 2 years, outperforming competitors. Pour Stable in your gas can or directly into the tank of your car, truck, hybrid, boat, ATV, motorcycle, or lawnmower to prevent fuel-related engine problems that cost time and money. When you store, start with Stable.
The 610 Sports Radio phone line is brought to you by Onder Law Injury Lawyers. Visit getjim.com.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Max Motors. 9 major vehicle brands to choose from. MaxMotors.com. It's trade-up days at Max Motors dealerships.
Worth the drive from anywhere.
Get up to 130% off book value for your trade. Plus, huge savings on all new and pre-owned vehicles in stock. No payments for 90 days and finance options for everyone. Over 1,700 vehicles in stock.
Shop 24/7 at MaxMotors.com.
What's trending?
All right, let's check in on the hot topics trending.
Number one on what's trending is the upset NFL weekend. Look, some of these games were close in divisional games, but the Ravens lost, Cincinnati lost, Jags lost, Chargers lost. It was kind of a dream bye week for the Chiefs across the board. Every single major team absent maybe the Raiders losing last night, a team that literally nobody takes seriously, although I guess they're 2-0 under their interim coach. It was a dream weekend. If the Bills lose tonight, I'm not sure it could have gone any better. You get a half-game separation from Baltimore. You get an extra half-game separation from the Jags, and Cincinnati gets knocked out of the playoff run for now. I understand they'll probably still make the postseason. But that's a kind of a best-case scenario for the weekend, Ben.
Yeah, I don't care if the Broncos
weekend. There were
win.
so many close games in the NFL.
Oh, there were. Adam Schefter even put out 5 teams, Arizona, Cleveland, Detroit, Houston, and Seattle, converted a game-winning field goal with no time remaining in Week 10. Red zone was nuts.
Yeah,
winning, so it's the most times winning scores, no time remaining in regulation in a single week in NFL history. It was exciting, but the weekend could not have gone better for the Kansas City Chiefs. And hopefully that continues tonight with the Bills. Because, again, you get to the end of the year, they have that game with Cincinnati, with Buffalo. Don't have it with the Ravens. That's why it's so nice seeing the Ravens lose that game. But given the Bills another L tonight, even though it's rather improbable, but improbable stuff happens in the NFL. Ask Jacksonville.
I just can't decide on them. I can't decide if I think the Bills, like I was calling for the fact that I thought that they might be.
And it's a home game
a year
for the
ahead,
Bills.
but
I don't understand this game.
We'll see. No, I don't either.
Why they thought this game to put on with the Bills being a home team, I don't get. Mississippi State has joined the Vikings of Texas A&M, looking for a head coach. Zach Arnett, it's only coached in two places, San Diego State, Mississippi State.
Will he get another head coaching job?
I think so. He's too young. He was defensive coordinator, too young
he took
for
over
Zach.
in really crazy circumstances, obviously, after the tragic death of Mike Leach.
He'll have to rebuild, that as a defensive coordinator, rebuild himself kind of, and probably end up with Nick Saban, huh? And build things up. But
always
find a way to build things up before he goes forward. But they made the right choice, like A&M. Put yourself ahead of the coaching curve when it comes to getting another head coach.
Next up on What's Trending, Trey Hendrickson officially has a hyperextended knee. That, according to Ian Rappaport earlier today. They are waiting an MRI, though, still to determine the length of time. Remember, Travis Kelce missed a single NFL football game and then was back on the field. Is it going to be a short-term thing for Trey Hendrickson or one of the longer-term hyperextensions? It's totally freak injury at the end of the Texans game when a Texans player just lost his balance, accidentally stumbled backwards,
and he falls down.
And then falls down into Hendrickson's knee. Just terrible.
You just don't want to hear MCL and ACL and those type of things. Hyperextension is what you want to hear. Jason Bean update. Lance Leipold said he's optimistic he can play Saturday for the Sunflower Showdown because, again, they were on our third-string quarterback with Cole Ballard for Kansas past weekend. It does make a difference. Listen, Bean, obviously not who they had hoped going into the season because the Big 12 preseason player of the year never really played much for Kansas. Bean's fifth start. It's amazing what they've done with him at quarterback, having that backup in there in those situations.
He's done a great job.
So give Kansas a lot of credit for that. But
Kansas has no chance if Bean doesn't play. They're losing to K-State if Bean doesn't play.
100%. Disappointing loss, and he's fat. Yeah. A lot faster than I thought he was, too.
I thought at first you said fat.
Fast.
I thought you said, and Jason Bean's fat. I was like, what the hell? What did he do to you?
He had the fastest time in college football this year.
Okay, good. That makes more sense. Lastly, on What's Trending, Adam Schefter reporting earlier today that the Denver Broncos, team that played tonight, 3 different teams made actual offers for the Broncos to try to get Patrick Surtain off of their roster. We know for a fact, some reporting that the 49ers were one of those teams, but that they were unwilling or weren't close to moving him. I still think if this is best case scenario for the Chiefs.
I wish they would have personally. That's selfish.
Yeah, it is. But also, this is still good for the Chiefs because the Broncos want to get stuck in purgatory. Fine. Be stuck in purgatory. Because they can either tear this thing down and try to do better under Russell Wilson, or they can just be stuck as a mediocre team forever. You want to be mediocre? Fine by me. Honestly, I got to bet with Alex Gold on who finishes with the worst record anyway. He gave me odds. I said the Raiders are just as bad as the Broncos. I think I got a Raiders win yesterday. That was big for me. I need the Broncos to lose tonight.
Oh, you need the Broncos to lose?
Well, for my bet with Alex, yes.
For the Alex bet.
For my bet with Alex. That's all. That's what's trending here on Cody and Gold. Yeah, Bink, we earlier in the year, when we were talking about the division before the season started, I said, dude, I said that the Raiders are just as good as the Broncos. The Broncos stink. When Sean Payton had started coming out all this stuff and he's just bad-mouthing Hackett, I was convinced, and still am, that part of his bad-mouthing is because he watched his team practice for a little bit and he's like, ooh, this team stinks. And I don't want to take all the heat for this team stinks. So I'm going to need a little armor. And his armor was, this last guy was such a boob that there's just no way that it wasn't his fault and not mine that we stink. And look, they got a huge win against the Chiefs. I can't deny that for a win of him.
But they
got
lost
3
to him
wins.
2 weeks before that.
Oh, they're awful. They're an awful football team. So Gold's like, they're not finishing worse in the division. I'm like, oh, they can finish worse in the division. They're just as bad as the Raiders are.
Who's the next team in the AFC West to win besides the Chiefs?
I got 1.5 to win besides the Chiefs.
Yeah. No, if you took the Chiefs out, what's the next team in this division that wins this division? Because someone eventually will.
I'd have to choose the Chargers just because they have the quarterback right now.
If they can keep him. Well, for long term, by the time that happens, which they will. He got paid this year, but
I don't think they're the losing division for at least.
He's going to be there for a while.
I took a very serious deep dive on all 3 teams' rosters outside of the Chiefs. I don't see any path, unless somebody just has the most home run draft of all time. I don't see any path that the Chiefs lose this division for at least 3 seasons. Binkley, there are 3 games up after week 10. The Raiders have the second best record in this division. When the hell is one of these teams getting good enough to actually usurp them?
Well, Herbert's going to be there till 2029 with this contract he just redid. So we'll see when they put the right head coach with that situation. I mean, I've been thinking Kellen Moore is already on their staff. That's the answer to this question. But he is the most talented quarterback in this division outside of Mahomes. I think they'll eventually get it right. Maybe. I thought Brandon Staley probably should have gotten on a plane.
I almost answered the Raiders just because at least they'll be looking for a quarterback. You know, like the Chargers are where they are, the Broncos are where they are. If the Raiders just got lucky at quarterback, maybe they'd be the next team.
But that set football back years, that Raiders-Jets game.
It did. Oh, God, that game was awful. Oh, it was so awful. I know we'll talk with our guy, Vinny Pasquantino, tomorrow. He was at the game.
Oh, was he in Vegas?
In Las Vegas. Bachelor party.
Oh, they didn't stay. They're not staying for the F1 then?
Well, maybe. They're the professional baseball players. They could stay a couple of, I don't know. Maybe.
We should ask him now that the prices have dropped a little bit. If
Did
he's
they
like,
consider?
Yeah.
I don't know if Vinny would care. But
dude, who the hell could spend 10 days in Vegas? That's like a year. 10 days in Vegas? That's
a long time.
That is like running a 2-hour marathon. No way. No chance. Not possible. No one can spend that much time in Vegas.
Would you ever live in Vegas?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
You would?
I've been to Vegas, but I don't think I could live there all the time. Extreme temperatures.
If you're the coaching staff, UNLV or something, or hell yeah.
Maybe if I were.
Oh yeah, if you're the coach of the Raiders, I mean, obviously, I think I'd be good.
If I were super rich, maybe that would help. But even so, I don't think that's my vibe.
I love Vegas, so yeah.
I don't think I.
It's moderation.
So earlier,
because you can lose like everybody in one day.
Yeah, I got to be rich. Like Josh McDaniels or now Jimbo Fisher rich. Just get all my cash and not have to work anymore for the next 7 years. Then sure, just send me out to Vegas. But in that case, I wouldn't live in Vegas. I would just go there a lot. You know, I still wouldn't live there. I just take the old private jet, fly out to Vegas 7 times a year. I don't care.
Yeah,
like I still wouldn't live there, even in that situation. I want to ask more about. So Andy Reid spoke to the media earlier, and if you missed it, Andy Reid was talking about Kadarius Toney, and in talking about Kadarius Toney, I thought he made it fairly obvious that he has been holding back on Kadarius Toney this entire season due to the injury. Look, I'll give you guys a credit. I had questioned that for a long time because I had thought that was just an excuse for what was poor play. But Andy's pretty much telling you they've been holding him back because of the injury and that they can get him out there more than 7 snaps. I cannot buy back into any wide receiver until one of them gets at least 80 or 90 damn yards in a game. I know where Rashee Rice is. He gets 100 yards in a game and be like, wow, breakout game for Rice. But we already knew he was good.
I mean, he's perfect for the yards after catch, for what they're doing, what they're trying to do, the shorter passes. I mean, he's perfect for that.
Tony fits really, like to me, I guess at this stage, why wouldn't they let Rice get a few outside snaps, get Toney a few more inside where he's better, and then work it that way? There's got to be a place to get Toney more snaps. I agree with Andy in that regard. And if he's not healthy enough, then just don't play him any. Like, it just feels like you're wasting snaps. Like, oh, he's getting a couple of reps here or there. Then what? You're going to unleash him in the postseason? I hope that's the case. I hope he's the Jerick McKinnon. But this is the time, Bink. If it doesn't show up in the first 3 weeks after the bye week, then they couldn't figure out the plan to get him on the field, right?
And it probably doesn't matter.
20 days to figure it out.
I just thought by this point in the season, something would stand up. And I use that 2019 Chiefs as an example of time. First 6 weeks, they had 6 different leading receivers.
Mm-hmm.
And then it settled down to just Travis or Tyreek every game. Like, I legitimately thought by this time of the bye week, you'd know, Rashee Rice good for 90 to 100 a game or whatever. Whoever's going to step up. Kadarius Toney back in the time before training camp and all that. But at least when the time you got to the bye, things to be figured out. You kind of have that rotation, who you go for. You're the baseball guy. You know that managers try to figure out their 6th, 7th, and 8th. Closer, they kind of already know. But in between that, the starter and the closer, you got to kind of figure out that role. And I legitimately thought this role would be defined by now.
You want them, Cody, to act like Rashee Rice is their number 2, and they actually have a number 1 that went down. So we have to play Rashee Rice as the number 1, and we're going to line him up outside. Is that the idea that you're kind of going with?
Move them around. The wide receivers they really trust, they move around. Right now, Rashee Rice pretty much just plays in the slot. He didn't go outside. The other guys, they'll move inside or outside, right? They'll move around.
Play both.
What I'm saying is maybe a couple of those. And I think that they're doing it because he's a rookie and they're trying to protect him in the areas in which he's comfortable. But giving him a few of those, especially deep routes, where if Mahomes doesn't have the other stuff working in the interior, the option might be one-on-one coverage with Rashee Rice in just a go route situation, Pink. I'm not even saying complicated stuff.
Go get the ball.
Big go, big post. That if Tony or Sky aren't working on the inside, the option is there's one guy down there and it's just him and Rashee Rice. Screw it. I'll just throw it up and see if that's the guy who can go get it. Because the other guys aren't really good for that. Rashee Rice might also be good for that. But they've got to find, like Binkley said, they got to find a more defined role, designed touches for Tony. Because I still would not deny that if you asked me who's the most athletic wide receiver for the Chiefs, it's Tony, right?
100%.
Like he's a better athlete than Rashee Rice.
Rashee Rice, the best of the football in his hands, I truly believe. Best yards after catch receiver they have. They just need to create separation. And I know we see certain things where you're like, okay, there's some separation. There's really not a ton. And they have the time to throw. They've given up the fewest sacks in the NFL. So there has been time to look downfield, but just create that. And MVS should be that guy. He's just not that guy.
I think the most concerning thing is when Travis went on the podcast, I think it was last week, and said we got to get everybody in line. Like there's guys running the wrong routes. People aren't trusting people. Like it's like if you're running the wrong routes and it's week 9, it's week 8, what is, I think the problem though is, and I think you guys might agree with this, is that they don't have any other options. Like who are they going to? You can't go to Justin Ross anymore because of his situation. Justin Watson is available, but he's limited in what he can do. MVS is limited in what he can do. Like there literally is no other option.
What's crazy is every other wide receiver except Kadarius Toney has gotten more than enough snaps to prove it. Like more than enough. You know the story on MVS, Watson, Rice, Sky. We're good. I got the story. I got 9 games of watching them play. They've all got plenty of snaps, opportunities to do so. Rice has gotten 1 target in each of the last 3 games. He got 7 snaps in the last one, and the 1 target he got, he was effective. It was a nice play. Went for a first down. He's the only player that at least I'm holding out hope for. My problem is I'm not going to come on here and sell you the Kadarius Toney story like maybe we would have in training camp. Show it to me. Prove to me that what Andy is talking about is true and that they've just been limiting you because of that offseason knee surgery. And this is just about keeping you healthy for the entire year, making sure you're available for the entire year. Because then otherwise, Bink, if he's just a 10-snap player every game, then exactly what we said is true. He's just technically playing the games. By snap count, he's just going to end up being a 9-game player. He's just going to do it over 17 games in really tiny microdoses. When we said we needed him to play all year, we didn't mean 12 snaps at a time, Bink.
Yeah.
We meant as a number 1 wide receiver.
And the good news is the snap count has gone up a Rice, but the production there, they forgot about him at 9-minute mark in the second quarter in Germany? He didn't get the ball in the second half. But don't force it either. Like, don't go out there making a predetermined, arrangement to force feed a guy catches. I'm just saying this whole offense changes. When you start getting that separation and you start taking pressure off Travis Kelce, this team gets better because then Kelce gets less attention. But right now, that should be the guy everybody tries to shut down. And then it's like, all right, MVS, Rashee Rice, Sky Moore, try to beat us.
And Rashee Rice is used to being the guy. Like at SMU, he was the person. He got thrown the ball so many times.
He had 96 catches, and the second on the team was 38.
So him getting force-fed the ball, not that it needs to happen, but he's used to that sort of output where I think at this point, though, and you brought it up, Cody, maybe they don't trust him enough because he's a rookie. And I don't know. If they want to elevate the offense, I don't know if they have a choice but to try something different. That's why I think.
With Tony.
With whoever. I think that's where going into the bye, it'll be interesting to see what comes out of it, whether it be Tony, whether it be Sky. If you limit Sky's snaps, what does he do that's effective, and how can you get him on the field to be that effective player? If you want Justin Watson to be more elusive, how can you try to scheme him open to get some mid-route catches? If you want Rashee Rice to get some deep balls, you want the ball in his hands more often, where can you use him and try to expose the defense? Like, get creative outside of the lines of what, and I know that Andy does a great job of working with what he has, but I don't know if they fully know what they have in Rashee Rice yet because of him being a rookie and the way that Andy traditionally has treated rookies. Maybe it's time to just say, you know what? We're going to push you a little bit harder this time because you're the best wide receiver that we currently have right now, and the guy that Patrick Mahomes trusts the most, it seems like, outside of course, Travis Kelce.
And the thing about it is they are efficient because they are still number one in points per drive on the season. So whenever the Mahomes and the offense is out there, it may not seem like it at times, but they are the most efficient.
No, again, a lot of this stuff is just like nitpicking because the Chiefs have set an expectation. Nobody's denying that. But Binkley, I think the reason why we've continued, like even in a bye week, right? We get back.
They're not now that the bye week. They're
Okay.
they've moved
third?
down that. Actually, they're further than that. They're ninth.
Ooh, okay.
At 2.14, but they were number one.
Okay, they're still efficient. Ninth is not inefficient.
No, but they were one.
It's just, it's less efficient than some of their counterparts. But if you're gonna.
The Dolphins game didn't help either.
No, some of this complaint is just because you're looking for perfection. But that's the reason why we look for this wide receiver is if they ever even unlock the offense, then it's a wrap. This season's over. The Chiefs can consistently play top 7 offense the rest of the way. It's done. The Chiefs are the 2024 Super Bowl champs, and they've won back-to-back, and they're a dynasty and all of these things. I do think it's really important to not get lost in this, that the Chiefs are chasing a dynasty. If there's a time to be nitpicky about their usage, it's now. If they win this, they are a dynasty. One of only 5, right, in NFL history, pretty much, right? Patriots, twice, but let's just give them the one time.
Niners, Steelers,
Dolphins, Cowboys, if you're, right?
Cowboys.
The end. End of list. That's it.
It's tough to do. It's tough to do. The one thing I like is the fact they're getting teams another thing to think about besides the offense. Because nationally, who cares what, the media is starting to really give the Chiefs defense credit. And they've gone away from the what's wrong with the offense to, man, how good is his defense? The conversation has shifted to that. But coaching staffs and opposing teams know that they're good. Like they know the Chiefs defense is good, but it gives them something else to think about. This should be perfect for the Chiefs. You have this defense, you get the offense efficient enough, you put Butker in range, he gets a couple field goals, you're able to score that touchdown. They usually script the first 15 plays. Get that down, get the touchdown, make sure you do that. But just manufacture points down there and use this team. I'd like to see the running game become more consistent because it can, in my opinion, and more consistent the second half of the season. But you've given teams other things to think about. Thinking, okay, it doesn't always have to be Mahomes. It doesn't.
Winning different doesn't hurt. Binkley, thanks for filling in.
Thanks, Code Man.
Maybe Binkley will be back tomorrow. I don't want to say for sure. Alex is on the mend. So we'll find out there. Don't forget, coming up next, Patrick Mahomes will join the drive for his exclusive one-on-one interview after getting a little vacation time in. So maybe he's just feeling a little bit better. I don't know. Maybe he went to a beach too. We know Travis went to Argentina. We know that Patrick had his Mahomes Foundation event here in Kansas City. We'll find out how he spent his bye week when the drive talks to him next. Thanks again for joining us. We'll talk to you all tomorrow.